Check, check. 1 2 1 2. Mic check. Two. Mic check. Two. Mic check. Cool. I'm not in the proper lighting. How you guys doing? Good to see you. What's poppin'? What's up, fam? How you guys doing today? I do not have Discord open. I'm doing alright myself. Glad you guys are doing good. Uh, might pop off in about like 20-ish minutes because I need to go get my cupcakes. I need to go get my cupcakes. Where's my hair? My hair's fine. Uh, Come on. There we go. There we go. Pull up the boy right quick.
Hello.
Hello, sir. How you be?
You alright about yourself?
I'm in pain.
Good answer.
uh, Actually, it's literally sitting right here. Let me take some.
Oh,
I was just saying in the chat how I might pop off in about 20 minutes to go grab my cupcakes.
there you go.
Yeah, so the plan today is to just fuck around.
Oh, that's not good.
It's perfectly fine. What are you talking about? Let's look. Can I put the cap back on this, please? We fuck around all the time. It's literally the whole channel. It's just us fucking
I
around.
know. That was the joke.
I was gonna start with Guilty Gear and the beta, but actually we can still start with that. Go ahead. What did you think of it as a spectator, Logan?
Can you say that again in English, please?
Mm-mm.
I'm assuming you said something about how I saw it as a spectator,
Uh,
as a person who could not play it.
yeah, so what did you think of it as a spectator?
Oh, in general, I thought the game it looked great. It seemed to feel great. Certain characters, feel better than others. And I just really want the game to be good. You know what I mean? It's just one of those things where I'm like, I bought it. I'm gonna play it. I want it to be good though.
So, uh, before stream, like 2 hours ago, maybe an hour ago, um, I was watching the homeboy, uh, Kizzy, give his opinions about the beta,
Mm-hmm.
and he was talking about how, in terms of a competitive sense, the game is not ready, but in terms of just shipping it out and getting people to play it, it's completely fine.
Fair enough.
And I agree with that statement. Um, Because I'm not playing the game. I'm not playing any game to be competitive about the game. Sure, I want to take the game seriously in like a competitive sense, but I don't want to like. I don't give a fuck about frame data. I don't care about
I
that shit.
don't either.
I don't care about winning money. I mean, I might do that for fun, but it's not going to be like a serious thing, right? So for me, and the purposes of the game, how it is right now, I do think it's completely fine. However, I do not think everything is like there quite yet. You know what I mean?
No, I understand that.
Because even you can even watch this happen we were playing it. I was kind of jumping around from character to character, and then I picked Soul, and the game got way more fun.
And way easier.
I don't know about easier, but it's definitely got fun.
Well, it got easier until you fought that one dude who was also Soul and kicked the ever living shit out of you.
I still lost to that pot though.
Oh yeah, yeah, I forgot.
Uh, so yeah, I don't know about easier, but it was definitely way more fun. And the way that it seems like the game is being handled right now is that only certain characters are able to actually play Guilty Gear.
Mhm.
Such as like Soul. Soul is playing Guilty Gear. That's why he's fun. Ram is playing Guilty Gear. That's why he's fun. She's fun. Excuse me. Pot. I'll argue that Pot is playing Guilty Gear. I still have a couple of issues with Pot, such as Hammerfall being unsafe. Because I don't feel like that should be unsafe. I feel like that should be even.
Fair enough. I understand that.
Because that's his only approach option. If his only approach option is unsafe, then what the fuck is the point of approaching?
Yeah, then why even have that shit?
I don't like that, and I don't think Pot's anti-air should be able to be blocked in the air. And this is me talking to someone who does not play Pot. Why is that blockable in the air?
I don't know. That should annoyed the hell out of me.
Sure, you have super, but you're not gonna use super most of the time. Like that's like a once in a while type shit. I'm pretty positive you can even block his super in the air, which that does make sense. But his anti-air that shouldn't be blockable. If you got caught jumping, you should get caught jumping.
Yeah. If you got caught, you got caught. Don't have a way out.
Yeah, I don't like that. Now, Kizzy, in his opinion, thinks Zato is playing Guilty Gear, and I actually disagree with that one.
Really?
The reason why I think that I disagree with that is because, in my opinion, Zato has never played Guilty Gear. Zato has played Zato.
Fair. Understand.
Uh, and I did see a couple matches. I don't remember if it was him or Anime Illuminati who was fighting who was using Nago and was fighting a Zato and just couldn't get in. And I don't know who was complaining about Nago, about how he was too strong or whatever.
Uh-huh.
Because I didn't see anybody complaining about how Nago worked. I don't know who was doing that shit. Why did they listen to you?
Yeah, really.
Why?
From what I'm seeing,
Because Nago can't do anything anymore. What? Daisuke, why did you make it? Why did you let these motherfuckers make his blood gauge do what it does?
I think I was watching. I think it was a Kizzy thing of him playing Not Go, and he landed the grab that gets rid of all your blood gauge, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he proceeds to pop the fuck off and swing around and knock the guy's shit in. But then all of a sudden, his blood gauge just maxed out, and he's like, "What happened to my blood gauge?" And just gets beat. Like,
Yeah. And you can see me losing matches to me popping blood gauge because I can't do anything. Any offensive like action I take, I'm immediately like 1 second away from popping, and then I either have to play defense, which is most of these characters are good against, like Chip and Milia and shit. So I either have to wait and play defense, or I just have to pop it and pray.
honestly, yeah.
So, in that respect, if they're gonna keep Nago's blood gauge the way it is right now, he should do absurd amounts of damage.
I agree with that.
'Cause that's
it just
you-
balances out that moment.
Yeah, because if he's not gonna be able to do anything against these characters, he should hit them and do half damage. That's my opinion on that.
Mhm.
If they change it back to the way he worked in the first beta, um, that would be acceptable, right? That's
I mean, it's an acceptable alternative. Yeah, like you said.
it's an acceptable. I still think he should do slightly more damage than what he was doing. But if they just
Oh, yeah.
if they just put the notch back where it was, I think that's fine.
Mhm.
And I also think I do understand where they were coming from by making you're giving you more movement options by the teleport taking like a third of I guess it's like a ninth really of the gauge, and like your attack move's taking like a third, but
Hmm.
that's not balanced in the
It's really
sense
not.
it's not balanced in the sense of everybody can do everything against Naga. Uh, Again, not sure if it was Kizzy or Anime Illuminati, but if you fight Ino, and Ino does her fucking note fireball, Nago can't do anything about that.
Yike.
He just straight up can't do anything about it. Because
Well, that is
he can't air dash over it because he doesn't have air dash.
fair.
He can't use his fireball because his fireball takes up a third of the fucking blood gauge. So the only
Yeah,
thing you
okay.
can do is just get hit by it.
That's right. That's dumb.
So there's nothing Nagao can do about Ino's fireball, and it's not.
It
I'll you know what
seems
I'll have them balance it. I'd have them balance it by having his fireball do no damage, but you could use it more often.
fair enough. Fair
Right,
enough.
that's a good way to balance that, right? Because everyone else is getting this shit for free, uh, and make it have like, it has like priority over other moves, other fireballs. Make it have a little bit less priority over certain moves, um, and yeah, fix it that way. That one just needs to be reworked in general, right? Because it's not like that character doesn't work; it's just not working currently.
Yeah. Well, and the thing about it is, from what I'm seeing, they've done a lot of gameplay changes for that game, and a lot of them have been really good. And a lot of them have been making it simplified so other people can get into the game and start playing faster. But at the same time, certain characters and certain things need to have a better fleshed out move set.
I
In the
don't
sense
think.
of,
Oh,
instead
go
of
ahead.
having a one combo that you do, have options that actually work.
I don't think the move sets need to change. I think all the move sets are solid. I think what the move sets, how they work, need to change.
Okay.
For example, I mentioned that Geo, uh, and you can even see this in some of our fights. Geo is not doing too much other than using her dog to rush in from half screen, and then doing her mix up where she does like the cartwheel kick in the air. Right?
Hmm.
She's not doing too much other than that, and that's because she doesn't have a reason to do any of the other moves because the other moves don't really do much. So if you change the functionality of that, I think it will work better. Like her anti-air is not invincible on startup. It probably should be. It
Okay,
probably should
understandable.
be. It probably should be, mostly because it's
Hmm.
not that good of an anti-air. You do a cartwheel kick and it does nothing. You don't get advantage off of it. You can't combo off of it. You can't do anything with that anti-air. So why are you
Sure,
using it? There's no
that's
reason
fair.
to. So I think they just changed the way how the moves work. I think it'll work better than what it is doing right now.
Hmm.
Well, who else can I talk about? I already talked about Pot how he works. Uh,
Yeah, that fucking air grab needs to work.
Anime Illuminati again. He for sure was talking about this. I know for a fact it was him. Um, what I forgot my train of thought. Oh, Fujin. Fujin. If you do Fujin against Leo, Leo just has an out every time because he could just DP.
Hmm.
There's no thought process in that. You're not plus, you're not negative or anything. He could just DP and it's free.
Okay,
So
yeah, I see that.
Fuji needs to be reworked. I feel like Chip needs to be just reworked in general. I feel like Chip could actually probably be faster.
You know what's fucked up? I agree. From what I'm seeing, it's just like it's just not there. You know what I mean? Like it's just
Yeah,
not there.
I feel like Chip could just be faster. Um,
Hmm.
Everyone's talking about air backdash. Air backdash could probably have a little bit more range on it.
Yeah, understandable.
I think air backdash could have a little bit more range. I think forward dash could have a little bit more range on it as well. Um, Talking about Giovanna again, I think her charge, no, it's not an actual charge like charge move in the sense of a charge move, but the move where she charges
Hmm.
forward with her with Pupper. Um, I feel like that frame data could be faster. Like it could have less startup frames.
Hmm.
Um,
Okay.
and then maybe be unsafe or less or
Or
even or
something.
even.
Yeah, or something.
Yeah. Yeah, I just feel like the frame data needs to be worked. Everything's there and it's working. They just need to make it feel correct. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that's 100% right.
Personally, I think Zato should take a, but with the exception of the Eddie armor move, I think all of his Eddie stuff should take a little bit more damage. Like it should be able
You
to handle.
mean?
I think
I
like
was gonna say.
like it can handle more damage.
I see now. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
because if you hit Eddie, Eddie goes away. I feel like he should be able to handle a little bit more because Zato by himself does not have anything that the rest of the cast does.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I don't think I think his recharge time is fine. I just think he needs to be able to do a little bit more than the rest of the cast, and maybe rework some of his frame data because right now Zato is a grappler.
Yeah, and that's a good and bad thing because his puppet game is really interesting and has a lot of mix up and shit potential. But the big thing is you're right. He's using grabs and stuff as his main source of damage, and that's not necessarily what they should be going for with Zato.
No, Zato is a fucking zoner. That's not how
Well,
that works.
Zato is just oppressive gameplay. Like watch any like the developer gameplay or whatever the fuck you want to call it. Like any Zato gameplay, like he's fucking throwing shit out. The one Eddie form of him jumping out of the ground and biting
The
them again.
frog,
Like
yeah.
they're doing so much shit, and then none of it's actually doing any damage.
Yeah, none of it's doing damage. You can block all of it. That's why they go in and do the grab, because why shouldn't you? Nothing else is
Yeah,
hitting.
it's nothing's doing it. Like it's not doing anything. So why wouldn't you?
Um,
And I don't think that should be how it meant to be played.
no. And while so, like I said, everything's fine in the aspect of like just getting the game out.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think this game will be like tournament ready until like maybe the first DLC character, maybe even after that first season.
Well, and the big thing is I will say a lot of fighting games that do come out, if you follow them pretty quickly, they are not tournament ready until at least 2, 3 months usually. Like
Street
just
Fighter Five
because
wasn't tournament ready, in my opinion, until season five.
it wasn't tournament ready until a fucking year and a half, like 2 years passed, and like that's some shit. It literally just depends on the game and how fast they pump shit out and how much they're actually changing and not.
Now, I've seen a lot of
Which,
people talk about the RC system in this.
mm,
I agree with most of these comments that the RC system is good, but in my opinion, there is never a reason to RC unless you're trying to extend a combo. You have
yeah,
no reason to do it. And I
yeah,
think the best way to fix that is to change how many points you have on your tension gauge. Either change.
mhm,
I think a perfect amount was just split it up in thirds
okay,
because you have enough to get an RC off if you want to continue a combo. You have enough to use your approach options. Like remember when I was using Night Raid Vortex, which is Soul's ground move where he like, travels forward and go,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
I kept going. This is not an approach option, and it's not an approach option because it's not safe on block. Uh,
Mhm.
but if you RC it, it is safe on block. You're in. If it hits, it hits. If you don't, if it doesn't hit, you can just RC to back off. But you're gonna
It's
use
just a very
half your
different
if
setup.
you're gonna use half your meter to RC. Why? I don't think that's worth it, right? If you split it up in thirds, it is worth it because now I have a third. I have a third of my shit, and I still have enough for my my what you call it, right? But I still have enough to like combo off of that, right? But and then it goes for even more interesting combo routes because you have three RCs available to you.
Oh yeah,
Um, Now I'm not sure if they did it that way how supers would work, but
yeah, they'd have to rework some stuff.
uh, but I think it would be more interesting that way. So either change it to thirds or go back to what it was for the whole rest of the series, which change it back into fourths. Uh,
Yeah, really.
but I'm not entirely sure because at the moment there's just no reason to use an RC unless you're combo extend.
Yeah, no, I understand. And
Uh,
and it's very obvious.
now unless that's what they're going for, if they're going for that, then good job. Then don't change shit. But in my opinion, there's no reason to use it, which is a shame because RCs in this game is fucking amazing.
Well, that and how good were RCs in, for example, Accent Core, or how good are they in Exard?
I can't
They're
even.
they are necessary.
Accent Core is a lot harder to do a Roman
Oh
cancel.
yeah. Oh
Uh,
yeah.
It's a lot harder to do a Roman cancel in there. Um, because even if you get the Roman cancel, there's not really an indication that you did a Roman cancel. You get
No,
to see that red
you
spark shit, and
stop
that's
moving.
it.
You stop moving. You're in an animation and you stop. You know, like there's no indication. You just do it.
You have the red bar shit. That's it. You don't have. That's it. Uh,
Yeah.
in Exert, the everything slows down, right? And so you have it works pretty decently well. But you have such an interesting concept of having like the RC dashes and being able to cancel and shit. And you can dash in like any of the four cardinal directions, I think.
Correct.
So that's a really interesting thing. And then you have a way to work it where your RC actually goes in like an orb arc type shit, or it's a hitbox now. So you can RC it, you can miss your RC, and that's super interesting in a different way that separates it from the rest of the series. But there's no reason to ever do it.
Yeah, and that sucks.
So there is some things in this game that need to be reworked just so that the game is like actually like 100%. And that's like an industry thing, right?
Oh, 100%.
That's
I
like
agree.
like the first version of the game that whatever comes out is not the best version of that game.
No, it never is.
It never is. Like again, we'll talk about this. Let's actually talk about Witcher. You've played Witcher, The Witcher 3.
All of them.
All of them, all right. You've told me before that The Witcher, the first version of The Witcher 3 was a shit game.
Yeah, a lot of people considered it borderline unplayable.
And
But
now Witcher 3 now is like one of the best-selling games on fucking Steam.
it won Game of the Year in a year it did not come out. Like, or something like that. Like not exactly, but it like won an award for like best looking game in a year it did not come out in.
Right. So it take and that's depending on the industry and how shit. Ooh, hold on. I think my cupcakes are here.
Oh,
They
there you
are.
go.
So I'll finish my thought and you can talk to the people. Um,
Sure.
basically how the industry works at this point is that we don't have the time or the money to finish this game, so we're just gonna put the game out right now. And then fix it as the game continues on. And I don't like that, but I don't think they have a choice.
Mhm.
Because wasn't the case with Cyberpunk that
I was going to talk about that while you were gone. I
yeah,
did
yeah, go for it,
have
go
that
for it, go
discussion.
for it, go for it. Because we've already talked about this, so you can go for it.
Yeah. So CD Projekt Red, the same people who made Witcher, made Cyberpunk. For all of you who do not know, the main thing about Cyberpunk was, oh, it was going to come out this year. Oh, it was going to come out this year, and you know all the extra stuff that everyone's heard, yada yada yada. Well, the big thing is, from what I hear and from what I've seen, it wasn't that the developers wanted to push that game out when it was unfinished. It was more like the investors and the people putting money into the game are going like, "Hey, you've been hyping up this game for so long, it needs to come out or we're pulling the money out. So you can't actually make the game." So they had to bite the bullet and send out an unfinished game. Much like what happened with Witcher 3. I don't dare say Witcher 3 wasn't unfinished, but it wasn't the greatest release. It got better over time when they did literally weekly updates to the game, like for a year, constant weekly updates of like hot fixes and random things and modifications. And they're doing the same thing with Cyberpunk. Now, I'm not trying to rag on CD Projekt Red. In fact, I really like their games. CD Projekt Red has this problem of almost every time a game comes out that's really hyped and wanted, they have this problem of wanting to match the expectations, which you should. You should match the expectations of the people wanting your game, but they can never fully fulfill it because something gets in the way. Like, for example, the CD Projekt Red, the Cyberpunk thing of, hey, you got to push this out before we lose all our money, or before you don't have any say in how this game goes out. Like, and the whole thing about that is it's an ever constant game of who do you please more, your investors or your audience? Because if you don't please your audience, well, you can't sell games. That's it, plain and simple. But if you don't please your investors, you can't make any more games, which means you still can't give the audience that wants your games the games. And a lot more developers have been having this problem where they're trying to make the prettiest game, make the longest game, make the coolest game, make the game with the most features, but they keep pushing this out, and sometimes it's carbon cut copies of previous titles, like for example, every Call of Duty franchise. But other situations like Cyberpunk 2077 is they're trying to put in everything and they physically can't. And I feel like the Cyberpunk that we were promised at E3 last year and the year before, or all those other times, we'll get that game, but we have to wait a year or maybe
That's what
even
I
two
said.
years.
That is what I said. I started playing the game. I was having issues with recording it. We were having issues with the game. Period. And I was like, you know what? I'll wait until next year to play this game because this game is very clearly not finished. It'll be a finished game next year.
And you missed most of it, but I was basically saying a lot of developers are having this problem now of who do you please, your investors or
No, I
your
got
audience?
that part. I was here.
Okay, cool. I wasn't sure. But yeah,
Uh,
it's just it's fucked because a lot of people are having that problem nowadays.
yeah. Now, there's also the issue in the industry of trying to reinvent the wheel when it doesn't need to be. And I'm not saying Guilty Gear or anything is doing this. I'm actually going to talk about a specific company that's doing this, trying to reinvent the wheel every game instead of trying to build off the last game.
Yeah.
You
Oh
know
yeah.
who does that every time?
Who's that?
Sonic Team.
Yup.
Sonic Team does that shit every game, and I'm
Yup.
like, why?
Why the fuck you doing it?
Like, I don't understand why you can't just build off of the last shit that you had. Like,
Why you can't keep it consistent?
here's the thing. Here's a crazy thing to me, right? Sonic Generations, right? Sonic Generations did fucking gangbusters. That's still one of the best Sonic games that's come out in the last decade, right? And I'm talking about 2020 before, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so that game did gangbusters. But when Forces came out, which basically featured the same thing and then added a new mechanic, they somehow fucked up how classic Sonic works. Like, how did you fuck up how you already had everything, the engine and everything? How did you fuck up how the physics work for that particular
You
character?
fucked up how
On top
your
of that,
character messed up.
on top of that, literally the game before it was Sonic Mania, and as everybody knows, Sonic Mania was developed by people who are just fans of Sonic. They're not. It wasn't actually Sonic Team, and they made that game a lot better. Um, Logan, you go ahead and talk for a minute. My mom decided to call me at the worst time.
Go for it. Another big thing is I literally lost my train of thought as I said another big thing. Trying to reinvent the wheel and change things up is always a good thing because you want innovation in your games. Like for example, adding features and things from Devil May Cry 2 into Devil May Cry 3. Like all those kind of games are like it shows that the game series is evolving. But when you're trying to change so much that it ends up not being like the original at all, instead more being like a spoof, it's not efficient. It's not the way you want to publish your game, unless it is, but be prepared to lose a bunch of your audience. And I feel like again, we're talking about this whole thing of who's more important, the audience to the investors, and who's more important, all that kind of crap. Doesn't really matter. But the big thing about it is people gotta like the game in order to keep buying the game. And if you're changing things up so drastically that nothing's working, you're going to slowly and slowly knock out a bunch of your player base. And the more you kind of mess things up, the more you change things, the more you say you're going to change things but don't, kind of fucks your image and also warps the public of not liking your games anymore. I mean, this isn't exactly a one-to-one comparison, but looking at I don't want to say the fall of Metal Gear, but because Metal Gear wasn't exactly the most popular franchise ever, but it was a popular enough franchise that people loved the game, and stuff was modified from game to game and all that. Story's weird and story's confusing. But when Kojima left Konami and they still had the Metal Gear name, IP, everything, and they tried to push out Metal Gear, I think it was Survive, and everyone who plays that game, actually, let me rephrase, no one played that fucking game. Everyone who did, which was like 12 people and like some random videos on YouTube, that game is ass. It's not Metal Gear. It's some random zombie survival shooter thing. And it's because they wanted to cash in on the name and change a bunch of features without actually paying homage to a game series that has made them a lot of money. So now a lot of people, until something changes with the IP, no one's gonna play another Metal Gear game except the old ones, and that really sucks. Because at this point, they might sell the IP or anything like that, but until we know for sure, that IP is dead. And I'd hate to have, you know, Sonic Team or anything like that, or even like, hey, fuck it, like Yakuza. They had a massive risk changing from the beat 'em up slash RPG, like beat 'em up style game, into the turn-based battle RPG in 7. They really took a risk there. Granted, I think a lot of people enjoyed that. There are certain many people like me who I
Here's the difference between what you just said and something like Metal Gear Survive. Yakuza 7 is still Yakuza. That's still a
yes,
Yakuza game. It's just the gameplay itself is different. But everything else that made the world building, going around, running around that's still Yakuza. So
fair
the
enough.
only thing that changed was the beat 'em up section of the Yakuza 7. That's still a that's still a Yakuza game. Metal Gear Survive is not anything.
Yeah, really.
It's just
Like I said, it's a thing to cash on the name. It's not
yeah,
really a
it's
game at
not
all.
really a game. Okay. I'm trying to. My mom called me because she needed to. As I mentioned, I'm going out of town. Not next week, but the week after.
Hmm.
And she needs the confirmation thing because I was supposed to get an email talking about the transportation, and I'm confused on why she's asking me about it when she was the one who paid for
That's about right.
it. She just put everything in my name, but uh yo, I got a cookie chocolate cookie dough cupcake,
Hmm.
bitch,
Yeah, you good there?
bitch. All right, so yeah, but trying to shift the conversation back to fighting games specific. Or let's go back to Guilty Gear. Final consensus on the game. As of the beta 2, it's fine. Not quite there yet for like serious fighting.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's going to be a great game, but it's not going to be there where it needs to be at launch.
Which is fine because I can get into the deepest of lore and shit for Guilty Gear because Guilty Gear is notorious for its really confusing ass story.
Mhm.
And I don't think Strive is gonna change that, so I'm excited.
I think you're
um
right. I think you're right.
so there's that. But you know what we got this week, Logan?
What we got?
We got a fighting game glossary.
We did indeed get a fighting game glossary.
And not only did we get one, because there are tons of fighting game glossaries out there. It's fucking amazing.
We got a good one. We got a real one.
Not to say that the other ones are bad. It's just this one is really good.
Oh God, it's awesome.
It's really good. Hold on.
I'm literally looking at it right now. Just be like, fuck it, why not?
I'm going to pull it up on my end.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, perfect, right there. I will show you what I am seeing.
Haha, yes.
And
Taunt
I'll
Jet
show
Appa.
Punkt Jet Upper. Alright, wait, hold on. It's not catching the screen. Hold on.
Oh, that ain't good.
Hold on, give it a second. Come on, Dad, you can do it. There you go. Alright, I'm gonna have to like attempt to navigate this. Okay, before we get started on this fighting game glossary, can we talk about this update that Google did? So
What update?
you know how normally you can just move your tabs however you want to, right? Can't
Yeah,
do that anymore. Oh, now you want to do it. Now you want to do, you piece of shit. All right, never mind. Fucking
nice.
now. What is it called? Actually, you know what? Let's look that up. Right?
Oh my
Commentator's
God, you can.
curse.
You could literally look it up right there.
Let's see here. I probably spelled commentator wrong. Let's see here. Drop down to CO. Comeback mechanic. Command grab. Commentator's curse. Read that for me, Logan.
I will when I'm not eating pizza.
I said
When
that
the
so.
commentator for a match says that something is very likely to happen, only for the exact opposite to happen instead. Try not to say things like, "Oh, he's for sure dead," or "There's no way she loses this match, right?" You are just asking for trouble. Even though the commentator has no impact on the match, it's best to own up to how badly they jinxed the situation and apologize. It's just the right thing to do.
I'm not sure what this is. Oh, okay, so it's just that the little thing there isolates
Yeah,
it.
it pulls up the link.
Okay. Now, we go back to commentators first and do the one above it. Command throw. I'll read this one. A special move that acts as a throw. In the vast majority of games, you cannot throw tech to defend against them. Throw tech just you have a link to right there. You want to know what throw tech is. Like you read this and go, what the fuck is a throw tech? There it is. Oh. Command throws are often much longer range than regular throws and can lead to combos or mix-ups that regular throws cannot, and added difficulty defending against them makes them extra scary. It's an ever-present staple of the Grappler toolkit.
Yeah, so for those who don't know, would you click on Throw Tech for me real quick?
Like the actual thing?
Yeah, click on Throw Tech.
Oh, shit.
It pulls it up right underneath, and there's your definition. It's amazing. We don't have to go into and actually reading it, but this glossary has videos, has hyperlinks.
I was just about to say
immediately the next thing.
You have their fighting games are always present in Japan. You have the Japanese version of the word, and now you have a video too. You want to know what throw tech is? Or excuse me, a command throw is? That was a command throw.
Another example of command throw.
He did the normal throw as well, just to show what it was, and then did a combo. That's Soul's wild throw. Super Rolly's command throw in Fighters. And then you get a description underneath the video saying what exactly the command throw was for the fight. So, this guy is fucking spicy. I have no idea how it works on mobile. It probably works the same, but I haven't tried it on mobile. But on a computer, which is what most people are probably going to be using, this is excellent. They make an app for this. You charge 99 cents an app. I would pay for it, but this is free. You don't have to pay for this. It's just here.
Yeah, I think we talked about this off stream where you had said, dude, if they charged money for this, I would have paid for it.
I would have paid for it.
I agree.
I know what a decent amount of these words are, but there's always something like negative edge. Matter of fact, let's pull that up.
Oh my god,
fucking
negative edge is so dumb.
I didn't know what a fucking first thing. I didn't know what the fucking negative edge was. The act of releasing a button instead of pressing it to perform a special move. Let's see how good this explanation is. You might be surprised to learn that in pretty much all fighting games, you can throw a fireball by first pressing holding. Oh, look, sarcasm. By first pressing holding a punch button by itself, then doing your quarter circle input, and finally releasing a button. This input leniency helps quite a bit to correct for sloppiness on when you press the button during your motions, and you can use negative edge to your advantage with for example piano inputs. I don't know what a piano input is. You can also hear the term used to talk specifically about specials that only activate on a button release, like Cody's Zonk Knuckle. I don't know what that is either.
Oh, so if you hover over to the piano notes or piano inputs, it'll show it up, or you can just search Zonk Knuckle, and it probably will show you that too.
Okay, so piano using 3 fingers to press 3 buttons next to each other in rapid succession. It looks a bit like double tapping. So there's literally shit on here that I don't know, like as I mentioned, and I'm like, oh well, I don't know what the fuck that is. Here, this is not me acting. Like I legitimately did not know what a fucking piano input is.
It's basically fucking going from one button to the other really quickly.
Generally, you're planning to hit all 3 punches or all 3 kicks in ascending or descending order.
So light, medium, heavy, or heavy, medium, light.
You can use this technique to input special moves with rapid fire commands like Honda's 100 hand slap, or to use to get the multiple chances for a super move to come out. This is particularly common in Street Fighter 3, Third Strike, a game where several inputs regularly use tight links to combo into super. Oh, you know what? Fucking JoJo Heritage for the Future had that.
Yes, actually. But yeah, that's the big thing. Is
So
like for
the fucked up part is that I was doing piano motions and didn't know what the fuck it was.
yeah, it's going ascending, descending rapidly to possibly link into a super for more chances for a super to come out, to do things like rapid fire commands, like it says the 100 hand slap, which requires you to hit different buttons for different hits. Like it's simple but not.
Okay, so if anyone hears that fart noise that just happened, that's me sitting on the memory foam. I didn't actually just fart. Just so everyone knows.
I love how you're so concerned.
Because motherfuckers will troll me and be like, "Oh, he farted right here." 44, 43, he farted. But yeah, we got that. But do you know what I specifically got this week, Logan?
What's that?
You should still be able to see this. You remember this video, right?
Oh.
You remember this?
Mm-hmm.
So to anyone who doesn't know, this is literally just a bunch of guys. This might actually be a tournament. I don't know. A bunch of guys sitting in front of these two dudes watching them play Street Fighter 4. And this is what they decided to do.
Somebody's getting fucked. Get fucked. Somebody's getting fucked. Get fucked. Get fucked. Somebody's getting fucked. Get fucked. Get fucked. Somebody's getting fucked. Get fucked. Get fucked. Get fucked. Somebody's getting fucked. Get fucked. Somebody's getting fucked. Get fucked. Get fucked. Get fucked. Somebody's getting fucked. Get fucked. Get fucked. Get fucked. Get fucked. Get fucked.
Which is extremely unprofessional to do in the actual tournament setting.
But
100%. Actually, that might not be allowed or something. You might actually get kicked out of the venue for that shit.
I wouldn't doubt it. Doubt it.
But it was funny. Also, this happened in 2013. At least this is when this video was uploaded. All right. So, this is a decent sized meme. A lot of people know about it. This got like 500,000 views on its own. Not including the probably original video. Yada yada yada. Oh no, this is the original recording. Alter Ego launched on the 21st of January on 2013. My brother had money on Chris, the Dalzine player. So that was the thing that happened, and I was like, that would be a really good outro, but I can't just have that as the outro. Gotta spice it up a little bit. Now, I'm going to show. Actually, can I pull it up? Give me 1 second, everyone.
Ooh.
I'm gonna just put it back on my face while I try to pull this up. So I paid 3 Fiverr artists to do some shit with that, and 2 of them sucked a fat chode. So, this is the first person who did it. This isn't actually bad, right? This one isn't actually terrible. It's just not exactly what I needed it to be, right? Let's see. Let's do the 30-second version, which is this one. Cool.
Somebody's getting fucked. Get fucked. 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 Somebody's getting fucked. Somebody's getting fucked. Somebody's getting fucked.
It's not bad.
That was a choice.
It's not bad, right? It's legitimately not bad. I feel like I could have gotten something a little bit better, but it wasn't bad. It could have been worse. The second person I paid for to do this, is legitimately bad. And I'm also kind of outing this person on stream, but oh well. Shouldn't have given me bad shit.
Jesus Christ.
Somebody's getting fucked. 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 Somebody's getting
That was bad, right? Like, I'm not bullshitting, right? It wasn't just bad for me. Like, you could hear sample. You could hear the samples where they cut it and repeated it, and I was like,
I legitimately took my headset off. I'm not even going front.
So I was like, that could have been better. So he gave me another delivery, right?
Somebody's getting fucked. Somebody's getting fucked. Somebody's getting fucked.
What in the fuck?
It got worse.
What?
It got worse.
Okay.
That was bad. Like, actually bad. Right?
He's getting fucked.
But, at that point, I was like, okay, listen, I don't have time to fuck with these people I'll just ask the person who did my my theme song to do it for me. The reason why I didn't ask him in the first place to do it is because he does music from scratch, right? I didn't think he'd work with samples. But I just happened to ask him, and he was like, yeah, I'll do it. I don't fucking care.
Oh.
And this is what he gave me.
Oh.
Somebody's getting fucked. Somebody's getting fucked. Somebody. Somebody. Somebody getting.
I like it. Holy
Tell
shit.
me
that's
that
cool.
wasn't the hypest shit.
That's cool.
It's the hypest shit. Now, because I'm me and I wanted a version to listen to it by myself, just cause, I commissioned to do a 30-second version specifically for me so I can use on my videos, and he's making a minute and 30-second version for the people to listen to. So I got y'all. That's not even the full version. That was literally 40 seconds, and 10 of those seconds was fucking Ken going,
Yeah, really.
It's just it goes. Tell me this isn't start of boss music right here. Just
It's great.
that's so good. Get over here. Somebody's getting fucked. Somebody's getting fucked.
Somebody.
That's so good.
Somebody. Somebody getting.
Jesus.
So good. But yeah, that's how my week has been going.
Yeah.
And while we're on the topic of music, do you know about Shadow, the
Do
artist?
I know about Shadow? Oh, I think so.
So today, Tech9, who if people don't know is my favorite rap artist, released a song with Shadow. Now I've only seen Shadow do anime rap shit, so that confused the fuck out of me when I saw that. But basically, he just has Shadow on the hook. talking Japanese and as he does. Now, Shadow is, from what I can tell, European and also knows Japanese, and somehow it has like the hypest shit. So I'm just gonna play this track that I listened to literally today, and as I said, is the hypest shit.
English and Japanese. Nihongo to Eigo. You're gonna want to put the subtitles on for this one. Nani means what?
Ooh, this grimy ass beat, I love it.
Nani. 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 Nani.
Nani. Nani.
Nani. そもほざいてるバケロ Now what did you say? なんだと So when I shell like a tamago Famago walks in the place in the panic mode With the man named Scream Yamero Shy guys can't stop me Watch me rolling on the black Yoshi From the shouting schools where they got me Drop me in the pit or get mushy yeah. These guys think being polite means you're breading It's called fucking manners You absolute spanner Stand back there and try to fake baddest Man chat air and do the brain damage Slap that bear and make him change grammar Ma, gambare yo kisama Shout around you're about to get banished
That's a great line.
Nani.
Nani. Nani. Na 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 na.
Nani. I be that senpai bad guy. You looking like red-eye parasite with the mad hentai appetite. Come through like make a man I cannot shit it. Fam, are you silly? Shit, I gotta be rid of my killer without debate. Death no bars and end your art delay. Hot, got 'em. You're chatting shit about smelling like poop. Rotten. Talking about doing 10 toes. And you're running these roads when you don't wash your foot. Bottom. None of your tender. Fam, you pretend the most. Bad when your friends are close. Damn it, I'm an anime protagonist ready to go. Damn it, there. I just say, I think I do, yo.
Nani.
Nani. Nani. Nani. Nani. Konnichiwa Guan. They don't understand the slang that I'm on. I don't give a damn to spend the Nihon. When it's hammer time, shout turn into Shao Kahn. Done it, Nazi, Nani. They don't have a Scooby, so they get scrappy. Bread is mad, built like a mouthful of wasabi. They can't change pounds again, they're so canny. Teme, wa, muda, da. Muda, 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 da. Make a boy sit down and sing Kumbaya. You can't match my drive with a Kodama. Manaka, E-Honda, Sumo Star. You will get locked out with a judo bar. Hoda, let me bring back the hook and catch a coin. You better tell that boy to catch a coin. Nani.
Ooh.
Nani. 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 Nani.
So that is the man's Shadow.
Yeah, that was cool.
That
That was cool.
That man went the fuck off. Holy shit, that man went the fuck off. But yeah, that has been, besides Trails of Cold Steel, which we'll get into in a second, that has been my week. What about you, Logan?
Work. I got a COVID shot. I feel like shit.
Yeah.
Bye. But yeah.
Yeah,
And Trials of Cold Steel and all that shit. Yeah.
Okay.
And Mass Effect. And
We will be doing Mass Effect tomorrow, so we can talk about that
Oh yeah. Oh, yeah.
later. But as of right now, let's talk Trails.
Ooh,
So, where have you played any since the last time I asked you?
not really.
Okay. So you're still at the mine center trying to get what's her face's parents. Okay. So this is gonna be spoilers up to Trails of Cold Steel 2 and certain parts of 3. So how you feel about 2 so far, Logan?
Okay. how do I say this? I think it's a good game. I am immediately more invested in what happens in that than I was in 1.
Okay.
I haven't had a bombastic bombshell moment that I happen to have in 1, but I'm also not done with the game, so I'm expecting that to hit pretty soon.
What was your bombshell moment for 1? Was that like the end of the game?
Yeah.
Okay. So, as well for me, when I hit the end of the game in 1, I was like, oh, shit. Oh, that's how they're... I gotta play the next game now. I have to play the next game now. That's how that the end of the game hit for me. Which is really weird, because I spent... That game is about 60, 70 hours. I spent that whole entire game with that slow burn-ass story, mostly because of the gameplay.
Oh yeah, no, the gameplay's great. The gameplay's phenomenal.
Which is insane to me, because, as I've mentioned before, I've been tricked to thinking I like JRPGs when that's not the case. I only like certain JRPGs.
I understand that.
Like, I stopped playing, fuck, what is it called? Because the only game that's coming to my mind right now is Trails of Cold Steel. The dude who Akira Toriyama did the character designs for, Chrono Trigger. I stopped playing Chrono Trigger because I was bored of grinding in that game. But the fucked up part is that I was actually interested in what was going on in that game. I just didn't want to keep playing it. I stopped playing, and it's not like the mechanics in Chrono Trigger were bad. I just didn't want to keep playing it. Because what Chrono Trigger is that it's the ancient version of Final Fantasy VII Remake in terms of mechanics.
Yeah, 100%.
And it's not like it's bad. It's just I didn't want to keep playing it. I stopped playing Yakuza 7 because it didn't. That's the best way to explain that. So I've been tricked before into thinking I like JRPGs, and that is not the case. Persona has spoiled me with its amazing story. Earthbound has spoiled me with its amazing quirkiness and the rollback health system, which I think needs to come back in a different game, because that shit is phenomenal. It adds like a real time event to. Do you know what I'm talking about? The rollback health system. I
think so. Explain it for me because I don't remember.
Okay, so the rollback health system in Earthbound is basically say you have like 120 health, right? And I do an attack on you that's 150 health. The game will then tell you, hey, you just got dealt a mortal blow. You're about to fucking die. If it is your turn and you manage to heal yourself before your health reaches 0, you don't die yet.
That's cool.
Which is an amazing mechanic, and I think more games need to have that. Or at least another game. Shit. So I've been spoiled with these really special kind of JRPGs to make me think I like JRPGs. And I was kind of worried with Trails because I was like, I mean, I don't really know anything about the series. The only thing I knew when I started Trails of Cold Steel, the only thing I knew about Trails of Cold Steel was that my friend played it. It was similar to Persona. That was it.
Yeah.
And I was like, I like Persona well enough. Why not? I'll try it. Plus, I have PlayStation Now. I already paid for PlayStation Now. I might as well play the game. It's basically free. So I started playing it, and they have the cold open where you're like smack dab in the middle of the game. You have every mechanic available to you right then and there. Go fucking crazy. Yeah. Which can I say?
Which is insane.
Can I say? I can't even think of another game that's done this right now. I'm sure there has been, but I can't think of one at this very second. That is the best way to give you... Oh, Bayonetta. Bayonetta does that.
Yeah.
You have all your mechanics right now. Go fucking crazy. That's your tutorial, bitch.
Literally hit buttons and figure out what the fuck that means.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good. And then you get dealt your little bombshell moment. Oh no, we gotta go stop this giant fucking cannon from going off. Let's go do that. And then the cannon goes off anyway. and then the game goes back to the actual beginning of the game. That was your cold open to the game. Hey, how you doing? Hey, good to see you. Play game now.
Yeah, here's the story about this random teenager that walks into a town. No, fuck you. What about that cannon, though?
Right. What was going on with the cannon? Wait a minute. Hold on. Wait.
It grabs you as early as humanly possible.
And I was amazed with how many, just mechanic wise, how many attack options you have. So you have it's on a field, and it's it's similar but not exactly the same as Fire Emblem, which is another JRPG that I ended up liking more than, specifically Three Houses. I didn't necessarily care for any Fire Emblem before then, but that's beside the point. You have your field system, right? And you can choose to move your characters closer to an enemy, farther away from an enemy. Sometimes they'll automatically move towards an enemy if you choose to do an attack, a certain type of attack. And then you have your craft system and your art system. And to explain that, your craft system is a magic system that you always have with you, readily available to you. And the bar charges over time when you get hit, when you do damage to other people, right? But it takes time to charge. And it's always specific to that particular character. So no one character has the same craft move. And then your art system, which is just regular magic. And that is such a unique thing to me. Like, you always have a magic attack. Every character has a magic ability at all times. I don't have to go through and pick and choose. Like, I don't have to Final Fantasy my shit where I have to pick and choose what character has what. I need to make this character a healer because their fucking damage sucks ass. I can make both characters a healer because this character has craft system that heals, and I can just make this character have arts that have heals. And now I have equal parts attack and healing. So there's so much creativity and freedom you can do within the game, and that's what really made me keep playing the game. And then that's not even all of it. Then you have your shit on the side of the screen that tells you, hey, this is the turn order. This is what's gonna happen right here in the future. I'm actually pointing on the right side. It's on this side for anyone. So, right here, this is your turn order. You have your main character, your side character, enemy, another side character, right? That's your turn order. Now, if you use this specific craft on this specific enemy, you'll make them go slower. So that way their turn shows up later in the queue. They don't get their turn anymore. Man, I spent literally that first game, because it grabbed you with the story at the beginning part there, right? And then you just kind of seeing what's going on with the rest of it. But I mostly played that first game coasting off with the seeing what attack options, just what kind of freedom I could do. I spent 70 hours with that.
How many hours did I spend in fucking...
You can pull it up right now, because you give it on Steam.
58 hours. Like 60 hours in that game.
You spent 60 hours. And probably for the same way as me, because we are the same person, fucking with the controls.
Most of the time I was like, they're just doing the classic JRPG, like, oh no, you gotta help a guy who lost his book. Like, I don't give a fuck. Like, let me fight something.
Then you have the side quest, which is the most interesting way to do side quests in the most motivating way to do side quests, right? Because you have, like, let's think about like Legend of Zelda, right? Legend of Zelda, you have side quests, right? You go up, person asks you to do a fetch quest, right? Hey, I need X, Y, Z thing from this particular part of the map. Can you go get that for me? Yeah, sure. You go get the thing for you, you give it back to them, and that's the end of that, right? They'll give you some money, or they give you like an item or some shit, right? They give you a plot progressing item or some shit like that. No, side quests don't do that in this. What a side quest in this does is that it gives you money, it gives you an item, and it increases your AP. Now, AP in this game works completely differently from how it does in other games, because like AP in like Kingdom Hearts is like, oh, this is how many things you can set to this character, right? This is also how it works in Final Fantasy, I believe. I can't think of another game that has AP. Logan?
Say that again for me.
Another game that has AP.
Another game that has AP. Now I'm stressed.
No, don't worry about it. That's not normally how AP works in the game. So what AP in Trails of Cold Steel does is if you do your side quests, you get your money, you get your item that they give you for completing the side quest, but then it gives you AP, and at the end of the segment, of that particular segment, it'll increase your AP, it'll increase your rank, and when your rank goes up, you'll get something special for it, and whatever that special thing is busted.
Yeah.
Unless you're not doing your AP shit and then you're behind. But if you're doing your side quests right there, you'll get a special item that's fucking broken. Like I remember Cold Steel 1. I got an item. I got AP and it gave me fucking Tellus. For anyone who doesn't know, Tellus is, or Thalos, however you pronounce it, is a healing skill that allows you to raise someone from the dead and give them back a certain amount of health. I was level like 20 when I got that. So if I put that on Elliot, who's fucking arts thing, whose master quartz is to increase your healing ability potency, that is a full heal from revive.
Busted.
Bro, I'm level 20. I shouldn't be getting full. I shouldn't be having that. This is like end game shit. I should have full heal like right now.
Well, and you mentioned something that we need to discuss more.
Yes, you want to take care of that?
The fucking Master Quartz.
If you've played Final Fantasy VII, that is your what is it called? What is it called in Final Fantasy VII?
Motherfucker, not art. I about said archaism. I'm like, that's not even. That's
also, that's still Trials.
I know. So I was like, what the fuck? Just the little fucking jewels you put in your swords. There, done.
Good job, I'm proud of you.
Fucking whatever. I'm done.
Holy fuck! I remember all the names of them, but I like the actual specific abilities, but I don't remember the orb shits.
Yeah.
The magic orb shits. Same thing, except you have a master version of it, and Logan explained what the master version of it does.
So, for example, he talked about Elliot before, and everyone has what's called like an Arcus, which is like a big old fucking.
It's a cell phone.
Book. Yeah, it's a big ass phone and a book all tied in one thing. It's got a bunch of different slots in it that you put these little jewels called quartz in to give them special abilities. The Master Quartz is like the thing that powers it all and allows them to have special abilities beyond that. For example, Elliot's Master Quartz is by default all like healing arts and stuff like that gets like a 1.5% increase. So it does a little bit more. And the more you rank up that Master Quartz, the better it gets. Like, for example, at level 3, it might jump from 1.5 to double the healing.
Yes.
And shit like that.
So now you can put low effort healing items on Elliot. For example, there's Tyr, Tyrell, Tira, and then Tyrell, and then Thalos, and then Thalos, and whatever, right? Tyr is the first level healing spell. I carried Tyr all the way to the fucking end of the game because I didn't need to put anything else on Elliot, because at some point it did plus 0.5, right? So now it's doing an extra like half healing. Now it's doing double healing. Now it's doing double 0.5 healing. So I didn't need to do anything. I'm still spending 20 magic points in order to get a full heal off. There's our main character, Reen Schwarzer. Reen has a master quartz that allows you to gain CP. CP is what allows you to use your craft points, which is your magic system. The thing about Reen's craft points, or crafts in general, is that his crafts hit a wide. It's perfect for adventuring. It hits a wide amount of. It hits a lot of enemies at one time, and it does a decent amount of damage. So if his craft allows you to, every time you kill an enemy, you gain more craft points, and then it levels up again, so you'll gain more for killing enemies, and then over time, I'm not sure who just followed me, but thanks for the follow. Twitch Suzui, thanks for the follow, man. Over time, Yo, bro. Over time, I can't finish this fucking sentence. Uh, right. So Reen's Master Quartz allows you every time you kill an enemy, right? You gain you gain CP, so you can use more craft abilities. But then it levels up again. So now, when you kill enemies, you'll gain your CP. And now each turn Reen gets, he gains more CP. How are you, and what are you talking about? I'm good. Logan, you good?
I'm great.
We're talking about the game series, Legendary Heroes: Trails of Cold Steel, and we're talking about how amazing that game is. Do you like JRPGs, Shizui? So now you're just getting buku fucking CP out the ass. So now you can just keep using his craft moves.
Like for example, you got a craft that allows you called Gale that allows you to hit a bunch of enemies at once.
Gale's so good.
And you have his Master Quartz where, like, for example, you gain 20 CP for every enemy you kill. Well, it only costs, say, 30 CP to use Gale. So you kill 4 enemies, you just gained a metric fuck ton of CP for basically no cost.
Shizui, we're not talking about an MMORPG. I have never played an MMORPG, and I probably never will because I do not like how they play. We are talking about a JRPG, which is a Japanese role-playing game, which is very different from an RPG. Think more. If you don't, oh, you know, okay, no, never mind. You know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. So Logan, they actually they changed that mechanic slightly in Trails 3, you now have a Master Quartz system and a Sub-Master Quartz system.
Are you fucking kidding me?
English isn't my native language. Where you from, bro? So I'll try to talk slower since it's not your first language. I always get foreign dudes. I mean, Landy was from fucking, what, Germany?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. Belgium. Landy's from fucking Belgium. Where my Belgian viewers at, man?
Where my Belgium?
I'm getting everybody from fucking Belgium. So what the Sub-Master Quartz system does, is that say you wanted Reen to be a healer, but you really liked the CP thing, right? So what happens here is that you can have your main Master Quartz system. You can have your main Master Quartz system, which is I don't remember what it's called for Reens, but gives you CP every time you kill an enemy, right?
Force?
It's called something different in 3.
Oh, gotcha.
I think it's called like Brigade or something. It does the same thing, but it's called something different.
Gotcha.
So you have that. Now your Sub-Master Quartz system. Say, I want Reen to be a healer, so I'll throw, I don't know, Elliot's on there, right? Elliot's canon. It's still canon in 3. So now I get that first ability that allows Elliot to heal people with to times whatever to get more healing out of a lower powered healing spell. Now Reen can do that.
Okay.
Now that also doesn't count towards like the other shit. So like I don't remember what his secondary ability Canon has. Actually, can I look that up real quick?
I don't remember. You might have to look it up.
Yeah, I think I have to look that up. Yeah. I don't want the canon romance. Fuck the canon romance. The only romance that matters is the one I choose, nigga.
I mean, really.
Canon Master Quartz. Listed Master Quartz. Canon. Increases spirit. Okay, so he gains health regen. So he gets health regen every turn, right? Elliot would still have that, but because it's my Sub-Master Quartz on Reen, he would not have that. And despite the fact that it's Elliot's main Master Quartz system, right? Despite the fact that it's his main Master Quartz system, just because I have it in Reen's Sub-Quartz system does not take it away from Elliot's
You've got me fucked up. That's so good.
It's very good. So right now they changed Laura's master quartz to where if her HP is, I believe if her HP is high, and she gets hit, she gains more CP after getting hit. So right now, I could put both of them. I could put Reen, they have for his normal CP, and then put Laura's CP thing as a sub master quartz, and Reen just has buku CP at all times.
Jesus.
Did you ever use that master quartz that gave you like Seth?
Yes, absolutely.
I did not use it. It was good, but I had no reason to change it from my other things because I was getting just enough Seth by just killing enemies normally. There's not really a reason for me to switch out one of my other things. Currently, my current loadout, since Laura is no longer in my party, even though I could still technically use her shit, even though she's not in my party, I have that as your Discord link is not available. What do you mean my Discord link isn't available? What the fuck? What the fuck? We gotta fix that right now.
Yeah, you might want to fix that right now.
What the fuck? I don't like that shit. Did my link expire or some shit? That's not cool. That's not cool. I don't like that.
Might want to fix that, boy.
I don't want to create a channel. Can I just share my shit? Discord? Niggas? Every last one of you. I appreciate you trying to join my Discord, even though we're literally just talking about a game we're not playing.
Yeah, it's a just talking stream for a reason.
I appreciate that. How do I share my shit again, man? I don't want to mute the server. I don't want to do that. Server settings. I just want to add people. Why is Discord difficult? They had to update it. Now everything's in different places and shit. Invite people. Oh. I want to use the invite link. I want to generate a new link. No. Fucking expire after never, nigga. No limit. Generate a new link. Excuse you? What is happening? Grant temporary membership. Temporary members are automatically kicked when they disconnect unless... No. Give me the link! Give it to me! There we go. Fucking Christ on a bicycle, dude! Christ on a bicycle! Yeah, I know my chat rules, nigga. I made the chat rules. There you go. Thanks for waiting patiently. What was I talking about?
Master quartz and sub quartz.
So now every time I kill an enemy with fucking Reen, I get Sedif just for free. It's free now.
It's that's so good.
It's very fucking good. Fucking can I talk about any other? So they get rid. What mechanics do you have in your game right now, Logan? Because it's been. I'm about 30 hours into this game now. I don't remember the mechanics in Trials 2.
I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. I mean, there's the the rush burst, the whole thing, like the links and all that kind of thing.
That's there, but it changes slightly. But I'll talk about that in a second. Continue.
Yeah. The big thing is I'm not sure how to phrase this question. There's shit in it, dude. There's that master quartz thing is, and I'll tell you that for fucking sure. I don't know how to answer that question, honestly, because it seems like most of the things are the same from one.
It's one. I'm pretty sure 1 and 2 were made in the same engine. Even
it looks like it. And then when I saw that screenshot, or not screenshot, but the 2 seconds of 3
that I showed you, yeah.
I was just like, "What the fuck?"
Oh my god, it's very different. It's that's PS4 shit right there. Now, okay, so the way that fuck, what is it called? Your burst and rush shit works. It works slightly different. So in Trails 1 and 2, you gain when you we didn't even talk about links. You can link
No.
using your Arcus abilities. You can link to another character, and depending on what their bond level of those two characters are, they can do follow up attacks and various other things when they get critical. And getting a critical and doing a follow up allows you to gain a point in what is it called? Let's just call it a counter.
Yeah.
What's the name of this game? I'm gonna put it in chat for you. The Legend of Heroes. Trails of Cold Steel. So Shizui, if you like really good like stories that take a little bit longer time to this is to anybody actually. If you like stories that take a little bit longer to explain, but are really really good and really good mechanics, this is the game for you. Like if you're looking for a JRPG, if you're looking for a game with an amazing story, it does not mind taking its time to explain it to you. This is the game for you. But so you can get these follow ups and gain a counter, right? And depending on how many points you have, the max counter you can have is 5. Depending on how many counts you have, you can do certain amounts of certain attacks. If you have, you can do one. You can do one at any point. You could just hit X to do a follow up attack. And that'll give you one more counter, right? If you have 2 or more, you can do a rush attack, which the two characters link will jump one of the enemies. Or well, actually, I take that back. They'll jump however many enemies got hit in the base attack. And then you'll have if you have 5, you can do a rush attack, and then all party members jump all enemies to do extra damage. They do something extra with that, and they give you a battle order system. So what they in 3, your battle order system means you can use those 5 counters for something different, called a battle order. And what a battle order does, it doesn't matter whose turn it is, as long as it's you the player's turn, you can issue a battle order. And what a battle order does, is that it gives you a specific ability for X amount of turns that happen for those specific amount of turns. For example, I can issue the battle order Iron Will, and for the next 6 turns, I take 40% less damage, and my HP and CP go up.
Jesus Christ. Okay.
And there's a lot of battle orders.
Oh, good.
Hold on.
Good.
I just told you one. Reen, at the moment that I'm playing in, and I'm only 30 hours in this 80-hour game, he has 4.
Okay, so at this point you already have 4. And
No,
you're gonna get
Reen has 4. Other characters have other battle orders.
You got me fucked up. I'm sorry.
Brave orders, excuse me. Not battle orders, brave orders.
You got me fucked up. That's too good.
He gets more, according to this list, because there's some shit on here I have not seen. The game is going to be adapted into an anime. Are you asking or are you telling?
I love that. Are you asking or are you telling?
Telling. Oh, okay. That's awesome. I'm definitely watching that shit. So there's Raging Fire Formation, which for the next, so you gain 8 CP for the initial, and then for the next 4 turns you do 20% more damage. There's there's Iron Well, which I mentioned. For the next 6 turns, you do less. You do 40%. You take 40% less damage, and for that initial turn, you get 10% HP EP. And there's better versions of it. You have Divine Song, which I've used several times. For the next 6 turns, you don't have to wait to cast arts.
That is too good. Fuck off. Fuck off. That's so good.
And this is only Reen's. And he has more. He has more.
I will say there is one mechanic that I forgot about, but I do have for Reen. The DT?
Oh, that is gone in 3.
Are you fuck? God damn it, game!
And the reason why I think it's gone in 3 is because I think it's a permanent addition in 4.
Yeah, that makes sense for what I'm seeing.
All right, Shizui, thanks for hanging out with us, man.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we hope to see you next time, man. We do shit like this all the time. So,
Hell yeah.
okay. Oh my god. So, I'm looking at this list of Brave orders. Let me tell you something, man. There is. Oh my god, I gotta count these individually. Okay,
Christ.
6, 16. What's 16 plus 32? Hey Google, what's 16 plus 32?
16 plus 32 is 48.
There's 48 different battle orders in this game.
Solid.
You don't get them all at one time. You only get them based on who's in your party.
Well, yeah.
But I'm sorry, I take that back. That's 48 different characters that have battle orders. I take that back. There's more battle orders. Brave orders. I keep
Dude.
calling them battle orders.
Dude. I'm
so
fucked up.
I also have to tell you about the break mechanic.
I'm sorry, the brick mechanic?
Break. BREAK. Break.
I thought you said brick. Like, am I throwing a fucking brick at people? Like, the fuck?
Yes. So the break mechanic is a new system that happens specifically to enemies. You don't have this happen to you if the enemies attack you. What the break what the break does, the break mechanic does, is that after a certain amount of hits, a gauge represented by a shield goes down, and when that gauge hits 0, they're automatically off balance. Every time, you know how you have your certain amounts, your certain attacks that do extra damage to unbalance your enemies, which I didn't talk about, but we can talk about that after this. So when the break mechanic happens, they're automatically all types of damage, just every time critical every time.
Jesus Christ.
So that only happens for a certain amount of turns, but if you break their guard, or as explained, they're automatically put in an unbalanced mode. All moves do critical amounts of damage. Every time you get a critical, you can raise your battle order, your battle gauge, so you can get your counters back, right? Every time you do a quote unquote critical damage thing, you gain that back every time. And it helps build up your links system, so you can gain your links as well, right?
That's amazing.
Here's the fucked up part. Early on, and I'm talking about like after chapter 1, you get a brave order. Actually, let me find it. Where is her bitch ass? Yuna, where are you? Yuna Crawford. You get a brave order called Sledgehammer. You do, for the next 4 turns, 150% more break damage than you would normal.
Are you fucking kidding me?
So, on top of the fact that the character who gives you that brave order, her master quartz makes it easier for her to break shit in general.
Christ, that's so good.
No, shut up. There is, you know how you have your you have your HP 2 and your action 1 and shit. There's break 1 and break 2 that you can add on to her.
Dog.
So when you get that brave order, there is almost no reason for you to not immediately go, all right, use this and fuck everyone's shit.
Yeah, use this and say fuck.
You actually, I take that back. The only reason when you wouldn't do that is if the enemy is too weak, because then you don't get your counters back.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Fuck, this game is so good.
No. That's one character, Logan. That one character gets all of that. On top of that, that same character is a stance character.
Oh, this is the character you were telling me about.
That same character is a stance character. She has. Matter of fact, do you still have the Discord thing open?
Yes.
I'll show the audience as well. I don't care about her age. I don't give a fuck about her age. She's young, okay? Go ahead and switch it. Nope, I need to go on the other side. There we go. This is Una Crawford. She has tonfas, as you can see, but her tonfas are also fucking guns.
Oh
So,
yeah, they are.
she is a stance character. What that means is when it is her turn, you can hit R2 or whatever the right trigger is when on whatever controller you're playing on. You can hit R2 and switch her stance. What that means is you can change her range from when she her range of attack. So you can make her in gunner mode, which allows her to hit enemies from a far distance, hit multiple enemies at once, but she doesn't do as much damage, or turn her into striker mode, which hits only one enemy. She takes more damage in that form, but she deals more damage in that form. Now, imagine what happens if you're fighting a boss. You put her in striker mode. You have break 2 on. You have the battle order that does 150% extra break damage. And she's naturally gifted at breaking enemies. And you get a critical. What do you think happens, Logan?
Oh, boss is melted.
No. So here's the fucked up part about this, right? When you break an enemy's guard, right? They immediately get put at the end of the battle turn. So that little gauge, the little gauge on the side, that shows you, hey, this is where this is the turn order. They immediately get put at the end of the turn order, so all of your other characters get to go. So what I like to do is break your opponent's guard, and then use everyone's S-craft immediately.
Oh my
after
God.
their turn. So I'll do their turn.
You'll do a normal turn and then
and then immediately after their turn, I'll do an S-craft. That's boss melting, Logan. That's boss melting. And you get all of that off of this specific character right here. That doesn't count all the rest of the characters on screen.
Bruh.
That does not count the rest. That's one character, my nigga.
Bruh.
This game, Trails 3 is godlike. Let's look at these. Let's look at some of these other Brave orders, man. Okay, Kurt Vander. He has for the next 4 turns, you do your delay minus 60, and not to mention this other shit that I'm not showing the audience, because spoilers. Altina, Ebon Crest. Ebon Crest takes this is wrong. Actually, it takes 3, but for the next 4 turns, you have Absolute Reflect. Do you know what Absolute Reflect is, Logan?
Probably the physical and magical reflect, but in one thing.
Yes. You don't take for the next 4 character turns. You don't fucking take damage. Not only do you not take damage, it reflects damage.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
So you know what? That's the best thing to use that battle order on. Oh, it's your character's turn, and there's a fuck ton of enemies on screen, and it's all of their turns before I get my next turn. Ooh, probably should use that.
Probably.
A lot of those enemies will just end up killing themselves.
Right, dude. This is awesome. I love these fucking games.
It's so fucking good. And that's only what I have. I only just went through what I have right now. I've played with Elliot, Laura, and Feast. Let's look at their shits. Laura gave me Valiant Hearts, which was we just do for the next 4 turns. We just do 60% more damage, and we get Insight for 2 turns. Do you know? Okay, you know what an Insight does. For audience, do you know what Insight does? Insight means, hey, I know what attack's coming up next. I can see that shit. How about I dodge it?
How about I dodge it?
How about I just fucking dodge it? So for the next 2 turns, you would just have that. It's free. It's not actually free because it takes however many Brave points. But that's what that shit does. That was Laura's initial. Let's look at Elliot's. Elliot gives you Blue Orchestra. You take. This is also wrong. It's 7% less damage for the next 10 turns.
Dude.
And then on initial startup, you get 20% of your HP back.
Dog.
Okay, it's not gonna take me all the way up. So, and then I had Fee, which I don't think I used Fees at all. Zephyr Wing, excuse me. You get insight and you get minus 50 delay.
Okay.
That's not including. That was just these characters, my nigga.
Mm.
That was just these
I'm
characters.
seeing.
You still have your rush and your burst, but you also have your brave orders.
Dude.
And that's not even counting the giant fuck you mech. Now I don't get to use the mech in my game at the moment, unless it's specific to plot, right? But you do. Tell us what the mech does, Logan.
You mean you can't just call in a mech on any random fucking fight?
No, and there's a reason why you can't do that. It's because most of the places you're in, you would break the area if you called Valimar.
Yeah, that's fair. But big ass Valimar is a big dick mech with a sword.
Actually,
And
let me see if I can pull him up. Motherfucking
actually-
transformer.
it also does have a big dick.
Yeah. Yeah, he does.
But that's like a version of Valimar. That's another version of Valimar, like the character art at least.
Let's do that one.
This man is rad as fuck. So there are several different fights between your mech and enemy mech that are like basically mandatory. You call a Valimar and you do big one-on-one fight time, or one on like 3 or 4 fight time. But my favorite part of it is as long as you're like outside or not doing a very specific thing, like in a story beat or anything like that, in any fight you could just use like 90% of your mana, effectively your EP, and just call Valimar and shit stomp all of these jobbers on the ground.
This is specific to 2 and maybe 4. Because what Trails of Cold Steel 3 is a soft reboot.
Really?
So like all the characters got aged up. You don't have all your shit that you did. It's basically it's like 1, but if 1 got remade with new shit.
Okay.
Um,
Interesting.
So you know how like in Trails of Cold Steel 1, you had to unlock your slots, and then in Trails of Cold Steel 2, you had to upgrade your slots.
Yeah.
You back to unlocking your slots.
Oh, okay.
So it is Trails of Cold Steel 3 is a
I-
soft reboot.
Yeah, I was gonna ask in a weird question, like, has a shit ton of time passed between 2 and 3? You don't have to say specific or anything like that, but yeah.
I don't know how much you consider a significant amount of time, but it is about 2 to 3 years.
Oh, okay, that's not bad. I was like, if it's like 10 years, I was like, holy shit. Like,
Also, I like the character models in 3 way better than I do in 2 and 1. Hold on, hold on. Let me see. Let's see here.
while you're looking this up, I'll talk about Angelica, a character I just got to use for a little bit.
Tell me Elliot doesn't fuck. Tell me this man doesn't get pussy on the daily. Here's his plot point, Logan. He's on tour.
Are you fucking serious? Are you fucking serious?
Tell me this man doesn't fuck.
God damn. Dog.
Look at this boy.
Yeah, that's him in one.
Look at this cinnamon roll.
I think the very first one is his outfit in 2.
Yeah, this is outfit in 2. Tell me this man didn't glow up. You know what's fucked up, Logan?
Hmm.
I didn't really give a shit about Elisa at all. Elisa's hot.
Oh God.
I don't like that.
Bruh.
Hold on. Weak in the hips, come and get in my car.
Jesus Christ.
Why is she hot now?
Cause she was the canon romance.
No. Listen to me. Hips.
I'm aware. I could literally see it.
No, this is not just like it looks good in the render. She has it in the game. She has it in the game. You know who also has fucking hips? Wow, if I can spell.
I'm sorry? Yup, what?
The picture. That ass is what I was gonna say.
What the fuck?
That ass. Oh my god.
Dog, these games are great.
We've been thirsting for characters for the past 3 minutes.
Dog, these games are great.
Oh my god.
What the fuck, even?
They changed
What the fuck is going
Hold
on?
on, hold on. Let's look at your girl real quick. Now you can waifu you can waifu people in this game. Let's look at Logan's girl, Laura.
Yep. Solid.
Also, she's fucking strong, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Like cutscene Laura, that girl don't play. I don't think she's as strong as her dad, but that girl don't play.
Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah.
That girl don't play. Hold on, let's look at my girl.
Yeah. Should pull her up.
They changed the way she looks. She's got pink hair now.
That's cool, though. I like it.
She got the fucking cap going on. She looks majestic, my nigga. Majestic. She looks mighty plot important right fucking now.
Mighty plot. She smokes the long cigarettes with no filter.
No, she's drinking green tea. No, she doesn't walk. She doesn't get from point A to point B, nigga. She walks.
She walks.
She walks. She didn't get from point A to point B like most people. She walks. Look at Fee, since they decided to put this picture right here.
Oh, wow, Fee. Okay.
God damn.
What a great game series. What a great
We just
what a
look
great
at.
game.
We're literally just talking about the character designs right now. God damn.
What a great game. What a great fucking game.
Oh, Milliam is like 16. So let's look at her. Let's look at what she looks like. Right? Good character design. This is an interesting ass outfit. This is an interesting ass outfit. It's also not weird to see her as opposed to her fucking 12-year-old form. That was weird to see her in skin tight shit. I didn't like that. Hey, you remember Black Rabbit?
Yeah. Oh. Okay.
The Black Rabbit, my guy.
That's cool. I'm down.
The reason why she's wearing this boring ass outfit is because she's a part of the school now.
She went to school, my guy.
She's going to school now. Don't ever talk to me and my adoptive daughter again. Oh, this is so real. This is the realest shit. No, as far as new characters that you don't know anything about.
Mm-hmm.
I like her.
Okay, she looks good. She has a fucking orbital sniper rifle.
Mm-hmm.
Also, Minnesota ISIS. What the fuck?
I don't know. We're just gonna ignore that. Well, look at this man's neck. You see that shit?
He's got a neck.
Neck. I like her. I don't want to like her because she's fucking. She's like Alphen and Oliver, dialed down to like the gay extreme, except
Really?
only for Reen.
Okay. Okay.
She ships Reen with everyone.
I mean, yeah.
And I don't necessarily mind that because her whole entire thing is like I want Reen's pants, right? That's her thing. But she ships everybody with Reen, and at first I was like, stop it. But like she's like actually plot important.
Sounds about right.
And my brain is confused because I don't want to like this character, but she's fucking cool. She's
That sounds like something you would have a problem with.
She's
She's
fucking
so
cool. But I don't want to like her. But she's fucking cool. Speaking of another character that I don't want to like, but she's cool. But he's cool. This nigga.
I like that weapon. That weapon is rad.
Oh, hey! No, fuck you. It gets cooler.
Okay.
The blade part right here that
Yeah.
I'm pointing out on screen, but the chat can't see it because OBS decides not to show my shit. I know it's a setting they can change. I'm not gonna. This fucking the blade part it extends, so it's also a scythe.
That's rad.
No, fuck you. It gets cooler. The top part of this disconnects with the chain.
Dude, are you fucking kidding me?
It's 3 weapons, Logan.
Dude, I love this game series. I fucking love this series, dude.
It's 3 weapons, Logan.
I fucking love this.
Oh my god. And we're only just talking about the character designs. We haven't talked about the story at all.
Not of 3, especially not of any
We
of
didn't
the other
talk it.
games.
We didn't talk of any game story. We're just talking about what you can do in the characters.
Yeah, really.
And we've been talking for about 40 minutes on it.
Oh my Christ, we can't be like this.
Actually, you know what? This is technically a spoiler, so but I told you already that this is gonna happen. Let's see. They also customize him so he looks different here.
Game looks great. Okay, looks like somebody else's S-Craft. Okay! Yo! Dude, can we talk about how there was actually blood on that shit?
Can we talk about how these aliens actually fucking disappeared?
Yeah. Dog.
And the
What a
reason
great
why
game.
I showed you his specifically is because there are certain characters at the beginning of 3 that if you want to see their S-Craft immediately, you can.
Okay,
His is one of them.
Fair enough.
Which is why I wasn't afraid to show you his.
fair enough.
You can also see Muse's first. But I'm not gonna, because fuck you.
Okay, sounds about right.
Yeah, no, this game is great. We didn't talk about what an S-Craft was. An S-Craft is something, if you have 100, your CP bar goes up to 200, right? If you have 100 or more, depending on what point you are in the story, you can expend all of it to do an S-Craft, which is basically a super move. You just saw his super move right there, and damn, did it look good. Fuck you.
Oh boy.
You guys couldn't see it, but I gave Elisa the bird here. Elisa is not a bad character by all means, but aside from her mom being who she is in the story, she doesn't do anything, and she's not a good character to have in your party.
Doesn't fucking do anything.
Have you managed to find a use for her, Logan?
No, I never even tried.
Good, because no.
Okay, you know what? I will say this. Having her, when all of my other people are dead, having her give, like, Emma and Reen CP, okay, that's cool. Literally no other time do I care.
Here's the thing. I tried to use Elisa several times, and her escort's ability is interesting, right? Her escort's ability, her master court, excuse me, her master court's ability is if she fucking dies, she can just revive full heal.
Once
can
per
only-
battle?
Once, I think, is it once per battle?
I think it's once per battle, yeah.
Yeah, that would make sense. Once per battle, she can just full revive, right? But it's bad because it puts her at the end of the turn order. So it treats her like she actually died. So if your whole entire party gets hit by death blow, which is an insta kill,
Mm-hmm.
and everybody dies, and she revives back again, she's at the end of the turn order. So if the AI decides to go fuck you and do a death blow again, she just dies again.
And then it's all over.
How helpful. Oh, we didn't talk about the best part about this game. If you get into a situation where you're underleveled, right? Let's say the boss is just beating your ass. You're level 18, the boss is level like 32. You're just getting your ass handed to you. One OTKs, man. One turn kills.
Done. Getting folded.
You're getting folded. You hit that fucking retry screen. What's that under the retry screen? Weaken enemies and try again.
Yep.
You know what the downside is to it? Nothing.
Not a damn thing.
I think you don't get as much experience, and I don't think you get as much like Zenith or whatever, right? But if you're okay with not giving a shit about that, it's free.
Free.
It's free, and I can't tell you how many times I used it. Because there are some. Cause you always, and I don't care what RPG it is. You'll always have like that. You'll do well on like the overworld shit. You always have like that one enemy, that one boss fight that's just fuck you hard for no reason.
Yeah, that's 100% accurate.
That is what the setting is for. I can one turn kill the enemies in the overworld. So by the time I get to the boss fight, I should be good, right? Yeah, we're the same level. I should be able to hit everything. Hey, fuck you. He did this electric attack, and now your whole entire party is silenced and mute. You can't do anything. Fuck your turn.
Yeah, get fucked. Move on.
And now you can't heal. You can't use your craft points. All you can do is do a regular ass attack. So because your regular ass attacks do dinky ass damage compared to what this fucker's defense modifier is, you just die. So how about we just lower the difficulty on that?
Just ever so slightly.
Just a slight bit. Oh, here's the best part. If it's still too hard, you can stack it.
It literally stacks after every time you hit that button. And it's so good.
So that's really if you I would play this game to enjoy the story. There you go.
That's the button of I don't want to actually have to grind. I want to play the game.
Yes, I want to continue. Okay, I've been stuck in this fight for 30 minutes longer than I intended to be stuck in this fight. But I can tell you right now, I literally just got done with the fight that, or this motherfucker literally did an attack that killed all but one of my party members, and the only reason he didn't kill the fourth party member is because it missed.
Sounds about right.
Now, luckily for me,
right.
I was using Yuna, and Yuna has I made Yuna my temporary healer as well as my offense character. So I just used I equipped as a subquartz Elliot's fucking master quartz as my subquartz for her. So now if I use Tell, it's just a full heal. Like I said, that's busted. And I used the rest of my brave points so that I could use Divine Song or Holy Song or whatever it's called, which is Reen's brave order, which allows me to stop using, which allows me to not wait for my my arts to go off. So now I can just heal people on the same turn.
So good.
It's so good. For as broken as the enemies are, it gives you just one more thing to bring everything back. The game is so big brain. I love it. I love it. Hey, again, this game is about the story. We have not talked about the story at all.
Not once, actually.
Not once. And we're not gonna talk about it. Play the fucking game.
Play the fucking game. Get fucked.
And this is just one portion of this, because this is Legend of Heroes series. So there's Trails of the Sky, there's Trails of Azure that we just saw, Trails of Zero, which is the same portion of that series. This is just one portion of these games. Fuck, these are good.
Such a good fucking game.
Oh my god, they're so good. I really need you to get to the end of
I'm trying.
I need to get to the end of 2 because we have some shit to talk about at the end of 2. That like so for anyone who doesn't know, well, actually, you know what? I have a perfect example of this.
Oh, that's not good.
Shout out to Jello Apocalypse, who makes the So This Is Basically series.
Trails of Cold Steel is a series of JRPGs set in the Empire of Wilbonia, an evil
It's not what it's called.
military power that masterminds high-stakes wars where nobody ever seems to die. Explore the rich world building of Zemuria, including sophisticated economies, political structures, and scary dinosaurs! You play as human friendship speech Reen Schwarzer. Follow this young man as he goes from being bullied by his classmates to being bullied by his students. He enrolls at Thor's Military Academy, where the finest Wilbonian soldiers train in tutorial sewers to prepare them for the real sewers. Every single
Favorite
student
anime?
and staff member has a secret. Some of them are
I think
spies,
my favorite
some of them are
anime
witches, some of them
might
are boys.
be-
But everyone's got a twist because this school is built on a
It's
foundation
it's
of
like a 3-way tie
Also
between the
a giant
Monogatari
robot.
series,
And
JoJo's
sure,
Bizarre Adventure,
spend
and No Game No
120
Life.
hours with Class 7
Sure.
on a series of sewer-based field trips where terrorism keeps happening, but the plot does not. Then balk in amazement
What?
as they replace the class with a new and better one.
Good job.
You realize the first 2 games were a giant waste of time. Tear through enemies with the power of arts and crafts. Feed your friends a bunch of magic marbles to turn them into unstoppable monsters. Spend half
Facts.
the game using combat multipliers to literally beat the experience points out of bosses like pinatas, and
Yes.
the other half juggling Yorbles back and forth as the game shuffles you through its 5,000 party members.
Yes.
Let's meet just a few of Reen's friends. Kiki's plot delivery service.
Yep.
Kiki Phoenica.
Sword.
Castor the
Sword.
Furry
Musty.
Stop shipping me with Tina! Unproblematic Faye. Red Violin. Strawman. Emmy award-winning voice actor. Swipe right.
Did you hear what they said for Kuro?
Uh-huh.
Fucking Sasuke Uchiha.
Don't worry, Cold Steel 3 spends half its runtime reintroducing you to people, whether you remember them or not.
I'm Machias. I'm Machias.
Milliam Altskin.
If Cold Steel's plot were a sandwich,
That's
the
not her
third
name.
game would be a big slice
No.
of ham covered in a giant game of cast ketchup. And the first 2 games would be nothing! By the way,
Oh
did you
my
talk to the
God.
random maid in the house on the other
I love
side of
her.
town to get this recipe? Oops! Looks like you walked 2 feet to the left. You have missed 45 quests!
That is so fucking real. That is so real.
Yeah.
So in Trails of Cold Steel, there are hidden quests, or
Oh,
hidden
absolutely.
side quests. So you have your required quests that you have to do, and the 2 side quests or 2 or 3 side quests that the game tells you about. There are fucking hidden side quests that are forever, my guy. That are listen. I know you know because you played the game, but let me tell you how many side quests, how many secret side quests I just ran into on my free day. Right, I got 1 mandatory quest that advances the story. 2 side quests, one of which took forever because I didn't understand the mechanics of how it worked. And 6, and I'm not kidding, 6 hidden side quests. 6.
Dumb as hell.
If my AP doesn't go up this fucking turn. Super
Yeah.
failed. Yeah.
That's okay. Why deal with my own trauma when I can slap another friendship speech against the nearest face like a dead fish? Forward relentlessly, moving on friendlessly.
Instructor Reen. I wish to purchase the Gummit Ball from the machine. May I borrow 50 Mira?
50 Mira.
God, grow!
They
Oh,
turned
Jesus.
me into a bird, Reen. I'm a seagull!
Instructor?
Whoever's doing Altina's voice is doing too good of a job.
Watch as the entire
It's
extended
super
cast
good.
gets
If that's not her
endlessly
actual
hotter
voice
with
actor,
each
I will
new
be surprised.
installation of the series. Everyone in this Cold Steel is either hot or baby. which makes it way worse when they start shipping you with your stepsister. Can't arrest the Wilbonians for war crimes when they're too busy being arrested for horny crimes. Becomes so insanely
Yeah, just
powerful, the
about.
game insists
We're just gonna
you're
ignore
actually losing every boss fight. You say you wipe the floor.
Have you met McBurn?
Uh-huh.
This is McBurn.
He straight up says the first time you meet him, "Hey, are you mixed?" What? Huh?
Yes.
and then they just go, "Nah, don't worry about it." And then when you meet him on the ship, it's like, "Oh yeah, this is what I meant by mixed." Like,
I'm not Team Light Skin.
That enemy without taking damage? You lost! That's just how strong and cool your enemies are!
We're just playing a card game. I feel like I should be able to win this.
No! Look how strong their card muscles are!
They are very strong.
Snakes! Everyone
Their card
in
muscles are very
is a
strong.
Secret snake cultist!
Your secret society isn't secret if everyone we meet is in it, guys. Wait, am I the only person here who isn't secretly evil? Did you guys make a second Discord server without me?
Then, at the last moment, from the bouquet of pretzels, the game will pop
Do you guys
out
make a
the
secret
wildest,
Discord server
sauciest,
without me?
Saltiest twist you've ever seen and trick you into playing another 80-hour RPG just to see what happens next!
yeah.
Yes, and that's exactly actually
It is me, your father. Come to Pop Pop.
What? Who are you?
Reen. You're an ogre, my son.
What?
It will take 6 years in Yoko.
this is also real. Luckily for us, the games have already came out, so we don't have to wait that long.
Like, literally, Cold Steel 4 released not too long ago.
Like April. What did that say? Googling its name will instantly spoil at least 5 other games.
In Trails of Cold Steel.
Nope. We're done here. We're done.
No.
There were hella spoilers in that, but because you don't know what the spoilers are, you didn't catch any of it, so there's good.
It's fine. This is spoiler cast after all.
I did say that, yes. Join us May 25th to 26th to VMware Tanzu Public Sector Connect, a live virtual event where you'll hear from your tech leaders who see more.
Yeah.
I'm so tempted to click that link, Logan.
Don't click the fucking link.
I'm very tempted to click the link.
You shiny thing, motherfucker.
But I have to click the link, Logan. Look how much anticipation and need I need to click the link for. But you hear it in my voice, I need to click link.
Click it. Click link. Do link. Connect link.
Click. I know you can probably see my mouse and how it did move.
Oh yeah, I know.
The audience cannot. So, I said we're not going to talk about the story.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to talk about a different story.
Okay.
Do you know the story of Sun Wukong?
I know of it. I don't actually know it 100% fully.
To anyone who doesn't know, the story of Sun Wukong is what Dragon Ball was based off of. Goku is the what you would say the Japanese version of the name Wukong is. Hence the monkey tail, because Sun Wukong is the Monkey King, yada yada yada. There is a YouTube channel that I highly recommend to anybody who likes anything exploring like tropes and philosophical thinking and history and that kind of thing. By the name of Overly Sarcastic Productions. Who has a member on the team called Red. She is reading Journey to the West, which is the story of Sun Wukong, and it's basically doing a book club recap of it. But doing her version of the really fun little pictures, drawing it as well. That's what we're about to watch right now.
Oh,
That's what we're gonna do.
okay.
Now she says that she highly recommends that everybody just read the book. I intend to eventually, not right now.
Yeah.
The Journey to the West is one of
Wow.
China's 4 great classical novels. It's an ancient allegory for enlightenment, and it's approximately 2,000 pages long. As such, it's not exactly a text I could easily summarize in a single video of rational length. Anyway, The Journey to the West is packed full of symbolism, dense literary context, and some majorly influential characters. And it's widely agreed upon that the most memorable of these characters is Sun Wukong, the mischievous Monkey King. Sun Wukong's most famous mark on the modern world is probably Dragon Ball's Son Goku, a character specifically designed to emulate the abilities, appearance, and overall impulsive goofiness of the original Monkey King. But Sun Wukong's influence is far from being restricted to anime. Stories based on the character's exploits have appeared in almost every form of media, which is why it might come as a surprise to learn that he isn't the main character in The Journey to the West. That honor belongs to the monk Xuanzang, a character so vital to the plot that we don't even know he exists for the first 7 chapters, which are instead devoted exclusively to the life of Sun Wukong and how he made it his mission to single-handedly piss off every deity in all 3 of China's major religions.
Now, what if Goku was that?
What if?
What if Goku was literally made to just piss off all the gods? Oh wait, he did that.
I mean, he kind of did, didn't he?
As I was saying that sentence, I realized, oh shit, he kind of did that.
He
Now,
did
I
do
am
some
nothing
shit,
if
didn't
not
he?
faithful to my
He did do
story.
that.
So in keeping with the structure of the text, this first video will be covering the history of Sun Wukong, and then in later videos, we'll see about actually getting to the rest of the not inconsiderable length of this text. So our story begins on Flower Fruit Mountain, an island paradise full of dragons, magic birds, immortal peach trees, and one really big rock. Allow me to direct your attention to this rock, as it is about to perform a magic trick. Ta-da! The rock splits in half, revealing another rock. But this rock is
Yay!
special. It's actually a rock egg, no, not that one, and it appears to have inherited the magic prowess of its daddy rock, as it scarcely existed for more than a minute before it abruptly transforms into a stone monkey. Now, this monkey may have spontaneously generated barely 3 seconds prior, but he already knows his manners, so he bows to the 4 cardinal directions, and in the process inadvertently activates his laser eyes, which cause quite a disturbance when they shoot all the way into the palace of the Jade Emperor, the head honcho of heaven himself.
This is the
Stone
real
Monkey hangs
text.
out with a friendly population of not stone monkeys who one day decide to follow their favorite
so
river up to
weird.
its source, whereupon they find that it comes, unsurprisingly, from a big fancy waterfall. So all the monkeys are like, oh man, if only one of us were impulsive enough to jump into the waterfall and see what happens, we'd make him the Monkey King. And the stone monkey is like, did somebody say impulsive? And dives in. So on the other side of the waterfall, he finds a gorgeous cavern decked out with an iron bridge and an enormous stone mansion, fully furnished with all the necessities of life. The monkeys are understandably impressed, and they all pile in to live in this newly discovered cavernous paradise. And for his achievement, the stone monkey is now officially crowned the Monkey King. So the
Yay!
monkey population of Flower Fruit Mountain live in peace and security for several hundred
Monkey.
years. But one day, Monkey King has an existential crisis, pulls a Gilgamesh, and goes on a quest for immortality. 9 years and 2 continents later, he finally finds an immortal Taoist sage who lives on top of the mountain of heart and mind in the cave of the slanting moon and 3 stars. Man, these names are a mouthful. So the immortal sage
Yeah.
Subodhi takes on the Monkey King as one of his
I'm sure it
disciples,
sounds
and he gives him a
completely
new
different
name,
in
derived from a
Chinese.
large number of increasingly complex
absolutely.
character traits, and long story short, his name is now Sun Wukong. So after a 7-year training montage, Subodhi finally teaches Sun Wukong a way to become immortal, which Wukong starts practicing. Another 3 years go by, and Sun Wukong is feeling pretty good about life. He's practicing the Tao, he's functionally immortal, and life is good. But Subodhi warns him that he's not out of the woods yet. Turns out, the Court of Heaven doesn't actually approve of this method of immortality, and will send down 3 calamities in an effort to kill him, one every 500 years. First, they'll strike him with lightning. Then later, if that didn't work, they'll set him on fire. And finally, if neither of those do the trick, they'll straight up disintegrate him. This understandably wigs out Sun Wukong, but Subodhi
Yeah,
offers to teach
because
him the
that
art of
sucks.
the multitude, which will let him transform
Yeah,
into
really.
72 different things. With this, the 3 calamities won't be able to touch him. He also teaches Wukong how to fly, just because. But, unsurprisingly, giving awesome cosmic powers to a suicidally impulsive magical monkey leads to some wacky hijinks, and Master Subodhi has to kick him out so he won't accidentally reveal his secret teachings. So Sun Wukong, now immortal, 20 years older and hypothetically wiser, at last returns to the Water
Hypothetically.
Curtain Cave on Flower Fruit Mountain, and he returns just in time since the monkey population has been being harassed by a monster known only as the Monstrous King of Havoc, who's been intermittently stopping by and kidnapping them to use as servants. So Wukong goes and challenges the monster to a duel and proceeds to absolutely kick his ass with his newfound Taoist superpowers, and then he rescues the captive monkeys and flies them all back home. So
Oh,
all
that's
is well
fucking
on
clout.
Flower Fruit Mountain, but Wukong decides that his monkey kingdom should probably have a monkey army, so stuff like the kidnapping thing doesn't happen anymore. On that note, Wukong also takes a trip down to the Dragon
Monkey
Palace in the
kidnapped
Eastern
one
Ocean
down.
to see if the Dragon King
What
has
the
a
fuck
weapon
is is
befitting
going
his
on?
strength that he could borrow.
This
Long
is a
story
real
short, after
text.
dismissing every
I
superpower
know, and that's
weapon the
what's
Dragon
killing
King
me.
offers him, Wukong ends up taking an obscenely heavy magic size-changing iron pillar out of the palace treasury and using it as a staff. So Wukong's very happy with his new weapon and asks the Dragon King for some fancy new duds to go with his fancy new stick thing. And by now, the Dragon King is so terrified of this super powerful monkey that he gathers all of his dragon brothers and together they assemble a fancy outfit for Wukong just to get him out of their house. When he returns to Flowerfruit Mountain to show his mates his gear, he gets so hyped up that he briefly turns into a huge demonic caricature of himself, which terrifies the local demon population so much that Demon Kings show up at his front door to form an alliance with him. So life is going pretty well for the Monkey King.
So can we talk about how this man got so excited that he got new clothes that he transformed into a giant on accident, and the demons went, "Oh shit, that's scary. Let's go be a part of that man's party." This is a real text.
Till one day, while taking a nap, he's abruptly kidnapped by two emissaries of Yama, the King of Hell, who carry him off to the underworld. Wukong is understandably pissed, seeing as this is technically death and violates the whole immortality deal, and he starts bashing his way into the Palace of Darkness to lodge a complaint with the Ten Kings. So the Ten Kings are like,
"Whoa, there must have been some kind of mistake. I mean, there must be a bunch of dudes named Sung Wukong, right?"
And Wukong is like, "Yeah, right. Show me where that's written down." So they sort through all the ledgers of the dead until they find the one about him, and he scribbles out his name, along with the names of as many monkeys as he can find, thus freeing them from the jurisdiction of the underworld gods. Satisfied, Wukong bashes his
So
way
my
out of
man-
the underworld, then
It was portrayed there, funnily, hilariously enough. But my man got his soul sent to hell, went through their records, found the death note where his name was written in, scribbled it out, and fucked off.
Okay. Fuck the bureaucrat.
So basically, what that basically said was, I was already immortal, but you guys can take my soul out of my body. Stop doing that. Okay, bye.
wakes up and tells all the monkeys the good news. But all is not well in the Kingdom of Heaven, as the Jade Emperor finds himself inundated with complaints about this Monkey King who keeps causing trouble. So at first, the Jade Emperor wants to have him arrested for his shenanigans, but the Spirit of Venus suggests instead that they offer the Monkey King a position in the bureaucracy of Heaven, whereupon they'd be able to better control his actions and easily discipline
I love
him
it. How
if
about we
need be.
don't piss
The Jade
off the
Emperor
Super
gives the
Monkey King?
thumbs up, and they send
Yeah,
down the
that's a
Gold
great
Star
idea.
of Venus to deliver the offer to Wukong, who eagerly accepts. So the Gold Star takes him up to Heaven and takes him to meet the Jade Emperor, who appoints him the position of Pima Wen, which makes him the head of the Imperial Stables. So Wukong thinks that's pretty sweet, and he's fairly chill with the whole situation until he thinks to ask what exactly his rank is, whereupon he is informed that Pima Wen is actually the lowest possible position in the entire bureaucracy of Heaven. Wukong, being a bit of a diva at this point, is understandably pissed, and once again bashes his way out of Heaven and returns to Flowerfruit Mountain to sulk. So Wukong decides to make himself feel better by calling himself the Great Sage equal to Heaven, and meanwhile the Jade Emperor learns of his temper tantrum and sends down several celestial soldiers to capture him. The first among these is the Mighty Spirit God, who challenges Wukong to a duel. Wukong's like, dude, just
Fight
tell
me.
your boss I want a better title. And the Mighty Spirit God is like,
Why don't you tell him yourself? In hell!
and gets utterly destroyed for his trouble. So then Prince Nada confronts Wukong, who's like, what are you, 12? Look, kid, just tell your boss I want to be called Great Sage equal to Heaven, alright? And Nada's like, I'll show you who's 12, and transforms into a big scary monster with a butt ton of weapons. Wukong is, of course, unimpressed, and matches the transformation with one of his own. They fight for a while until Wukong gets the drop on Nada with a duplicate and smacks him with his stick thingy. So they tell the Jade Emperor what happened, and the Emperor is all like,
How dare he resist arrest? Clearly we must execute him!
but the Gold Star of Venus, apparently the only voice of reason in the entire heavenly bureaucracy, suggests that rather than risk their entire army on one super powerful immortal monkey, they just give Wukong what he wants, an empty title. So they do, and a department is set up in Heaven for him to lounge around in and not cause trouble. Unsurprisingly, Wukong is completely down for spending his days languishing in
I
Heaven,
love
being
this.
waited on hand and
Yeah.
foot by celestial spirits.
I just want a better title.
Go on a rampage. But one
Okay.
of the resident Taoist immortals suggests that Wukong might end up getting bored, which carries with it the terrifying possibility of the great
We
Sun
need
King going
Netflix!
into Heaven looking for entertainment. So the Jade Emperor assigns a relatively harmless but time-consuming duty to Wukong, tending the Garden of Peaches of Immortality. Wukong's super down for that, but quickly finds that having to maintain a garden full of delicious immortality-granting peaches without eating any of them is impossible for his poor impulsive brain to handle. So, if you've been taking notes, this means he's now double immortal. But this comes back to bite him on the butt when the time comes for the Queen Mother of Heaven to hold her annual Peach Festival, and her 7 color-coded immortal maidens enter the grove only to find that it is notably lacking in peaches. They inadvertently wake Wukong up, who decides that he wants to go to the festival too. So Wukong paralyzes the maidens, impersonates a local immortal who was invited, then scoots on into the banquet hall. See, stuff like this, it's why you weren't invited in the first place. So when he
Love
arrives,
it.
he's immediately distracted by the smell of wine and proceeds to make off with the entire supply of heavenly booze, which also makes you immortal. So Wukong, now triply immortal and thoroughly drunk, inadvertently stumbles into Lao Tzu's little slice of heaven while searching for a place to sleep it off.
My man
And
walked
Wukong
into
is
Lao
all this
Tzu's
person is.
pad.
Working on it, goddammit. Ninjas, oh god!
So drunk Wukong stumbles into Lao Tzu's palace to say hello, but he can't find the sage anywhere. But he does find Lao Tzu's alchemical lab, in which he finds several gourds full of pills of immortality. 3 guesses as to what Wukong does next.
Inhale all of them.
So Wukong, now quadruply immortal and abruptly sober, realizes that that might not have been the smartest move on his part, and opts to flee back to Flower Fruit Mountain to escape the consequences of his actions. Meanwhile, the 7 immortal maidens, the wine carriers, the people in charge of the banquet, Lao Tzu, the officials from Wukong's department, and the immortal Wukong impersonated, all independently present their grievances to the Jade Emperor, who quickly puts 2 and 2 together and dispatches pretty much the entire army of heaven to apprehend Sun Wukong. Now, of course, because Wukong...
This is what Return to Monkey truly means. Return to Wukong, nigga. That's our version now. Alright, Return to Wukong.
Wukong is absurdly powerful, this is ineffective, and what was supposed
Return
to be
to
a
Monkey
simple capture
King.
mission turns into a full-scale battle between the forces of heaven and Sun Wukong's army of demon monkeys. Now, while all that drama is happening, who should arrive at the Heavenly Palace but the Bodhisattva Kuan Yin and her disciple Moksha, who came for the Peach Festival and are understandably surprised to find the Heavenly Palace in complete disarray. So Kuan Yin asks what all the fuss is about, and upon being briefed, she sends Moksha down to get a sense of what's going on. So Moksha arrives at Flower Fruit Mountain just in time for Wukong, who's been thoroughly kicking the collective asses of the army of heaven, to demand a fight with somebody. So Moksha and Wukong
Fight me!
Well, Moksha unfortunately can't quite keep up with the Monkey King and has to return to heaven in defeat. But Kuan Yin, now better briefed on the situation, suggests a god who could be sent to fight Wukong, Erlang, a powerful loose cannon of a deity who don't play by the Jade Emperor's rules. So they summon him, and he goes to confront Wukong, who's like, "Oh, hey, if you don't mind, could you send out the Devarajas to fight me? Because I'm kind of getting bored over here." And Erlang is like,
"Not as bored as you're gonna be."
And they fight. They both end up turning into Godzilla-scale monsters, but Wukong inadvertently terrifies his own army into a rout with how scary he looks. And in turn, the sight of his own fleeing army disheartens the Monkey King, who shrinks down and runs away. But Erlang isn't going to be evaded that easily, and he uses his magical third eye. He has one of those.
Oh, it's
to fight
Tien!
Wukong, who's turned into an innocent sparrow. Erlang responds by turning into a sparrowhawk, in response to which Wukong transforms into a cormorant, and this kind of goes on for a while. Shapeshifter duels are fun. In the end, it's our buddy Lao Tzu who manages to capture the Monkey King by entrapping him in a diamond snare. Wukong, captured at last, is brought to the monster execution
How do you have a
block, where
diamond
apparently
snare?
the Court of Heaven forgot the meaning of the word immortal, since nothing they throw at him hurts him in any way. So the Jade Emperor is at a loss as to how to kill him, but Lao Tzu has a suggestion. If they stick him in his magic brazier of 8 trigrams and leave him there for 49 days, they should be able to separate out the elixir of immortality from his body, and as a happy consequence, leave the troublesome Monkey King about as dead as you can get. So 49 days pass, and they finally open the brazier to extract the elixir, only to find that it's still firmly attached to Sun Wukong, whose only issue with the experience is that the smoke gave him awesome-looking red eyes. So Wukong is 110% done with heaven, so he starts fighting his way through the entire heavenly army. The Jade Emperor, now completely out of options, finally calls on his last resort, the Buddha himself. So Buddha and his 2 best disciples, Ananda and Kashyapa, go to deal with Wukong, who is at present fighting 36 thunder deities, because why not? So Buddha asks Wukong what he wants, and Wukong's like, "You know what? I'm kind of feeling like overthrowing the Jade Emperor today. Wouldn't that be fun?" And Buddha's like,
Tell you what, I'll make a bet with you, okay? If you can successfully jump out of the palm of my hand, I'll believe that you're qualified to rule heaven in his place.
And it's time for another exciting round of What Will Sun Wukong Do Next? Let's hear it, ladies and gentlemen.
Accept the quest!
Unsurprisingly, Sun Wukong takes that bet and blasts off from Buddha's hand until he reaches the very edge of the universe itself, where he finds 5 pillars supporting the sky. Wukong decides to leave a memento of himself there, graffitiing one of the pillars, and then, for good measure, peeing on it. I mean, he is a monkey. So Wukong backflips all the way back to Buddha's palm like, "Shows what you know, old man! I made it all the way to the pillars of the universe!" And the Buddha's like,
"Is that so? Well, I have a little plot twist for you. See, one of the perks of enlightenment is that I'm one with everything, and as it turns out, that's not just hyperbole."
Sure enough, written on one of Buddha's fingers is Wukong's graffiti, along with the faintest whiff of monkey pee. Turns out the whole universe is the palm of Buddha's hand. Whoa. So Wukong freaks out and tries to skedaddle, but the Buddha uses more of his Buddha magic to trap him under a mountain, which is also his hand. It's complicated. Which Wukong would ordinarily be able to escape stupidly easily, but then they stick a magic seal on top of the mountain and that's that. And it is here, under this beautiful and scenic locale, that Sun Wukong spends the next 500 years.
Man, Buddha don't play around, because it wasn't play the person who wrote this story favored Buddhism over the other 2 major Chinese belief systems, namely Confucianism and Taoism. Which is why Confucian bureaucracy is completely inadequate at controlling monkey, who at this point represents the uncontrolled human mind, hence his overwhelming power but complete lack of forethought. And that's why Taoist sage Lao Tzu was unable to destroy him, because return to monkey! Return to Wukong! But I stated Buddha don't play around. Good job.
Last time on the journey to the west. The mischievous Monkey King Sun Wukong, after achieving immortality 6 ways from Sunday, was brought down by the forces of heaven and placed inside Lao Tzu's
That man was
brain with
immortal
trigrams
4
to
times
turn him
over?
into
The
an
fuck?
immortal elixir. However, our hero proved too powerful for this scheme and broke
What if
free,
Goku was
making
4
him
times
more
immortal?
havoc in heaven. But his reign of terror was
I
abruptly
mean,
ended
he
when was
essentially
imprisoned
is,
by
because every time he
the
gets his
Plot
ass
armor.
beat, he just goes,
Phases Mountain,
no.
where he must now
Plot
wait
armor,
for a
but-
chosen someone to come set him free. So Buddha returns to his home, the Thunderclap Monastery, where he spends a relaxing 500 years
The
writing
Thunderclap
baskets of
Monastery?
scripture.
That's
Now, these
badass.
scriptures are apparently
It's
so
awesome.
powerful that they are capable of redeeming even the most sinful of sinners. Well, sounds fishy to me, but hey, I'm not the guy with the universe in the palm of his hand. So these amazing scriptures need to be delivered to the land of the East in order to spread Buddhism to the sinful folk who live there. But
Also,
there's
if you
one problem. For some reason,
this is complete non sequitur. If you've ever heard me describe as anything as a giant fuck you X or whatever noun you want to throw in there, like a giant fuck you dragon or something, I stole it from them.
Buddha can't deliver them himself, so they need to find someone in the land of the East who can make the journey to the Western Heaven to pick up the scriptures and then return with them. Our friend the Bodhisattva Kuan Yin volunteers to find such a person, and after receiving 5 magical artifacts to give to the scripture pilgrim, she goes off eastward to find someone worthy of making the journey to the West.
Roll credits.
So Kuan Yin and her disciple Moksha head out along the route the scripture pilgrim will have to take, as a way to test the waters and make sure the guy can make it through in the first place. Their first encounter with a murderous river spirit 3 minutes out from the Thunderclap Monastery is not exactly encouraging, but Kuan Yin persuades the guy to chill out and wait for the pilgrim, and then to join and aid him on his quest, with the added bonus that he'll be redeemed for the crime that got him exiled to the river in the first place. He accepts the offer and is given the name Sha Wu Ching, or Sandy for short. Don't ask me how Sandy is short for Sha Wu Ching. So Kuan Yin and Moksha continue on their merry way, whereupon they encounter a pig demon wielding a huge rake. He and Moksha fight for a little bit, but he notices Kuan Yin and immediately stops the fight in favor of asking her for forgiveness, because he's made something of a habit of eating people who come along the road. You know, because he's a demon. Kuan Yin again suggests that he join the pilgrim too when he comes along this way and thus be forgiven for the whole eating people thing. And the pig agrees. And Kuan Yin is putting this pilgrim in pretty questionable company. Kuan Yin gives him the name Chu Wu Neng, Pigsy for short, and heads off, leaving Wu Neng
You know what's
to remain
more
strictly
interesting?
vegetarian until the pilgrim arrives. So they continue
Than this
onward,
whole
and
entire
to
story.
surprise, they encounter yet another charming individual
The
who
fact that
potentially
Kiri Toriyama
qualifies
read
to get
this.
nebulous pilgrim. Can you tell that this story is the origin
Yeah.
of a lot of anime tropes? In this case,
Because he can't even remember that fucking Saiyans have
To his
tails.
dad's palace a little, and for this transgression against fire safety, has been sentenced to death by the Jade Emperor. Kuan Yin persuades the Emperor to pardon the young dragon, and then she directs him to a nearby river, where she instructs him to turn into a white horse when the pilgrim passes by to help him reach his destination. Anyway, they continue on, only to encounter an unexpectedly luminous mountain, the Mountain of 5 Phases, and with it the imprisoned Monkey King. So Wukong's like, Kuan Yin, how's it going, girl? Great to see you. It's been really lonely for the past 500 years, you know? Nobody ever comes by to visit. And Kuan Yin's like, yeah, that's great. Listen, I'm about to go find someone to make a pilgrimage for me. He'll be coming by soonish. He's gonna release you from this mountain, and then you need to help him get where he's going. You got that? And Wukong's like, 10-4, good buddy. Yep, I am just all about that virtuous mission. So Kuan Yin and Moksha arrive in the city of Chang'an and disguise themselves so as not to attract too much attention. Then they set about finding the right monk to serve as the protagonist.
Go
of this
find
little
a
adventure.
protagonist.
Speaking of protagonist,
Yeah.
here's where the book veers off into a tangent to describe the ludicrously convoluted family history of this dude, Xuanzang, who, in case you hadn't already guessed, is our soon-to-be protagonist. Now, Xuanzang has one of the most complicated family histories in all of epic protagonistdom. I won't recount the whole thing here because that would take all day, but basically he's the grandson of an emperor, he's been raised as a monk his whole life after being Mosesed by his mother, and he's the reincarnation of Golden Cicada, an original disciple of the Buddha and a holy being. So Xuanzang is basically the best guy ever, and a total sweetheart, despite the wacky circumstances of his birth. So long story short, 3 court officials convene to select a worthy monk for reasons completely unrelated
Golden
to coin
Cicada
imitation, and of course they select Xuanzang, the biggest
It's an
boy scout
odd
in all of
name.
ancient China. Anyway, Kuan
An
Yin
odd
takes
god.
into this and goes to see if he's
So
worthy of
fucking
being a
crazy.
scripture pilgrim. She finds her way to the court officials and gives them 2 of the various gifts the Buddha had given her to give to the pilgrim, so that they might give them to the most virtuous monk they know. So Xuanzang gets a beautiful robe and a priestly staff, both courtesy of Kuan Yin, and Kuan Yin learns that Xuanzang is the best man for the job. So the Grand Mass, which is the thing that they selected Xuanzang for, happens, wherein Xuanzang has to present a memorial to the Tang Emperor. Kuan Yin takes the opportunity to steal the show by revealing herself in all her glory to the court, and officially requests a volunteer from
That
the
didn't
audience
blind
to go on
people?
the pilgrimage to go to the Western Heaven and retrieve the
Jesus
Tripitaka, which
Christ.
is the official name for the thing the Buddha made. Xuanzang obviously volunteers, just as planned, and Xuanzang is given the by-name Tripitaka and sent on his merry way with a horse
Tripitaka.
and 2 attendants to help him. Don't get too attached to them, though, as the party is captured by demons almost immediately, and Tripitaka's 2 attendants are killed and eaten. Great start. So the
Yeah.
demons finish their attendant
Good
buffet and bunker
start.
down for the night, leaving poor Tripitaka to ponder his exciting future as lunch meat, when suddenly a mysterious old man appears out of nowhere and frees him, and Tripitaka's like,
Where the heck did you come from?
and the old man's like, don't ask stupid questions, here's your horse. So Tripitaka and the old man zip out of the cave, and Tripitaka goes to thank him, only to find that he he's vanished, leaving a note explaining that he was the Gold Star of Venus himself, providing a helpful bit of divine intervention. So Tripitaka goes on by himself for about half a day.
I'm
only to
not
discover
scared,
that
everything's
he
fine.
really doesn't have the constitution for all this questing nonsense.
I lied,
And he
nothing
and his
is
horse are
fine.
just about done with everything when who should come to the rescue but a friendly, boisterous hunter named Po Chin, who spooks all the beasties that were harassing Tripitaka and offers to guide him to his home. So Po Chin and his family have Tripitaka over for dinner, which is slightly awkward because Tripitaka is extremely vegetarian and Po Chin's family hunts all their food, but they handle it gracefully, and Tripitaka further endears himself to the family when he accidentally pacifies the ghost of Po Chin's father, like you do, which prompts Po
What?
Chin to
Okay.
offer to guide Tripitaka to the mountain on the border of the Tang Empire to ensure no further hijinks ensue. Did somebody say hijinks? So as it turns out, the mountain they get to is none other than Five Phases Mountain, where
Hey.
everybody Sun Wukong is still languishing. So Wukong's like, yo, kid, you that pilgrim guy? Kuan Yin said you'd be coming by to let me out. And Tripitaka's like,
Awesome. How do I do that? That mountain looks kind of heavy.
and Wukong's like, you just gotta climb to the top and peel off the golden seal.
Aww.
So Tripitaka manages to get the seal off the mountain, and after he backs off to the minimum safe distance, Wukong breaks the mountain in half and zips on over. So Tripitaka and Sun Wukong continue westward together, but they've hardly gone 10 feet down the road when suddenly they're beset by bandits. So Wukong
Wait, what did that say?
Wukong continue west.
Oh, man, I misclosed. That's not closed. There's a tiger you killed. It's closed now, goddammit.
Together, but they've hardly gone 10 feet down the road when suddenly they're beset by bandits. So Wukong's like, don't worry, master, I know exactly what to do in this situation, and proceeds to kill all the bandits with
Right, kill them all.
Tripitaka's like,
Son, we don't kill people.
and Wukong's like, I think you mean you don't kill people. And Tripitaka's like,
No, you're Buddhist now. Buddhists do not kill.
and Wukong's like, ooh, look at Mr. Big Shot over here telling me who I can and can't kill. And storms off in a huff, which, if you'll recall his not inconsiderable mobility, means the Monkey King is over the horizon before poor Tripitaka can get a retort out. So Tripitaka heads off on his own for a bit when he runs into a mysterious old woman holding a fancy shirt and cap. So the old lady's like, hey, what's the matter, kid? You look like a super-powered disciple just totally ditched you or something. And Tripitaka's like,
You got it in one, mysterious old woman. If only I had some way to discipline him, maybe the story could actually progress.
and the old woman's like, funny you should say that. May I recommend that you give him these fancy duds, then recite this spell? I have this weird feeling that it'll stop causing so much trouble if you
This
do.
weird
And
feeling he
Tripitaka's
won't
like,
be a
Seems
bitch.
good.
Then the old
I
lady
feel-
comes
I
over
feel I have
and
this
like,
weird-
because she was really Kuan Yin. So thus far, Tripitaka's too
Weird,
petite for
strange
people
feeling
seeming
that he'll
to be
stop
duds.
being
Meanwhile,
monkey
Wukong
if
is
you
off
give
having
him
a
this
nice little
shit.
tea party with the Dragon Emperor, who suggests that he go back to Tripitaka rather than abandoning enlightenment and true immortality over a single argument. Wukong zips back westward, blowing past Kuan Yin in the process, who'd flown over in order to convince him of that very course of action. So Wukong warps back to Tripitaka, who offers him the clothes. Wukong, always a sucker for a new wardrobe, throws them on, finding that they fit him perfectly. He's rather less thrilled to discover that the hat is cursed, and when Tripitaka recites the spell Kuan Yin taught him, it shrinks and gives him a splitting headache. Of course, it wouldn't be much of a cursed artifact if he could take it off, so it's also spot welded to his head. After a few
Yay.
entertaining minutes of Wukong trying furiously to escape the hat by any means necessary, he eventually resigns himself to the fact that he won't be able to get up to his usual hijinks.
Are you good?
So the
I hate
dynamic
you.
duo
We're good.
continue onwards with the balance of power now tilted slightly more evenly. It doesn't take long before they arrive at a nice calm stream that happens to be home to an enormous fuck you dragon.
See, there you go. Enormous fuck you, dragon.
Wukong nopes the hell out of there with Tripitaka in tow, and the dragon takes the opportunity to eat Tripitaka's horse. So Tripitaka freaks out since
Wasn't
without
his
ride,
horse
he's
a dragon?
stranded, but he's also too scared to let Wukong leave him alone. But a bit of
Wasn't the
adrenaline
horse a dragon? Wait a
arrives
minute.
to protect Tripitaka, leaving Monkey free to confront the dragon. So they fight it out for a bit, but the dragon's like, screw it, and dives to the river bottom and refuses to come out. Wukong does some magic shenanigans and draws the dragon out again, only for the dragon to turn into a water snake and run away. At this point,
Okay.
Wukong is done, but the local mountain spirits tell him that this dragon is actually under orders by Kuan Yin to help them. So one of the heavenly spirits
Okay, so
goes
this
and
is
gets
not
her,
the
and after a
dragon
brief
that was supposed to
digression
have-
where
okay.
Wukong vents at her about the cursed hat thing, she draws out the dragon, and Wukong picks a fight with him too. Look, he's had a trying day, alright? Anyway, Kuan Yin gets the dragon to turn into a horse for Tripitaka to replace the one he ate, and then to make Wukong stop sulking, she gives him 3 get-out-of-danger-free magical leaves. So now, with the matter having been resolved to everyone's satisfaction, our dynamic trio continue westward. So anyway, they
This totally makes up for the
continue
loss of my
on a
freedom.
monastery run by a sketchy old monk.
Christ.
Long story short, the monk lays eyes on that really fancy monk robe Tripitaka got way back when. It's called a cassock, by the way, and takes it into his head to steal it. And to that end, he decides the best way
Yes,
to go about
good
it is
monk.
to burn down
Steal
his own
things.
monastery. Well, that's not very zen of him. So Wukong smells the smoke, weighs his options, and decides the best way to solve the situation
Well,
without
Buddhism
pissing off
and Zen
Tripitaka
Buddhism
is to
are
let
very
the monks
different,
burn their
so
monastery
probably
all around.
not.
But first, he borrows a fireproof cloak from one of his heavenly buddies to make sure Tripitaka and the horse don't burn with it. Is it just me, or is Monkey on shockingly good terms with all the people he beat the hell out of in the last video? The fire
Yeah, that's
eventually
how-
burns itself
that's
out,
how
and
that
Tripitaka
works.
finally wakes up, only for
You
them
fight
to find
people,
out that
then you're
during
good
all the
friends.
confusion, a
As long
mountain
as you don't
demon
kill 'em.
nearby and stole the cassock.
Then you're
Also,
not
the
good
patriarch
friends.
monk killed himself. So anyway, Wukong zips on over to the demon's mountain and they fight, but the demon calls a lunch break and locks himself in his mountain. So Wukong zips back back to the ruined monastery for snacks, then returns to the mountain to sneak in. So Wukong disguises himself as the old monk and has a little tea party with the mountain demon, and then they fight more. But the demon runs away again, and Wukong decides to call in the cavalry. He goes to Kuan Yin, and together they figure out another way to sneak in and get the cassock back. Kuan Yin disguises herself as a Taoist friend of the demons, and Monkey King disguises himself as a present from that friend, a pill of immortality. Long story short, Wukong beats up the demon from the inside. Ew. Kuan Yin retrieves the cassock, and Wukong returns it to Tripitaka, and they continue on their merry way. Will Sun Wukong learn to value friendship over his impulsive desires? Will
Not
Tripitaka
once.
succeed in his quest to the Thunderclap Monastery?
Nope.
Will that stupid horse ever remember he can fly? Find
Nope.
out next time on Journey to the West. Last time.
How you liking it,
Journey to the
Logan?
West. That's really cool. I'm
This
surprised that it's actually this is a real thing.
this is a real thing. The fucked up part is that she's leaving out 98% of what's actually happening.
Yeah.
This is like the main story beats, which is fucked up.
I'm on the journey to the west. The virtuous monk Tripitaka set out on his journey to the Thunderclap Monastery, where he was soon joined by the powerful but foolhardy Sun Wukong. Though the Monkey King was originally too stubborn and reckless to be controlled, Kuan Yin saved Tripitaka from an early end to his story by inflicting a cursed restraining bolt on the uncontrollable Monkey King, forcing
Just
Wukong to finally
squeeze
put
his
someone
brain.
else's needs before
Yeah, that's
his
a fucked
own.
up kind of
After
crown.
defeating
Fun
the
fact,
monsters
Goku actually wore a
River
crown
Dragon,
like
who
that.
then joined their team. The trio soon found
It was like the
themselves
last,
faced
like,
with new perils. For the mountains
3 to
are full
12
of
episodes of
greedy and
Dragon Ball.
murderous demons, and our heroes have a
Oh,
very
shit,
long way
you're
left
right.
to go. So our heroes continue westward and arrive at the outskirts of a nearby village, where Wukong notices an apparently unusual-looking young man. He immediately grabs the kid and starts interrogating him about the village, and although he's unsurprisingly rather reluctant to answer, the young man, whose name is Cao Tsai, eventually spills that something's actually amiss, and the village isn't quite so idyllic as it looks. See, a while back, a big ugly monster shapeshifted into a handsome dude and married a young woman from Cao Tsai's extended family. Then after the
Oh,
marriage,
nice.
he, let himself go a little, and his father-in-law, the patriarch of the family, objected rather strenuously to having such a hideous monster as a son-in-law. So he sent Cao
Well,
Tsai
it's too
out
late
to
for
find
that.
someone to
We're
exercise
already
him,
married.
which has so far been unsuccessful. Now, of course, Monkey's like, boy, are you in luck. I happen to be an expert at kicking demon ass. So they enter the village and talk to the patriarch. who confirms
I love how
years
it
ago,
was
the super
it was like
handsome
a
Pincho
post-it
asking
note
for his
over
young daughter's hand in
above
marriage. The
ass.
patriarch agreed,
Yeah,
but the
so it could
handsome
be
dude
anything.
turned out to be an ugly shape-shifting pig demon instead. I'd make an online dating joke, but I'm more surprised by the fact that with shape-shifting as ubiquitous as it is in this world, why doesn't this kind of thing happen more often? So anyway, even though the pig demon's a pretty
Yeah, that's
hardworking
fair.
guy, he's super ugly and kind of possessive, and all the patriarch really wants is his daughter back, and for the pig dude to not be affiliated with him or his family anymore. So in this exciting episode, Sun Wukong gets to serve divorce papers.
Hey, look, it's
so
Oolong.
Wukong casually rescues the
He
patriarch's
gets to
daughter.
serve
Yeah, like that.
divorce
That's hard for him.
papers.
And then shapeshifts to
That's
look like her and
literally
hides
what
in the pig
happens in
demon.
that one
Soon
fly
enough,
for
the demon
Oolong.
returns, and Wukong's like, oh man, darling, my parents are just being so rude about us. I hear they're getting someone to exercise you. Oh, no need to worry, sweet cheeks. There's no exorcist alive that can hurt me. I think they said his name was Sun Wukong? Well, it's been fun, sweetheart, but I need to go disappear for a few. Where are you going, darling? So they fight, and Wukong chases him
I
back
love
to his
it.
secret lair at
I love
Cloudpath's
the
cave.
fucking
and along the way,
Pokemon
he learns
shit.
that the pig demon actually used to be a member of the Court of Heaven, who got sloppy drunk, hit on a woman way too many times, and got turned into a monster and kicked out of heaven as punishment. He would have been
Aw.
executed, but our boy
Damn.
the Gold Star of Venus intervened on his behalf.
What's your
That's
sign?
creative,
No.
But that kind of seems like the only thing the Gold Star of Venus does. So then they fight, and it's awesome, but then the pig demon calls a timeout and runs away.
Man.
So Wukong returns to Tripitaka
Why-
and fills him in and takes a moment to
What is
sass
with all
the
these people
patriarch
calling a
Cao for being
timeout
pretty
and
bad
running away from
father-in-law to his
Sun?
relatively hardworking demon son-in-law. And then he zips back to fight the pig demon again. So they fight some more, and eventually Monkey asks why the pig demon's fighting him with a rake, and the demon's like, a rake? Ha! This is no ordinary rake. One blow from this and your very soul will be rent asunder. You were saying, I think I'd like to surrender now, please. So as it turns out, this rake-wielding pig demon is the very same rake-wielding pig demon that Kuan Yin enlisted to help Tripitaka. So after Monkey learns
Oh,
this,
fun.
he takes the
Are you fucking
pig, whose
kidding me?
name, as you may recall, is Pigsy, back to meet Tripitaka, who's overjoyed to have another disciple to help him out.
I'm calling him
Everything resolves
Oolong.
shockingly quickly, and the patriarch Cao throws a big fancy banquet for a newly expanded troop of heroes, and then our protagonists continue on their way. So shortly thereafter, they encounter a friendly Zen master known as the Crow's Nest Zen Master, who warns Tripitaka that, surprise, the journey will be absolutely packed with monsters and demons. But it's not like Tripitaka needs to be totally helpless. The Zen Master teaches him a sutra called the Heart Sutra that'll hypothetically keep him safe from harm when he recites it. Then he casually insults Wukong and Pigsy, warns Tripitaka to keep an eye out for a water spirit in the near future, and zips back up to his nest. So our heroes continue westward.
back
but they
here!
abruptly encounter a tiger
All
who introduces
all
himself
of
by
the
ripping off
guys
his
and
own
Buddhists
skin.
and
So
shit
they
are
fight the demon
petty
for a
as
little
fuck,
while, but
is what I'm
finding himself
learning.
outclassed, the tiger demon tosses his skin
I
over
love
a
it.
rock as a decoy and runs away, but not before grabbing Tripitaka.
Yo,
the
what if
tiger
in the
demon
middle
leads
of like a
Tripitaka to his
tournament
lure, the
match,
cave
match,
demon,
right?
and
You
they
just
start
go,
debating
hey,
how
hey,
to
hey,
cook.
time out,
Meanwhile, Wukong
time
and
out,
Pixie
and
figure
then
out
they
that the
just
tiger
don't
demon
return.
escaped with Tripitaka, and Wukong immediately
Sounds
charges
about
off
right.
to find him. So they find the lair of the cave demon pretty quickly, and the cave demon sends out the Tiger Vanguard to fight Wukong. Yeah, you know how this part goes. Wukong kicks the tiger
I'm going to
demon's
assume
ass,
this
but
is Attack
time,
on
when the
Titan
tiger
reference,
demon
which I have
runs
not
away,
seen.
Pigsy comes out of nowhere and kill steals like a boss. This is a very accurate representation of his overall characterization for the rest of the story. Anyway, Wukong flies back to the cave with the tiger demon's corpse, and
I
taunts
can't
the
imagine
cave demon until he
Wukong
comes out to fight.
kill
They fight for a
stealing
while, and are
anything
actually
can go
pretty
through.
evenly matched, but when Wukong busts out his special attack and duplicates himself, the cave demon counters with his own PSOP special.
Kagabenshin
and
no
lifts a
Jutsu.
hurricane of wind that blasts Wukong with enough force to temporarily blind
Damn,
him,
this
making it
fucking
impossible
looks
for him to continue
amazing.
fighting. Wukong and Pigsy manage
Shady.
to escape and try to figure out what to do next.
It's
and they
just
find their way
shady.
to a nearby cottage where a friendly old man and several young farmers let them stay the night. The old man also gives Wukong a healing balm for his eyes, and when he wakes up the next morning, he can conveniently see again. This is also when he learns that the cottage never existed, and that the old man and the farmers who took care of them were some of the heavenly spirits assigned to help Tripitaka on his pilgrimage. Okay, the rules for what these god dudes can and can't do are hella arbitrary. I'm starting to think they're just messing with them. So Wukong decides to try the stealth route for this particular mission.
Knowing how
He turns into
gods
a
worked back in
mosquito
the
to
old
sneak into
times,
Cave
yeah,
Demon's
they
lair,
probably
whereupon
are
he
just
finds that
fucking with him.
Tripitaka is both still alive and rather grumpy at his delayed rescue. On his way out, he overhears that one of the cave demon's minions ran into Pigsy, but obviously didn't see Wukong. So the cave demon speculates that either he managed to kill Wukong with his wind, or the Monkey King ran off to get help. But that'd be absurd, because there's only one person who can resist the cave demon's wind, and that's the Bodhisattva Ling Chi. So Wukong zips back to Pigsy, and with a little help from the disguised Gold Star of Venus, my god, that is
love
what
it.
he does. They find their way to the home of Ling Chi, where Wukong explains the situation. The Bodhisattva explains that he'd previously defeated the cave demon, but allowed him to remain in the mountains so long as he didn't hurt anyone. Seeing as this rule has been broken, Ling Chi grabs the flying dragon staff and prepares to unleash
Oh
some
my
righteous
god.
power. So they fly back to the mountain, Wukong busts down the door, and he goes a few rounds with the cave demon before the demon starts charging his special attack. But right before he unleashes it, Ling Chi throws the flying dragon staff at him, whereupon it turns
Alrighty.
into an actual dragon and punts the cave
Which
demon into
tr-
a mountain so hard that he reverts back to his true form, which is apparently a mink. So Wukong and Pigsy rescue Tripitaka,
I
and
love
get
it.
lunch and
I
continue
love
on
it.
their merry way. So soon enough, they reach a huge turbulent
This is the
river,
best
which would be
anime
bad enough
ever.
on its own, but then a huge monstrous demon pops out of the river and makes the situation even worse. Wukong nopes
Dude,
out
just
of
make
there
this an
and
anime,
Tripitaka in tow,
honestly.
While Pigsy and the river spirit fight. Wukong stands guard for all of 5 minutes before the need to assert his badass status takes hold.
Be
and he
cool,
dives
be cool,
into
be
the
cool,
battle,
be cool, be
whereupon
cool.
He immediately ends it by whacking the river spirit really hard. The spirit freaks out and dives back into the river, whereupon our heroes start planning their next move. They agree that, unfortunately, the river spirit is probably their best bet for getting Tripitaka across the river. But there's just one problem. Wukong actually sucks ass at fighting underwater. So it's up to Pigsy to go down there, lure the spirit up to the surface, and then let Wukong kick his ass on dry land. The plan works pretty well, except Wukong is, say it with me now, too impulsive, and the spirit dives back into the river as soon as he sees the Monkey King coming at him. They try again the next day, but this time the river spirit is wise to their tricks and refuses to take the bait at all. Wukong finally decides that the best thing to do in this situation is to go find Kuan Yin, since she wouldn't have sent them on an impossible journey, so she has to have a plan. And unsurprisingly,
right.
she does. See,
Yeah,
this river
of
spirit
course.
is, say it with me now, the same one she found on her way to Chang'an, and the first spirit
Oh,
she enlisted to
wow.
help Tripitaka on his way. She sends Moksha back to Wukong, whereupon he calls the spirit up with the byname that Kuan Yin gave him, Wu Qing. So Wu Qing, aka Sandy, learns that the scripture pilgrim was right there the whole time, and if either of his disciples had bothered to mention anything about the scriptures, this whole debacle could have been avoided. Once again,
Funny.
communication fails to save the day. So now all our
What do I always say, Logan?
Plot point of just talk.
Yes! Just fucking talk!
protagonists are assembled. Tripitaka,
God.
the immortal divine monk at the heart of the story, Sun Wukong, the impulsive but insanely powerful muscle of the group, Pigsy, the gluttonous celestial soldier seeking forgiveness, Sandy, also a disgraced celestial warrior and the only party member who can swim, and the horse. Hey, you were in a river when they first found you. You clearly know how to swim. Why couldn't you fight Sandy? Or just take Tripitaka across the river in the first place? Don't give me that kind of backtalk. What do you even do? I don't care if you're an
Nothing.
allegorical representation of the human will. You're a goddamn dragon. You have no business being this disappointing. Okay, so now that the story has been entirely set up and our cast has been assembled, the journey to the west becomes very episodic. It's a real monster of the week kind of thing, with a new mountain and corresponding monster every couple chapters. Now, they're all good. And
This
you
would
should
be the
really just
best
read the
anime.
books. But for the sake of education and also pure fun, I'm going to be covering the more memorable, dramatic, or funny episodes in a series of shorter videos with one to each episode, while skipping over the filler and the 8-chapter power-up sequences. So get ready for Journey to the West, Kai!
I can't believe this.
It's very good.
Last time on Journey to the West, the virtuous monk Tripitaka found himself added to the menu of an evil cave demon, whose powerful wind laid even the mighty Sun Wukong low. With the help of the Bodhisattva Ling Chi, Sun Wukong and Tripitaka's new disciple Pigsy found a way to defeat the cave demon and save their master, only to encounter a new threat in the form of a cunning and powerful river spirit that barred their way. Unable to fight him underwater, Sun Wukong again had to rely on the skills
Return
of
to
Pigsy
Wukong
lure
is the
demon
best
out.
thing that we got
When
out of
that
this
failed,
today.
He called upon the merciful Kuan Yin to intercede on their behalf. The river spirit turned into an unlikely ally when it was revealed that Kuan Yin had previously enlisted him as Tripitaka's third disciple.
so
Now,
weird.
with all our allies assembled, we are finally ready to embark on the journey to the west. So our heroes are trekking westward through a particularly uninhabited stretch of mountain when Tripitaka's tummy starts getting the rumblies and he tells Monkey to go find him some vegetarian food. So Monkey flies off to get him some fruit or something, in the process disturbing a local mountain demon, the White Bone Spirit, who pops out to see what's up.
She looks cool.
Sees Tripitaka
Good
and
character
immediately
design on their
realizes
part.
he's the monk all the demons are talking about, and that because he's the reincarnation of Golden Cicada and has pursued a perfect monk lifestyle, if she eats him, she'll become immortal. So she's about to swoop down and grab him then and there, but she recognizes Sandy and Pigsy as two former celestial warriors and backs off, resolving to be sneakier about this. So she disguises herself as a beautiful young woman and minces over to Tripitaka with some delicious poisoned rice for him. So Pigsy immediately gets his flirt on while the White Bone Spirit spins a sob story about having to care for her aging parents that she totally has.
no.
So while she's trying to convince Tripitaka to eat her delicious not at all poisoned rice, Monkey flies back with an armload of peaches and immediately sees that this girl is a demon with his special demon eyes. So he drops everything and whips out his murder stick, but Tripitaka panics and grabs him because seriously, dude, at least explain your motivation. So Monkey's like, alright dude, listen,
No
disguising
murder.
yourself as a hot chick, that's like man-eating demon trick number 1. Hell, I did it all the time back when I ate people. Amazingly, this stirring argument fails to convince Tripitaka, so Monkey's like, alright, I get it. You think she's hot. How about I give you two lovebirds a little privacy? And while Tripitaka's paralyzed with embarrassment, Monkey smacks the demon in the face. So Tripitaka's like, Monkey, what the hell? The Monkey points out that the delicious, totally not poisoned rice had rotted and filled with maggots as soon as he killed her, which is not typically a trait of healthy food. So Tripitaka almost believes him until Pigsy, extremely salty about Monkey ruining his chances to score, goes all, oh sure, come on, what's more likely? That Monkey just killed a demon? Or that Monkey just murdered an innocent girl and used his powers to make you think he killed a demon? So Tripitaka gets really mad and uses the magic migraine spell, then tells Monkey that a killer can't be one of his disciples. But Monkey manages to persuade him to let him stay, and the group awkwardly treks on after burying
Yo, what
a
the
totally
fuck,
innocent
bro?
girl. Speaking of, the White Bone
Jesus
Spirit
What kind of
actually
shit?
dropped her body right at the
Yo,
moment
Pigsy,
the
you
impact
fake
and
as
scattered
fuck.
off into the sky, leaving her body below. She starts working on how to get rid of Monkey so she can get some of that sweet man flesh. So she turns into an elderly woman and hobbles up to the group like, excuse me, have any of you seen my beautiful innocent daughter that totally came this way a little while ago? I'd hate to think that something happened to her. So Monkey obviously insta-kills her, again, and Tripitaka flips out, uses the migraine spell, and with Pigsy's encouragement...
Uses the migraine
Monkey's like,
spell.
alright, but if you're gonna
I
kick me
hate
out,
it.
to at least get this stupid thing off first. Which is when everyone learns that Tripitaka has no idea how to get Monkey's cursed hat off his head. So he agrees to keep Monkey on as a disciple, since it wouldn't be fair to cut him loose without actually cutting him loose, and they continue on together. Soon enough, they spot a totally innocent old man in the distance, and Pigsy's like, oh, horror of horrors! Clearly, this is the patriarch of the family that Sun Wukong so callously murdered for no reason.
It's also a
Clearly,
demon.
Monkey will use his great powers to escape
Bonk.
justice and leave us to take the blame. Oh, horror of horrors! Clearly, Sun Wukong has bewitched this innocent old man's corpse to look like the body of a demon. In case you haven't noticed,
Oh my
Tripitaka
God.
is supremely gullible in this chapter, so sure enough, it's migraine time and getting kicked out of the group o'clock. This time, Monkey's like,
Pigsy,
alright,
you
know
fake.
what? Fine. And after Tripitaka writes an official letter of banishment and Monkey is aggressively polite in taking his leave, Monkey warns Sandy not to buy into Pigsy's BS and then blasts off. Nice one, Tripitaka. So Monkey returns to his home on Flower Fruit Mountain, only
Yeah,
to
no,
find it in
like,
ruins.
he was doing
After
his
that, Monkey
jobs.
got sealed away, Erlang burned the whole place down for funsies. The remaining monkeys are
Aw.
being hunted every day by a huge band of hunters. So Monkey decides the time has come for some
Oh
monkey
my
to stretch
God.
out and bring down the wrath of Wukong
So
on
cool.
hunters the next time they appear. So while Monkey's having the time of his life as king of the mountain again, the story shifts back to Tripitaka and
The
friends.
best part about
But
this
let's
is that
take a
this is
minute to
drawn
step
in
out of the
basic
story and examine
storyboard
it on
format.
level
Like, this
because
is
what
literally
just
like
happened was
scribbles on a
fascinating.
thing
Thanks to
with some
centuries
effects.
Yeah, but it looks great.
Monkey's
It looks
actually
amazing.
connected directly and put in something modern, and it'd make perfect sense. After getting kicked out and losing his purpose, Monkey is visibly emotionally unstable, oscillating between heartbreaking homesickness to cathartic rage to overzealous partying and back again. Like, there's no need to dig deep here. His emotional responses are there for all the world to see. And the reason for that is because we can't forget that the journey to the west is an allegory, and Monkey represents the mind. Monkey just gave up on everything he was trying to do, which was to get Tripitaka to the Thunderclap Monastery. He's basically going through an existential crisis, and the book is representing that perfectly because it's kind of the point of the book. It's like an allegorical roadmap. This is a part of the journey
It's
where
so
you'll probably be
fucking
feeling these
cool.
things and
It's
facing
good.
these temptations. The characters feel real and genuine in their reactions to things because they all represent vital components of the human mind, and the way they act is the way we act. It's not like Beowulf, where he's a great and noble king with very little else to define him. These characters
And this
are
is
meant
why
to be
Return of
to be
Monkey is a
something we can see
great
ourselves.
analogy.
This book is really good. Anyway, so Tripitaka and friends enter a super ominous pine forest.
Return of
things
Wukong!
really go wrong. First, Pigsy fails to find Tripitaka any food and opts to take a nap instead. Then, while Sandy goes to look for him, Tripitaka enters a pagoda to light incense and pray, and manages to wake up a sleeping demon in the process and get insta-captured. So Sandy manages
Yo.
to find Pigsy and drags him back to the camp, whereupon they find Tripitaka missing and reason that he probably went to check out that...
Horse, what are you doing? You're a little... Yeah, I'm with her. What the fuck are you doing? Really?
Actually, a demon
You're
killer.
an actual dragon.
Decides that picking a fight with
Yeah.
a demon sounds like a great idea. So they fight, and it's pretty
Pigsy,
cool.
no.
But even with
Pigsy,
the backup
yes.
of the various gods that have been assisting Tripitaka on his path, Sandy and Pigsy can only fight the demon to a standstill. But while that's going on, Tripitaka meets with a stroke of luck. Turns out the demon's wife is a kidnapped princess named Hundred Flowers Shame, who's willing to help him in exchange for him delivering.
Can we talk about how names are just words?
So she frees Tripitaka, gives him a letter, and convinces her husband to stop beating up his friends. Tripitaka
Not that
hurry
my
up
name
that door
isn't
and
just a
continue
word,
westward,
but
soon
still.
coming across the very kingdom Hundred Flowers Shame was stolen from. Tripitaka delivers the
Your
letter
name is
to
also
Pigsy, finally
words.
grateful
Maybe
for
we
finding
shouldn't be
what
so
happened
harsh
to
on
his
that.
but sadly says that they're unequipped to stage a rescue if it involves fighting a demon. But surely Tripitaka must be able to if he's managed to make it this far already. So Tripitaka reluctantly summons his disciples, whereupon the king asks which of them is better at slaying demons. Pigsy gets his brag on and starts showing off his powers, which soundly convinces the king that he's perfectly equipped to go off and fight the same demon he was having worlds of trouble with last time. So Pigsy zips off
Yeah.
for the rematch of the century, with Sandy tagging along
Boy's
to
the
make sure he doesn't
badass
hurt himself.
Wukong
So
ever
Pigsy breaks
was.
down the door and proceeds to get his ass soundly kicked, so he excuses himself and runs away, leaving Sandy to try and fight the demon himself. This goes
Wow.
terribly poorly, and Sandy gets captured while Pigsy hides in a thorn bush. So the demon
Wow.
reasons that the disciples must have come back because the princess snuck a letter out with them, and confronts her about it. Obviously, she denies it, and when he interrogates Sandy about it, he catches on and denies it too. So the demon immediately switches off the murderous intent and gets all buddy-buddy with his wife again. He then decides to pay a visit to his father-in-law, shapeshifting himself into something a little more presentable. So the demon heads over to the king's court and spins a sob story about some shapeshifting tiger demon he saw threatening the princess way back when, so he drove it off and saved her life, and then married her because she never told him she was a princess, and hey look, that guy over there is totally the demon I was talking about. So the demon spins an illusion around Tripitaka, making him look like a tiger monster, which is all the evidence
Oh
the king
my
needs to have
lord.
Tripitaka locked up. So things look pretty terrible.
Good job.
Right? I mean,
Proud
Sandy's
of
been
you.
captured, Pigsy's off hiding somewhere, Tripitaka's been locked up, and Monkey's back on Flower Fruit Mountain.
Good picture.
Care in the world. Who
It
could
was a
possibly
frame.
rescue Tripitaka now?
Monkey.
That's right! It's finally the horse dragon's time to shine!
Is
the
it?
dragon turns back to his true
Cool.
form
Come on,
and
horse.
scouts
Thank
out
God.
the
Dragon.
and sees that the demon has returned to his true form and is currently in the process of eating his attendants and drinking all the wine in the palace. So the dragon
Okay.
shifts into a beautiful young woman and scoots into the hall, impressing the demon with magic tricks and singing for him. Soon enough, the demon asks if she can dance, and the dragon's like, oh, a little, but it'll look much better if I use swords. So she does a little sword dance for him until she spots her opening and takes a swing. The dragon turns back to his true form and does battle with the demon for a while, but he's clearly outclassed and ends up having to run after
Awesome.
his leg gets injured. He hides at the bottom of the moat until the demon loses interest and then turns back into a horse and limps into the stable for the night. Soon, however, Pigsy comes crawling back, hoping to get some help in rescuing Sandy. Instead, he gets chewed out by the horse for being too overconfident and ruining everything. Pigsy
Yeah.
decides the sane course of action would be to pack his things and return to his peaceful life in the village with his own kidnapped wife, but the horse is having precisely none of his sass today and refuses to let him leave, unless it's to go up
Oh,
on
wow,
the
this is
monkey
really
and
hard.
get him to sort this all out.
Monkey.
So
Oh, I
Pigsy
know.
flies off
I'll
to
just
Flower
fuck
Fruit
off.
Mountain, Whereupon he finds Sun Wukong hanging out with his enormous monkey army. Pigsy tries to sneak closer, but Monkey spots the intruder and has his monkeys bring him up to the front. He immediately recognizes Pigsy, and after being assured that he hasn't been banished too, Pigsy, rather than owning up to the disaster scenario, instead tells Monkey that nothing's wrong. Tripitaka just missed him so much. So Monkey's like, neat. In that case, let's just hang out for a little while. So Monkey leisurely spends his morning hanging out on his beautiful mountain and eating fruit, while Pigsy tries to find ways to
Yeah, that
persuade
sounds
Monkey
about
to
right.
leave right this
Why don't
second
you just
without
tell him what
seeming
was
too
going on?
desperate. After a while, Pigsy's like, well,
Just
we
talk.
sure kept our master waiting. We should probably go. Monkey's like, oh yeah, great. See ya. Pigsy's like, wait, you're not coming? And Monkey's like, no, I got banished, remember? Besides, I got a good thing going here. Tell Tripitaka not to bother me again. So Pigsy leaves, but he's only a few miles down the mountain before he starts ranting and insulting Monkey. So Wukong has his monkeys recapture Pigsy and bring him
It's
back
just-
to explain his
he's
poor
like, "What the
manners."
fuck?"
So the truth comes out as Pigsy explains how everything went wrong, although he does embellish a little to motivate Monkey to come help him. So Monkey flies to the demon's lair and immediately abducts two of the demon's children, offering to release them in exchange for Sandy. The princess runs back inside and frees him, and Monkey, after reuniting with Sandy, sends them off to the palace with the two kids in tow to lure out the demon and bring him back to his lair. Meanwhile, Monkey shapeshifts into the princess and waits in the cave for the demon to return. So Sandy and Pigsy drop the kids in front of the palace, killing them, but it's okay because
What the fuck?
And the demon, a little too hungover to want to fight, decides to check his lair first to see if they really were his kids and if he needs to avenge them. So the demon returns to his cave,
Wow.
whereupon he finds totally the real princess crying her eyes out about her two
Totally
little
the real
kids. The
princess.
demon's like, "Ooh, I'm gonna get him right after I make sure you're okay, darling. Princess Monkey is like, oh man, I'm just so distraught. So the demon's like, don't worry, honey, I've got an elixir for exactly that. Whereupon Monkey takes it,
why is
swallows it whole,
this
and reverts to his true form in
Wukong
preparation for
monkey
some cathartic
also
ass kicking. So they
just
have an epic
using
battle, and it's
sexy
really
no
cool, but when
jutsu?
Monkey fakes an error and uses the opportunity to get in a solid
Why
hit,
is he
the
4
demon
times
vanishes.
immortal, Logan?
Monkey
How do you
scans
become
all the
4
directions
times
but can't
immortal?
find him, puts two and two together, and
I mean, there's
realizes
a
that
way.
the demon must have been a heavenly
No,
spirit, which
no,
explains
there's
why he couldn't
not.
find him anywhere on Earth. So he busts his
Clearly
way to
there
heaven
was, 'cause he
again.
did
What
it.
is this, like the 4th time? And demands to know what spirits were unaccounted for. Turns out the demon was really Ravati, the Woodwolf star, known to us modern people as Zeta Piscium. See, turns out
I
that
don't
the
know either
princess
of
was
those things.
actually
How about
another
you?
heavenly courtier, in this case an incense tender, who desperately wanted to elope with him. He was afraid that such an act would be unthinkable in heaven, so the two of them departed to Earth to carry on their love in secret. And yeah, if you think too hard about it, it kind of makes the entire story fall apart, but we don't have to worry
Oh,
about it
yeah.
anymore because
Because that
Demon is in
didn't make any
custody, and all
fucking
that's left
sense.
to do is to pick up Tripitaka. So the princess explains
Where did
everything
these
to her
demons
father, the
come
king,
from?
and they head down to get Tripitaka, who's still locked up in the illusion of a tiger. After Monkey gets his sass on for a little bit, he frees Tripitaka from the spell, and everyone is friends again.
Will Pigsy stop being dragged around by his own base desires? Will
No.
Sandy ever win a fight? Will
No.
Tripitaka learn to trust Monkey's judgment? Will
Hell
Monkey learn
no.
the benefits of communication? And will the
Nope.
horse
I
ever
love
do
Monkey's
anything
face.
plot relevant again? Find out next time on Journey to the West.
None of this will happen.
Last time on Journey to the West,
Alright, this
cerebral
is so
protagonist Sun
dumb.
Wukong
It's
finds
so
himself
good.
banished from the group by Tripitaka, thanks to the machinations of a shape-shifting demon and the goading of the resentful Pigsy. Left without their primary powerhouse, the Pilgrims quickly dissolved into disarray, with Sandy and Pigsy barely managing to rescue Tripitaka from the clutches of a monstrous ogre. Forced to confront the demon once again, our diminished heroes found themselves overwhelmed, and Sandy was taken prisoner while Pigsy was forced to flee. The ogre then
Wow, what a
infiltrated the
fight.
castle in which
What a
Tripitaka
fight.
was being housed and trapped the monk in an illusion of a demon tiger, tricking the lord of the castle into imprisoning the hapless monk in the dungeons below. An unlikely hero arose in the form of the oft-forgotten dragon horse, but regrettably, if unsurprisingly, our equine hero was no match for the ogre's brutal onslaught and was defeated. With no options remaining to him, Pigsy traveled to Flowerfruit Mountain to retrieve the banished Monkey King, and was forced to swallow his pride in order to inform Monkey of all the gory details of his own failure to fill his shoes. Once properly briefed, our simian hero made quick work of the disaster, rescuing Sandy and leaving the ogre and his wife to the mercies of the bureaucracy of heaven. Having rescued
Man.
Tripitaka and reconciled with one another, our gang is back together again and finally free to continue on the journey to the West. So our heroes are continuing Tripitaka gets a bad feeling about it and sends Pigsy out to scout out to see if there's any danger. Pigsy being Pigsy, Monkey unsurprisingly
Bro, I would say that's a terrible idea.
Shapeshifts into a fly to quietly tail him. Whereupon he finds Pigsy got just far enough away from the group to not be in the direct line of sight and promptly took a nap. Monkey wakes him up with a bite to the face, and Pigsy proceeds to keep digging by composing an elaborate lie that he's planning on telling Tripitaka when he gets back. Something about an enormous demon stronghold on the mountain, looks really scary, and maybe they should all just turn back and go home. Monkey's like, seriously, dude. Flies back to Tripitaka and rats out Pigsy, who unsurprisingly gets in a world of trouble and is sent back out to scout properly this time. Unfortunately for Pigsy, there actually is a demon stronghold on the mountain, and he inadvertently stumbles on a small army of demons who happen to be led by a pair of demon brothers who have been keeping an eye out for Tripitaka and his group in the hopes of capturing him and eating him.
Oh, I know them. Gold and Silver. Those are people in Naruto, I think. Do you remember them?
Not right off the top of my head, no.
Hold on. No, it's gonna bother me. Hold on. I can change this. I don't need that anymore. Yeah, Gold and Silver Brothers.
Yeah.
I think their whole entire shit was like they used sand, but it was gold and silver. Ginkaku and Kinkaku. Let me see. Yeah, Kinkaku and Ginkaku. We're getting demonetized right now.
Quite a lecture, and I really hate to.
That's my nigga D. Where's that C? I don't remember. Oh boy.
Trusted bodyguard.
No, this is Doroi. That's D.
I'm so. I guess
Jesus
that means
Christ.
I'm a pretty humble guy.
Can I get them, please?
Wait.
No?
What it is?
Cool. Alright, cool. Thanks. That did nothing for me. Back to the thing. Back to your regular schedule program.
Ugly traveler, but one of the demon brothers recognizes him as part of Tripitaka's coterie and attacks. They wage a brief but fairly epic battle until the demon sicks all his demon soldiers on Pigsy, at which point he gets overwhelmed and captured.
Yay.
Meanwhile, back with the rest of the group, Tripitaka starts getting worried because Pigsy's taking so long. Monkey tells him to chill out, since Pigsy would have run back at the first sign of trouble if there was actually anything wrong, so they move on. But Tripitaka still feels really on edge. As it turns out, this is because they're being surveilled by one of the demon brothers, and Tripitaka's picking up on his spooky presence. Monkey tries to cheer him up by doing a sick martial arts demonstration with his staff, which has the added bonus of terrifying the observing demon, who decides the first thing to do is to take Monkey out off the and then try capturing Tripitaka. So the demon transforms himself into an elderly Dallas sage with a broken leg and plops himself down in the path of the group. Tripitaka takes pity on him and offers to help.
Monkey doesn't see through this illusion
and Monkey
immediately.
cheerfully obliges.
No, not like you saw the other one.
Hey, buddy.
So, just so we're on the same page here, I totally know that you're a demon.
Oh, cool.
And
Oh, there it
boy,
is.
Are you lucky that my master is so compassionate. Anyway, no pressure, but I'm gonna be dropping you off the first cliff I see. So the demon unsurprisingly panics and calls on the local mountain demons to drop 3 mountains on top of Monkey, which actually manages to pin him down. Just barely. The demon then chases down Tripitaka and captures him, Sandy, and the horse. So the entire gang minus Monkey is strung up in the demon's lair, and Monkey is stuck under 3 mountains and having crazy flashbacks to the last time a mountain got dropped on his head.
500 years? Yeah.
But soon enough, the local mountain gods recognize Monkey and freak out, freeing him as soon as possible and asking him to pretty please not kill them. Luckily for them, Monkey instead chooses to sublimate his aggression on 2 mook demons that happen to be heading their way. As it turns out, the demon brothers sent them over to finish him off. Monkey notices a strange light coming off of them, and when he asks
Talk about how this
the mountain
motherfucker's
gods
just
about it, they say it's
dropped
probably coming from a couple of
mountains
the
on this
secret
man.
treasures that the demon
Yeah.
brothers have. Apparently, they have 5 in total, each one quirkier and
Oh,
more
shit.
powerful than
Guilty
the
Gear.
last. So Monkey spontaneously decides that Tripitaka can win.
That's a
because
thing
he
in Guilty
absolutely
Gear,
has
except
to
it's
collect
7,
all
but
5
whatever.
sacred treasures. So he turns himself into a Taoist sage, flags down the demons, and asks them about their treasures. They explain that they've got a gourd and a vase, and conveniently they both work the same way. If the wielder calls someone's name and the person responds, they'll be sucked
No,
into
this is
the
good. Yeah, this is what
Monkey's
Kinkaku
like,
do.
Oh, wow, that sure sounds pretty cool. I've got a gourd that can suck up heaven itself. Want to trade? So the demons are understandably suspicious, but Monkey has a plan to validate his claim. He surreptitiously summons a few gods and sends them to tell the Jade Emperor that he needs to bottle up heaven for a little bit, no pressure or anything. The Jade Emperor is like,
No, that's outrageous. Are you kidding?
but Prince Nada suggests that all they have to do is black out the sky, and that should be enough to fool the demons into thinking that Monkey actually bottled heaven. So they unfurl this giant
love it.
banner
Not to
of
tell you how
black
to do your
feathers
job,
over
but
the
also
sky,
they're
and
dumb.
The demons totally believe that Monkey just bottled up heaven itself. So they trade their treasures for Monkey's gourd, at which point Monkey vanishes and they find that the gourd does not in fact work as advertised. So they report back to their boss, who's grumpy about the lost treasures, but not quite so grumpy as to actually murder them or anything. The demon brothers send the 2 mook demons to go and invite their mother to dinner, and to make sure to tell her to bring her sacred treasure, which is a golden rope. Monkey, having overheard that particular soundbite, decides to steal that treasure too, and ambushes the 2 demons en route, kills them, then duplicates himself, and disguises both himself and the duplicate as the 2 mook demons. So the disguised Monkey goes and gets the demon's mother, absolutely hating the fact that he has to kowtow to her, but he cheers up significantly when he subsequently murders her and her sedan carriers. He then shapeshifts into her, duplicates himself a bunch, and turns them into his expanded coterie, and trundles back to the Demon Brothers' cave. The demons greet their mother, and when Monkey greets them in return, Pigsy, who we recall is strung up in the cave, recognizes him by his tail and starts laughing like crazy. The demons offer their mother Tripitaka, but she says she thinks she'd rather have Pigsy's ears, at which point Pigsy comes out and blows his cover. At that exact
Disgusting.
moment, a demon minion runs in to say that he found their mother and her entire coterie dead. Monkey recognizes his cover's blown and books it, vanishing in a blinding flash of red light. At this point, the elder demon brother is like,
Sailor
"Oh,
Moon."
this isn't worth it. Let's just give him back the monk. But the younger brother is all like, are you kidding? Where's your pride? Tell you what, let me fight him. Whichever one of us wins gets the monk, and when I win, you can stop worrying. So the younger brother gears up and heads out to fight Monkey. They're pretty much evenly matched, so Monkey gets the brilliant idea to try and turn the tables by using the golden rope to trap the demon. Unfortunately, he doesn't actually know how to use it, so the demon just catches it, throws it back, and recites the spell that actually does make it work. He ends up trapping Monkey and hitting him a whole bunch, but quickly realizes that he won't make any progress that way, so he just drags him back to the cave, ties him up, and takes the gourd and vase back. Pigsy makes fun of him for a bit until Monkey turns his staff into a steel file and breaks out, turning into a demon
Okay.
and leaving a duplicate in his place. At which point, Pigsy, whose only role in this particular story is to cause problems, yells that Monkey's escaped. Fortunately, the demon brothers have kind of learned to
Why would you fucking do that? Pigsy's a little bitch.
Zips out of the cave without too much difficulty. Now, Monkey really wants the gourd and vase back as well as the other 2 treasures, so he decides to test a theory. He knocks on the door and insists
no,
that
that's
he
not a good
is,
sign.
and I swear this is not a joke, Grimple's son, brother to Pilgrim's son, the Monkey King. Having given the demon brothers a fake name, he hopes the gourd won't suck him in when they call his name. But as it turns out, it does, which is a bit of a setback. Fortunately, Monkey remembers that one time Lao Tzu stuck him in a brazier for 49 days, and it couldn't render him down, so he's not really concerned about melting, he just needs to find a way out. So he goes all, "Oh, the humanity! My legs have totally melted!" That was fast. "Oh geez, there goes my pelvis." Noisy, isn't he? "Why have you forsaken me, Buddha?" So Monkey makes a duplicate that looks like him but half melted, and subsequently turns into a fly. So when the demons crack the seal to check on his melting progress, he flies out of the opening all sneaky-like. Monkey then pickpockets the gourd,
Vagabundshin no Jutsu.
which seems to be something of a theme this episode, then slips outside and...
Can we talk about how this man
time
turned his
to be
staff
Sun
into a
Pilgrim,
file?
Another suspiciously identical monkey with a bad attitude. The demon plans to suck him up again, but he
This
spots Monkey's
all
identical gourd
busted.
and demands to know where he got it. Monkey's like, "Why don't you tell me where you got yours?" And the demon gives him a gloriously detailed detailed info dump involving the birth of the universe itself, to which Monkey replies with, yeah, same. And they compare gourds. Unsurprisingly, Monkey's gourd
You see his
actually
face?
functions, while the demon's duplicate gourd doesn't. So Monkey sucks up the demon, who dissolves
Dude, I
almost
love
immediately
this
on account
fucking
of not being
storyboard
Monkey. So
drawing.
the elder demon learns of his brother's death and gets incredibly upset.
He's
And
not
Piggy
dead, he's
casually
just sealed
thinking
away.
that all the monkeys that came to the door were obviously the same monkey. What are you, stupid? And the demon gets even angrier and orders his servants to steam him. So the elder demon gears up for battle with his brother's sword and the fifth treasure, which is a fan. He heads out to fight Monkey and, having learned from previous experience, immediately sticks his army on him, which Zurg rushes and actually causes Monkey some trouble until he makes a bunch of duplicates to fight the army. The
Right,
elder
why would you
demon
not
is
do
surrounded and
that?
whips
So,
out
can we
the
talk about how
fire
that's
and
actually the
shoots
after image
hellfire.
technique?
Monkey's not worried about
Oh,
the
yeah?
fire burning
Also,
him, but
huh?
he's worried that the fire might burn his duplicates, so he retrieves all but one of them, leaves that duplicate to pretend to be him, and slips through the fire to sneak into the cave. He steals the jade vase again, then vanishes, leaving the older demon to mourn the loss of his brother, his mother, and 3 out of 5 of his treasures. Make that 4 out of 5 because when he goes down for a depression nap, Monkey sneaks in to steal the fan. The demon wakes up, they fight again, it's super cool, and Monkey manages to drive him back.
It's super
The demon
cool.
runs, Monkey finally frees the rest of the squad, and they all take a minute to relax in the demon cave and make some food. And presumably give Monkey crap for rescuing 4 out of 5 of the sacred treasures before rescuing any of them.
Nigga,
But
did
the
you
elder
do
demon has
anything?
his own
Fuck
plan.
you.
He flies to the home of his now dead mother and recruits all of her demon servants into his army. His uncle also shows up to avenge his sister, along with another army of demons, and together they assemble and start heading for the cave to take down Monkey once and for all. So Monkey spots them on the horizon and warns Tripitaka that they're about to have company. So he and Pigsy head out to guard the door, and Monkey gears up with all the sacred treasures he's acquired: the fan, the rope, the vase, and the gourd. The army
No,
arrives,
steal
and
your
Monkey
arm.
and Pigsy pair off, Monkey fighting the uncle, then switching to the elder brother, with Pigsy tagging in to fight the uncle instead. The army starts causing them some trouble, at which point Sandy explodes out of the cave to fight the army, while Pigsy and Monkey handle the boss fights. Pigsy manages to kill the uncle, and the elder brother sees the tide turning and turns to run. Not one to be defeated, Monkey whips out the vase and calls the older brother, who, thinking it might be one of his retreating soldiers, responds, at which point he's sucked into the vase and melts. The army scatters, the bosses are defeated, Monkey gets the 5th treasure, and the gang can finally get back on the road.
Yay!
Except then they run into Lao Tzu, who makes Monkey give him the treasures, since it turns out they belonged to him the whole time. The Demon Brothers had in fact been Lao Tzu's lab assistants before Kuan Yin arranged for them to become demons and challenge the group to test their resolve. This doesn't explain how they had a demon mom or uncle, though. Anyway, Lao Tzu restores the Demon Brothers to their original forms, takes the treasures, and bails, leaving our heroes to continue their journey to the west. Will Monkey ever get to keep
Okay,
anything
well, that
cool
was
that he
fucking
finds on his
stupid,
trip?
but okay.
Will Tripitaka learn to stop trusting Pigsy with important tasks?
No.
Will Sandy ever get a boss fight of his own? And
No.
is this finally revealed why a flame-throwing fan is such a ubiquitous weapon in anime? Find out next time on Journey to the
Well,
West.
the whole entire thing with that is that they're when you're making a fire, you use the fan to draw out the flames, which is why fan equals fire. Which is why the Uchiha crest thing in Naruto is literally a fan. So, the more you know. You good over there, Logan? You sound like you've died.
I am still breathing.
Are you sure?
Yes. I am breathing the oxygen and expelling CO2.
The shot, the booster shot has not killed you.
No, not yet. It feels like it has, but it has not yet.
Okay.
Last time on Journey to the West. Let's see. Everyone got kidnapped. Monkey killed the 2 guys who did it and got a lot of swag, but then he had to give up the swag, and also the 2 guys weren't dead after all, but at least the kidnapping thing got fixed. Now, after that narrative cul-de-sac, it's time to continue on the Journey to the West. So our heroes are trekking westward, having just wrapped up another wacky adventure I didn't see fit to animate, when they come upon a huge craggy mountain that's giving off a
Okay,
really bad vibe.
say less.
He's starting to recognize a pattern when it comes to the gang dealing with ominous mountains, and has barely managed to get a warning out before the mountain.
Yeah,
bursts into
just
huge
stay
flames
clear
and
of
immediately
mountains in
lights up
general.
like a fireball. Like with a lot of demons they've faced, only Monkey can actually see the demon cloud, but the gang's learned to trust his judgment enough that nobody bats an eye when Monkey yoinks Tripitaka off the horse and prepares for combat. But the demon in the cloud notices Monkey noticing him and decides
I'll destroy you!
direct confrontation with anything powerful enough to see him, vanishes back into the mountain. Monkey goes all, false alarm. Alright, let's keep moving, and bundles Tripitaka back onto the horse so they can get through the spooky mountain as quickly as possible. But the demon isn't gone, just plotting. He decides to try a more sneaky tactic to get close to the group, so he plops himself down about a mile from the gang and turns himself into an emaciated little kid tied up and hanging from a pine tree. Then he starts yelling for help. Tripitaka's like,
hey, it sounds like someone needs help.
And Monkey's like, well, good for someone, and does a little spell to mark their progress.
It's you, Logan.
Well out of earshot. add that to the list of things Monkey could do.
Really
to make the
now?
entire
You're
journey
gonna
moot
throw that at
because
me?
it doesn't
Yes.
fit with the allegorical journey. Anyway,
Oh, look,
Monkey
someone's in trouble. Oh, good for someone.
and sees that they're
Yeah,
inexplicably
yeah,
way
that
farther
is
up the
me. You're
mountain than
not.
he expected, and they've bypassed him altogether. So he catches up to them, plops himself down nearby, and repeats his helpless dangling orphan routine. Of course, the demon briefly returning to cloud form means Monkey once again spots the demon Cloud and tackles Tripitaka off the horse. So Tripitaka is almost too busy yelling at him to hear the oh-so-pitiful cries for help just over the ridge. But hear him he does, and Tripitaka finds the extremely helpless and pitiful-looking child dangling from a nearby tree. The child introduces himself as Red Boy and tearfully recounts
Red
his entire
Boy?
life story,
Really?
which boils down to, "My dad is dead, and my mom has been abducted by bandits who left me to starve." Tripitaka
For
is
some
like,
reason, I thought he was actually going to say aliens.
Pixie, cut this poor boy down.
and Pigsy's like, "I also instantly believe you, and will of course cut this poor boy down." But Monkey is like, "Guys, seriously, this whole thing makes no sense. Besides, even if he is telling the truth, everyone who could possibly take care of this kid is dead, so there's no point in rescuing him." This logic fails to convince the others, who rescue the boy and start on.
I mean, that's true, but
settle on Monkey, who recalls his track record for carrying disguised demons and immediately agrees. So Monkey carries Red Boy, who he notes with some amusement weighs barely 5 pounds, but gradually gets grumpier and grumpier with Tripitaka, both for making him carry this kid and for not listening to his extremely logical reasoning about leaving highly suspicious orphans well enough alone.
Oh, yeah.
He senses his building anger and surreptitiously attempts to weigh him down with magic, which Monkey thinks is hilarious. Red Boy freaks out and drops his body just in time to avoid getting ripped apart by Monkey and decides it's now or never on kidnapping Tripitaka. One giant whirlwind later, Tripitaka is gone and Monkey is so thoroughly disheartened he tells Sandy and Pigsy they should disband right then and there. Pigsy's like, "Finally!"
Wowza.
But Sandy freaks out and gives an impassioned and heartfelt speech about redemption
No.
and second chances, and it's so moving, even Pigsy changes his mind about abandoning the quest like he's been wanting to do
Let's
since
be
episode 2.
heroes.
Monkey shakes off his nobody listens to me funk and gets down to business figuring out where exactly Red...
just listen to Monkey. He's always fucking right.
Yeah? Uh-huh.
Besides the beginning portion where he was literally fucking everything up, he's been right the literal whole time. Just listen to
Yeah,
Monkey, you stupid fucks.
Boy took Tripitaka. So they search the area for clues for a while, but when nothing turns
That
up,
includes
Monkey gets frustrated and pulls out the giant
Tripitaka,
three-headed six-armed red
Tripitaka,
dragon he
excuse
used when
me.
he rampaged through heaven. He then starts lashing out in every direction, which turns out to have been more than just blind frustration and a well-documented lust for rampant destruction, as his emotional episode causes the local mountain gods to pop out of their hidey holes so Monkey can interrogate them about where a demon might possibly be holding up. Now, the
I
mountain
love
gods
it.
tell
I
Monkey
love
all
it.
about the demon. There's only one living on this entire enormous mountain because he is an absolute terror and has single-handedly made the whole place miserable. Thanks to him, the mountain is so inhospitable that the gods barely have enough incense and offerings
Ate
to
my
get by,
hat.
and the demon has been running a mafia-style shakedown racket.
Burned my
demanding
best
daily
hat.
food from the mountain gods, despite the fact that none of them have any money.
Stole
Now,
my
the demon
wallet.
in question is the son of the Bull Demon King, but was sent away to be raised by.
Oh, it's
his
Ox
father
King.
and spent many years cultivating his latent fire controlling.
It's
skills,
Ox
which is
King!
Actually,
relying on
Ox
something
King.
called the True Fire of Samedi. After he completed his training, the Bull Demon King sent him to guard this mountain, and he currently lives in this place called Fiery Cloud Cave, which the mountain gods give Monkey directions to. Now, as soon as Monkey hears that Red Boy is the son of the Bull Demon King, all his worries melt away, because you might recall from his origin story.
How is that
back in episode
fantastic?
1, Monkey was actually friends with the Bull Demon King way back in the day, making Red Boy something approximating his nephew. Obviously, families never get in fights, so Monkey's confident that as soon as he explains this to Red Boy, everything will be fixed and they'll get Tripitaka back no problem. So Monkey and Pigsy zip over to Fiery Cloud Cave and demand that Red Boy send out Tripitaka. Instead, he sends out these 5 weird carts and arranges them according to the 5 phases, and then comes out looking for a fight. Perhaps unsurprisingly, Monkey's little, "Hey man, I was friends with your dad 500 years ago" argument fails to persuade him to knock it off, and they fight.
Aw.
Pigsy observes that while they're roughly evenly matched, Monkey
Press
has Red Boy
X
on
to
the
kill
defensive,
steal.
So in a bid for glory, he dives in and whacks him with his rake. Red Boy responds by diving into one of the carts from earlier and subsequently punching himself twice in the face.
Oh.
There's a method to his madness, as Red Boy recites a spell and immediately shoots fire out of every hole in his face. Fire
Oh.
also erupts from the carts, and while Pigsy books it across the river, Monkey makes a
That's
fire
an
spell
interesting
and charm
power.
turns
Let me
into
just
a
punch
fire.
myself in the
Find
face
Red
and
Boy all
spew
the
fire.
smoke, so he jumps clear of the fire and returns to the others, specifically to tear Pigsy a new one for bailing just when the fight was getting good. They argue strategy for a while until Sandy recommends that, since Red Boy's hand-to-hand combat skills are relatively underdeveloped and he seems to mostly rely on his fire powers instead, maybe they should focus on finding a way to put out the fire instead of just arguing. So Monkey jets off to the Eastern Ocean to continue
Oh, look,
helping
he
one
did
of the
something.
Dragon Kings in whipping up a rainstorm. After hemming and hawing over paperwork for a while, since making a proper storm requires the approval of the Jade Emperor, the Great Dragon surreptitiously loans Monkey one of his armies and sends him back. So Monkey
Cool.
heads back to the cave with the Dragon army.
Was that a shark?
Picks another fight with Red Boy,
I
who
love
again
it.
starts
Street
lagging
shark.
behind and busts out the flames of Samedi when the fight goes south. The Dragon army breaks out the rain, but the flames react unexpectedly to the downpour and actually get stronger, because the true fire of Samedi is too powerful to be put out by an unlicensed thunderstorm. When Monkey tries to find Red Boy among the flames, the
Unlicensed.
demon
That looks so
ambushes
cool.
him and blasts smoke in his eyes, blinding him. Now, as has been previously established, Monkey is fairly fireproof, but technically he's only immune to normal fire and heavenly fire. The true fire of Samedi isn't either of those things and is actually managing to hurt him. Red Boy smokes him again, so Monkey blindly launches himself out of the Inferno and into the nearest river, where the temperature shock knocks him out. The Dragon Army freaks out and summons Sandy and Pigsy to help Monkey, and you know it's serious because they use their actual celestial titles instead of their nicknames. Sandy fishes him out of the water and freaks out in turn because he looks pretty dead, but Pigsy scoffs, elbows him to one side, and revives Monkey with a few well-placed smacks on the back.
Smack his ass.
Actually doing something beneficial for a change.
Yeah.
So Monkey's alive, but is fairly messed up, both emotionally and physically. The fact that he can't rescue Tripitaka is almost taking more of a toll on him than the whole being set on fire and nearly drowning thing. So he concludes that since they can't solve this on
Even
their
though he
own,
can't
the only
fucking
thing
die,
to do
so.
is to go and get Kuan Yin's help. Unfortunately, he's too weak to make the journey, which means Pigsy has to do it instead. So Pigsy sets off southward towards Kuan
that's
Yin's
not a
base,
good
but Red
idea.
Boy notices him leaving and realizes the only thing in that direction is Kuan Yin, so that's probably where Pigsy's heading. So he takes a gamble, transforms to look like Kuan Yin, and intercepts Pigsy. He tells Pigsy that Red Boy is an eminently reasonable guy, and they should just go to his cave and talk things out with him. And of course, the minute they get to the cave, Red Boy ambushes Pigsy and takes him prisoner. Meanwhile, Monkey gets a bad feeling about how long
Yeah,
Pigsy's
we're not
taking and
surprised.
drags himself off to the cave to see what's wrong.
Be real
Of course,
convenient if
he
the rest of
gets
them can see
fights with
demons
guards, but
like
immediately realizes he won't
sun.
actually be able to take them in a fight. So he transforms into a fancy but harmless gold scarf, which the guards bring into the cave. After a little duplicate and replace action, Monkey turns into a fly and starts snooping around. There he finds Pigsy tied up in a bag yelling about how he got tricked, but before Monkey can break him out, he overhears Red Boy ordering 6 of his minions to go and invite the Venerable Great King over to dinner. Monkey takes a gamble on who the Venerable Great King might be and takes a page out of Red Boy's book by transforming himself to look like the Bull Demon King, then intercepting the minions en route and
It is I, the Venerable Great King.
Red Boy is like,
Is I,
"You won't believe what
that
I'm
one
calling.
dude.
It's that reincarnation of Golden Cicada, the monk Tripitaka." And Monkey's like,
Whoa, Tripitaka? But I hear he's under the protection of the terrifying and devastatingly handsome Sung Wukong. You'd best be careful. That tricky monkey could be anywhere, looking like anyone. His shape-shifting powers sure are impressive, is what I'm saying.
"Ha! There's nothing impressive about that monkey, and his powers can't be that versatile. I'm sure I'd recognize him at a glance."
You sure about that?
Anyway, Monkey says he'd love to eat some
You
but
sure
just
about that?
can't today. See, he's trying out this new diet where you go vegetarian 4 days a month, and, well, he doesn't want to break his streak. But Red Boy gets suspicious at that because his dad is always down for human snacks. So Red Boy's like, "Hey, father, do you know it slipped my mind, but, any chance you could tell me the exact hour and date of my birth?" And Monkey's like,
Oh, well, I'm far too old to remember such a weirdly specific fact about you.
and Red Boy's like, "My father never shuts up about my birthday!" And attacks. Monkey reveals himself, throws in a last bit of sassing, and vanishes in a flash of light. So, birthday. And attacks. Monkey reveals himself, throws
That's no way to treat your father.
last bit of sassing, and vanishes in a flash of light. So Monkey returns to Sandy, feeling refreshed and renewed from pulling one over on his opponent, and uses
That's
his new
no way to
enthusiasm
treat
for
your
life to jet off and
father.
find Kuan Yin. So Monkey arrives at Kuan Yin's mountain and info dumps the situation. Kuan Yin responds with characteristic grace and nonchalance until she learns that Red Boy impersonated her, at which point she flies into a rage and hucks herself into the ocean. Turns out
I
she did it
love
on
it.
purpose, though. A helpful turtle brings the vase back to her, and when she asks Monkey to pick it up and bring it over, he finds that he can't lift it, because as it turns out, it's been filled with an ocean's worth of water. So Kuan Yin tells him that the water in the vase can put out the flames of Samedi, but since Monkey can't carry it, and she doesn't trust him with any of her servants or possessions, it looks like she's got no choice but to go with him and take care of the problem herself. So after
I
some
love
banter and
it.
shenanigans, Kuan Yin, her servant Moksha, and Monkey start heading for the mountain.
That's why I
Along the
have that
way,
name,
Kuan
Moksha.
Yin borrows the Swords of Constellations from a friendly Devaraja and transforms them into a replica of her lotus platform. When they get to the mountain,
Okay,
Kuan Yin
why?
summons all the mountain gods, orders them to evacuate every living creature within 300 miles, and then dumps out the vase. The ocean that results perfectly mirrors her home in the Southern Sea. Then she takes Monkey's hand, paints the character for Delusion on it, and orders him to go pick a fight with Red Boy and lure him back to her. So Monkey goes and kicks a hole in Red Boy's front door, then lures him to
My
Kuan Yin.
nephew.
Monkey vanishes into Kuan Yin's divine aura, and Red Boy decides that this is in no way a trap and is in fact the perfect time for him to pick a fight with a Bodhisattva. He goes to whack Kuan Yin with his spear, but she vanishes, so he resorts to yelling insults into apparently empty air. In fact, Red Boy is so confident in his triumph over Monkey and Kuan Yin that he thinks maybe he'll just take a seat right here on this big fancy lotus platform she's so proud of. So Kuan Yin does a thing with her vase, and the lotus platform reverts to its true form, aka a metric ton of swords, with predictably painful results for Red Boy.
Oh.
So Red Boy freaks out as Kuan Yin reveals herself and begs her to make him her servant and also make the statue.
All of the
One quick
hands.
haircut
She
of
has
hair,
all.
Kuan
She
Yin
has
goes
hands
back,
for
throwing
days.
swords as well as Red Boy's many and exceedingly uncomfortable injuries. True to form, Red Boy's confidence immediately returns, and he declares the whole thing a trick and charges Kuan Yin. Monkey dives in to block the attack, but there's no need, as Kuan Yin throws a golden ring at Red Boy, which splits into 5 that constrict around his wrists, ankles, and neck.
Galactic
Monkey
Donut!
This is what's up, and as Red Boy moves to attack
Jesus,
again,
it is
Kuan Yin
Galactic
starts a spell
Donut.
that's similar but not quite the same as the migraine spell, and the rings immobilize Red Boy completely. So Kuan Yin's like, okay, this is mine now, go rescue your master. And Monkey books it back to Sandy to do just that. Pigsy and Tripitaka get rescued, Kuan Yin gets a new servant, and everything's cool.
I thought you
So
were
our heroes
fireproof.
continue
Nope.
on their journey to the west. Will Tripitaka ever
Nope,
escape
just
this constant
stubborn.
string of kidnappings? Will Monkey learn to call for backup?
Again, it's more surprising to me that Akira Toriyama read this, because he would have had to in order to know what the fuck is happening.
Last time on Journey to the West, the villainous Red
many more
Boy
parts is
abducted
this? Damn.
Tripitaka.
I know they haven't finished it.
Oh, gotcha.
So it's this part and then the next part, that's it.
Oh, gotcha.
And grievously wounded the indomitable monkey.
And then we can end the
with his
stream,
ultimate
'cause you
weapon,
gotta go to
True
bed.
Fire of Samedi.
I sure
Injured
as
and
fuck
weak, but
do, don't
determined
I?
to retrieve his master, Sun Wukong petitioned the merciful Kuan Yin for her aid, and the two of them hatched a plan to deceive the precocious monster. By way of illusions and an arsenal of blades, the divine duo defeated the demon, and Tripitaka was once more restored to his place in the Journey to the West. So our heroes are trekking westward, as they have been for quite some time now, and morale is honestly running a little low. Tripitaka's getting homesick, and
Just
Pixie
get more
laments that it
bitches
feels like they'll be on
and
the
some
street
food for
But just as Monkey is telling them to quit whining because they'll get there when they get there, they bump into a huge, turbulent,
It's about
and
the
totally
journey to
pitch
the
black
west.
river in their way. While they're discussing how to get across, they
It's
spot a
the
boatman behind them and
climb.
carry them across. But the boat's too small to accommodate a monk, 3 semi-celestial monsters, and an entire horse, so they split up into 2 groups. Tripitaka and Pigsy to be ferried across first, Sandy and the horse.
Why?
next,
It's a
and
terrible
Monkey
idea.
can just jump across, so it's
But
not really
fair
an
enough.
issue.
All
But when
right, never mind.
Tripitaka and Pigsy are halfway across the river, the boatman reveals
Yo.
himself to be a bad guy, summoning a whirlwind and sinking the boat. Sandy panics and says they should look downstream to see if they've washed up on the shore, but Monkey points out that Pigsy's a good swimmer. If it were a normal capsizing, he should have been able to get himself and Tripitaka to safety, no problem. So Sandy strips down to dive in, but Monkey warns that the black water looks real suspicious. But Sandy points out he lived in a river way eviler than this one and heads in no problem. Investigation of the river
Fair.
bottom reveals a huge pavilion
Right.
advertised as the home of the Black River God, and Sandy overhears the definitely not a real boatman monologuing about how he's going to invite his uncle over so they can eat Tripitaka and become immortal. Sandy becomes enraged and bangs on the door, demanding Tripitaka's
When you
return.
gotta shoot,
Pigsy too, I
just
guess.
shoot.
The demon
Don't
comes out
talk.
to see what all the fuss is about. The demon's all decked out in gold and jewels and is instantly down to fight. He
Decked
and Sandy
out.
battle at the bottom of the river for a good 30 rounds before Sandy realizes they're at an impasse and turns to run, hoping to lure the demon out of the water so Monkey.
Oh no, you
But
got
the demon's got more
me.
pressing matters to attend, namely drafting up an invite for his uncle, so he doesn't follow him to the surface. As Sandy and Monkey discuss what to do, a mysterious old man suddenly appears and introduces himself as the Black River.
And it's
God.
my
He quickly
river.
clarifies that he's not the demon that abducted Tripitaka. He's the true god of this river. But several months ago, this demon stormed in from the Western Ocean, kicked him out of his house, and set up shop in his fancy pavilion. When he filed an official complaint, he discovered that the demon's uncle is Ao Shun, the Dragon King of the West, and thanks to nepotism, there's nothing he can do. He's such a small
Okay.
god, the Jade Emperor will never listen to him, so he's hoping maybe Monkey will be willing to take matters into his own hands and do a little vigilante justice. Monkey's like, a Dragon King? Oh, I've threatened all those guys before. BRB, I'll sort this out. And blasts off to the Western Ocean. He intercepts the messenger carrying the invitation to come.
Oh, don't worry,
Tripitaka
they
and
bitches.
marches up to the palace to have a little chat with the Western Dragon King. But while Monkey was expecting to have to throw some weight around or threaten the guy, as soon as the dragon sees the invite, he freaks out. See, the demon is his sister's 9th son and didn't have anywhere else to go.
Oh, okay.
So the Dragon King advised
my
him to
God.
travel to the Black River and train himself so he could be ready to take on some official position in the bureaucracy later. He had
Like how he's
no
playing
idea his nephew
fucking
attacked the river
Xbox.
god, and he certainly doesn't condone eating Buddhists. The dragon calls up his son, Moang, and sends him off with an army to apprehend his cousin. So Moang and Monkey head back to the river, and Moang tells Monkey he'll take care of the demon, so Monkey
I like the name
can just
Moang, too.
relax for a bit. Monkey and
That's a
Sandy
good
chill
name.
on the banks while Moang dives down to confront the demon. Moang and the demon argue about how much trouble he's in. The demon hasn't actually seen Monkey and doesn't realize how dangerous this group he's been antagonizing is, while Moang knows all about Monkey and the kind of damage he can do. Inevitably, the two of them fight, and Moang takes
Bitch.
out the demon before KOing him.
Bitch.
Moang leads Monkey through the pavilion to retrieve Tripitaka and Pigsy. The Black River God is restored to his rightful place, and as
Yay.
he parts the waters so the gang can continue westward.
Moses.
For a while, but as the crew makes their way, they suddenly hear this horrible sound, like hundreds of people screaming at the same time. While the rest of the gang debates what might have made the noise, Monkey flies up to see if he can spot it. Instead, he sees a beautiful city in the distance, and a small crew of very ragged-looking monks trying to pull a cart full of rocks up a hill near the gates. The monks
Why?
are responsible
Oh, wow.
for the noise, as they're all yelling in unison as they pull. 2 Taoists come out of the city, and the monks all look terrified and start pulling harder, and Monkey realizes he's heard of this city. It must be the Slow Cart Kingdom, a place where Taoists are revered with the highest honors, and Buddhism is hated to the point of being criminalized. So Monkey
Okay.
disguises himself as a Taoist sage and pops down to chat up the Taoists and get a little info on this place. When he introduces himself and
and asks if there's a good spot in the city for him to beg some vegetarian food, like the good Taoist he is, the Taoists laugh.
Okay.
The king himself is devoted to the Tao, and there will be no need for him to beg. It'd be an honor for the citizens to give him food. They tell Monkey that 20 years ago, the kingdom was ravaged by a terrible drought, and
Taoism is kind of odd.
help. But then, just when things seemed hopeless, 3 Taoist immortals called Tiger Strength Immortal, Deer Strength Immortal, and Goat Strength Immortal descended from the sky, summoned the rain.
Wow.
Okay. Can I be Dragon Strength Immortal?
Temples and enslaving all the monks, which is why the Buddhist monks are on.
Can I be Dragon Demon Immortal?
So Monkey's like, oh.
Yeah, that
gosh,
sounds about
that's
right for
just
you.
Horrible. I came to this city because a relative of mine became a Buddhist monk here, and the Taoists tell him that out of respect as a fellow Taoist, they'll let him take his relative if he's one of the monks they have. So Monkey sidles over to the monks to get their side of the story, though not before laughing at them for being lousy Buddhists. Real nice, Monkey. Anyway, the monks tearfully explain that not only did the Taoists enslave all the monks in the city, they enslave any monks that traveled to the city, which will obviously be a problem for Tripitaka. Apparently, the Taoist immortals won the king over by arranging the construction of a temple where they can read scriptures and stuff that'll ensure the king lives for 10,000 years, and the king liked the idea so much that he lets them do whatever they want. Monkey asks why the monks don't just run away, and they explain that their faces are posted in every province in the kingdom as a preemptive measure to keep them in prison. They say
Why? Like, I understand why, but
they keep getting saved from death and visited in their dreams by a whole bunch of gods, telling them to stay alive because the great Tang monk is coming to save them, and he's bringing the great sage equal to heaven. So Monkey heads back over to the Taoists and is like, you know, it's the darndest thing. I'm actually related to all of these monks. So me and my cousins are just gonna go. And the Taoists obviously kick up a fuss, so Monkey gets cranky and kills them. The monks all freak out because they're gonna get blamed for the deaths, and Monkey's like, would you guys relax? I'm the great sage. And the monks are like, no you're not. The Gold Star of Venus told us that the great sage is all ugly and hairy with scary fangs and stuff. And Monkey's like, that mother... You got me. I'm not the Monkey King. I just work for him, and he's right behind you. So all the monks turn to look, and Monkey changes back and scares him. I'm not even joking. I love this book. So Monkey yanks the cart away and tells all the monks to scatter until they get word that the kingdom is safe for them, and he gives all the monks magical protection in the form of one of his hairs. Each hair can transform into a guardian thunder spirit for each individual monk, and with that.
When can you do this? Yo, powers are just whatever you want it to be at that moment.
Tripitaka's gotten tired.
Yeah, really.
And in his biggest active agency yet, has come to find Monkey himself, and Monkey fills him in on the situation. So the remaining monks sneak the gang into the last surviving monastery in the city and put them up for the night. But Monkey's too stressed out to sleep, so he decides to investigate the giant Taoist temple the 3 immortals had built. He finds the 3 immortals and a huge number of young Taoists playing music and praying, and he also notices a ton of delicious-looking buns and food offerings and stuff. Remembering the age-old proverb, a single hand cannot clap, Monkey decides that it'll be much more fun to wreck this
that was a
place
Japanese
company.
one.
So he goes to wake
Interesting.
up Sandy and Pigsy and asks if they want to help him prank the Taoists and steal their food. The gang whips up a whirlwind in the temple, and the Taoists take this as a sign to call it a night. To keep suspicion to a minimum, the trio transform to resemble 3 statues in the temple, with Pigsy disposing of the originals down the nearest toilet. Suitably disguised, the gang digs in. Although Monkey isn't actually a huge fan of cooked food, being a monkey, so he just has some fruit and hangs out with his friends. Oh, that's cute. But the party goes south when one of the young Taoists realizes he forgot his handbell and heads back into the hall, where he hears breathing, sees the place wrecked, freaks out and slips on a lychee seed, and Pigsy bursts out laughing. The Taoist runs away and returns with the 3 immortals, who see that the offerings have been eaten, but nobody's around. The immortals conclude that the strength of their prayer must have brought the 3 pure ones down from heaven to take their offerings, and while they're here, they should ask for some golden elixir and holy water to give to the king. Monkey, as the statue, speaks up and tells the Taoists that they were indeed summoned by their super effective prayer, but they've just come from the Festival of Immortal Peaches, and they don't have any elixir or holy water on them right now, but they can come back tomorrow? But the Taoists are very insistent, so Monkey says they can get them some holy water, but they'll need a container, and the Taoists will need to leave the room. After some reshuffling, they're left
He's
alone
gonna
with
pee.
the cistern, and Pigsy's confused about where they're supposed to get the
Oh,
holy water from
no.
until Monkey starts peeing in it.
Oh, you called it.
An impressive amount of holy water, which the Taoists admit doesn't taste very good, and once they realize they've been bamboozled, Monkey grabs Pigsy and Sandy and blasts through the doors, slipping back into the monastery undetected for a good night's sleep. The next day, Tripitaka goes to
Oh,
the
man, I called that.
recertified, and because this kingdom likes enslaving monks, Monkey and the gang go with him to make sure nothing goes wrong. The king immediately goes to toss Tripitaka in prison, but his advisor privately tells him that these monks are from a really faraway kingdom, and to get here they must have gone through an absolute butt-ton of demons, so it's probably best not to mess with them. But just when it looks like this adventure might be over quickly, the 3 immortals swagger in and order the guards to apprehend our heroes for wreaking mischief in the Taoist temple. But Monkey says that that's ridiculous. They're new in town. They don't
We've
know
never done
about this
anything
stuff,
wrong
so
in our
they're not
entire
really worried about the
lives.
temple. And even if they did, how could they have done any real damage without these 3 super powerful Taoist immortals stopping them? This confuses the king enough that he can't tell who's the bad guy in the situation, but just then a messenger arrives to inform the king that an outlying village is suffering from a drought, and they've requested help from the immortals. The king has a bright idea and suggests they turn it into a competition. Whoever can make it rain Rain is the winner and won't get in
Monkey
trouble.
P
Monkey
again.
thinks this is a great idea, and the crew ships off to the town and gets to
yeah.
work. So Tiger Strength Immortal hops up on the podium and explains that he's going to strike his ritual tablet 5 times, and his first 4 strikes will summon the wind, clouds, lightning, and rain, while the 5th strike will dismiss the storm. So obviously, when Tiger Strength Immortal gets ready to do his thing, Monkey surreptitiously duplicates himself and vanishes into the clouds overhead to intercept whatever he does. With each strike on the tablet, the sage summons more and more minor gods, each with their own part to play in the creation of the storm. But as soon as they run into Monkey, they freak out, he explains the situation, and they all agree to help him out instead. So 5 strikes and exactly no rain later, Monkey pops back down, tells Tiger Strength Immortal to quit embarrassing himself, and hops up on the podium. Monkey pulls a nervous Tripitaka up on the stage and tells him to recite the Heart Sutra and he'll handle the rest. Tripitaka begins, and Monkey signals the gods overhead, and they unleash a truly biblical storm. Gale-force winds, sheets of rain, the works. The king is thoroughly convinced, but the Taoists aren't done yet. They suggest that maybe the dragons they summoned were just late, and the storm was really their creation after all. So they successfully confuse the king again, but Monkey's like, okay, well, tell you what. I haven't dismissed the dragons yet, so they're all chilling invisible overhead. If you guys can command one of them to appear, you can take the win. If not, I'll get him to show up, and we take the win. The king has never seen a dragon before and is very excited, and sure enough, the Taoists can't compel any of the dragons to show themselves, where it just takes a stern look from Monkey to get all 4 of them strutting their celestial stuff. But the Taoists aren't willing to give up so easily, and they convince the king to let them do one more competition to determine who's actually cool. This one, a meditation contest.
Can we also talk about how G Monkey is?
He really is. He's awesome.
This is actually a problem. Monkey can do a lot of things, but sitting still is not one of them. But Tripitaka can. During his monk training, he recalls meditating for years at a time, so this competition should be a snap for him. Monkey flies him up disguised as a cloud, and Tripitaka and the Goat Strength Immortal begin their meditation competition. But the Deer Strength Immortal decides to cheat to help out his fellow Taoist, and summons a bedbug to bite Tripitaka. Monkey notices Tripitaka's distress and flies up to investigate, removes the bug, gives Tripitaka a couple scritches, then turns himself into a centipede and bites Goat Strength Immortal on the face. Goat Strength Immortal flings himself off the tower and
yeah, they're gonna cheat.
Wins. But if you thought the Immortals were gonna gracefully lose, think
I'm gonna
again.
cheat
There's
better.
One more challenge for the crew.
Jesus Christ, stop it!
They ask the king to put some precious trinket in a sealed lacquer box and have them take turns trying to predict what it is. The king agrees and has his wife put some fancy clothes in the box, but Monkey turns into a tiny bug, sneaks into the box to take a peek, and transforms the clothes into really ratty bad clothes. The Taoists guess the fancy clothes, but with Monkey's guidance, Tripitaka guesses terrible clothes, and the king is just as shocked as the Taoists are to see that Tripitaka is right. They try a few more times, but Monkey just keeps faking them out, and finally, in frustration, the Immortals demand one final competition. See, they're not called Immortals for nothing. They all know how to survive having their heads cut off, their hearts removed, or being boiled in oil. So if the Buddhists can survive that, they'll accept the loss. Monkey is absolutely stoked at the opportunity to show off how indestructible he is, so he accepts the competition and demands to go first. The king has an execution site prepared, so they tie Monkey up and cut off his head. But there's no blood, and Monkey yells for his head to return. The Deer Immortal freaks out and orders 2 servant spirits to hold down the head and keep it from returning. Monkey tries 2 more times with no luck, so instead he hops up, breaks all the ropes, and grows a new head. The king is so impressed, he offers to give them their papers right now, but Monkey says he got his head cut off, so it's only fair the Immortals do so too. So Tiger Strength Immortal gets his head cut off, but when he calls for it to return, Monkey turns one of his hairs into a dog, which runs off with the head and drops it into the moat. Unable to simply grow a new head like Monkey, Tiger Strength Immortal dies and reverts to his true form, which is a yellow tiger. Not the biggest twist, I guess? Deer Strength Immortal is outraged and demands he try the heart removal thing. Monkey's excited because he's had a mild stomachache and was hoping for the opportunity to clean out his spleen a little bit.
I can't believe this.
Graphic disembowelment later, Monkey's totally fine, but when the Deer Strength Immortal tries the same thing, Monkey turns one of his hairs into an eagle to straight up Prometheus this dude. Deer Strength Immortal dies for real and turns into a white deer. Starting to sense a pattern here. So the final
well, guess who's about to die?
An oil thing, which Monkey is also enthused for, claiming his skin's been kind of dry lately, and an oil bath might be just what he needs. So Monkey swims around in the boiling oil all happy-like, but when he sees Pigsy whispering something to Sandy, he thinks maybe he's laughing at him and decides to prank him back. So he turns into a tack, apparently disappearing, and they instantly declare him dead and capture his companions. Tripitaka asks for a moment to grieve his lost disciple and gives him a very sweet eulogy, calling Monkey gallant and wishing him peace. Pigsy ruins the moment by calling him an ignorant, deep-fried Pima Wen, and Monkey is so pissed he turns back just to yell at him. The arresting officer freaks out and says he must be a ghost because otherwise he'd have made a false report by declaring him dead, and Monkey is so offended that he hauls himself out, dries himself off, gets all dressed up, and kills that guy for insinuating him as dead. The king is all set to give him their papers and let him go, but Monkey insists the Goat Immortal take his turn in the tub. So he does, but Monkey is suspicious and tests the oil, finding it very cool to the touch. Monkey reasons a cold dragon must be keeping the fire from heating the oil and contacts the Northern Dragon King about it. The Dragon King has the errant cold dragon arrested, and without that, the oil is, well, boiling. Goat Immortal dies and turns into a goat. The king is all sad about all his immortals
Bruh.
dying, but Monkey reminds
They
him
weren't
that
immortal, they were
demons in disguise,
cheating.
not really human, and they were probably plotting to take over his kingdom or kill him or something. The king is relieved, reverses his policy on Buddhism, and gives the gang their travel papers. So
They
after
weren't
that,
actually
Monkey
immortal, they were cheating.
Can't get over this. This
They've
is so
traveled far and
dumb.
done great things, but there's still a long way to go.
Hey, but before we go, one more. Alright, but okay, you got it, but one more. Okay, but before then,
Last time on Journey to
one
the
more.
West, Tripitaka was once again abducted by a devious river-dwelling demon who was revealed to be the truant nephew of Ao Shun, the Dragon King of the West. With the help of the noble Prince Moang, the demon was defeated, and our heroes continued westward, only to find themselves fugitives in a Buddhist enslaving kingdom ruled by 3 powerful demons in the guise of Taoist immortals. With Monkey's help, Tripitaka passed their numerous tests and won over the fickle-minded king, and with the demons defeated, our heroes
So
were
my
free
man
to
Monkey
continue
got up,
their journey
ripped
to
his
the
restraints
West.
off, and
So
grew
our
a new
heroes
head.
trekking westward when their way is
What happened to his old
barred
head,
by-
though?
Let me just spin
Who
this wheel
fucking
real
cares?
quick. A huge river, easily 800 miles wide. Pretty sure that technically qualifies as an inland sea, but long story short, they're stuck. Surprise, surprise. They spot a town nearby
Wow,
and head over
wow,
for
wow.
help and quest objectives, and end up having dinner with these 2 rich old brothers who are very nice and don't even get butthurt when Pigsy single-handedly threatens to eat them out of house and home. But while the town may seem idyllic, we know what to expect from these things by now, and the truth eventually comes out. This region is ruled by the Great King of Miraculous Power, a being who controls the weather and grants the town rain.
Demon.
Every year, the Great King
Demon.
decides to sacrifice
Demon.
2 young children, one boy and one girl from one of the families in town. This year, it's the brothers' turn. And wouldn't you know it, despite their advanced age, they each managed to have 1 kid, and these delightful youngsters are their pride and joy, and also the only heirs they have. What a tragedy
Ooh.
this is. After first suggesting that the men just use their immense wealth to buy 2 replacement children, Monkey remembers he's a good person now and volunteers to
Monkey.
help out
Oh,
to take
right.
the boy's place. He
Oh,
also
we can
volunteers
do a
Pigsy
plan
to
B.
replace the girl. And after a lot of complaining, Monkey and Pigsy disguise themselves as the children, and the townspeople carry them to the temple and run off. With a dramatic flourish, the Great King appears, and unsurprisingly, he's a big scary demon. But for all his scariness, he's completely unprepared for how nonchalant Monkey is about this whole being sacrificed thing, and he gets so freaked out he goes after
whole
Pigsy
being
instead.
dead
Pigsy
thing.
freaks out and changes back, walloping the Great King with his rake and knocking a couple fish scales off him, which makes the Great King freak out and run away. Pigsy and Monkey chase him, and when the demon figures out who he's really dealing with, he freaks out even harder and vanishes into the river. Pigsy and Monkey figure that between the scales and the river thing, he's probably a river demon, and if they defeat him, they might be able to find a way across. But that's a
there you
problem for
go.
after the victory party. With the kids safe,
He
and
said, "Man, I'm
our
hungry. You
heroes
hungry?"
return to a rousing celebration of their badassery. But not everyone is celebrating, as off in the river, the demon explains to his demon buddies why he didn't bring any leftovers and recounts his daring escape. But this year might not be a total bust. He recognized Pigsy and Monkey as disciples of Tripitaka, who he's heard is so magically delicious and nutritious that eating him would make them all immortal. But Monkey
Tricks.
is so scary, and Pigsy too, I guess, that he's not sure he'll be able to get to Tripitaka at all. But one of the demons has an idea on that front, and with her help, the Great King begins hatching a plan. The next day, the gang wakes up to find the town blanketed in a beautiful layer of extremely unseasonal snow. This is very picturesque,
no.
but actually not good, because Tripitaka was hoping to borrow a boat to cross the river, and with the weather like this, a boat isn't going to do him any good. Plus, this journey is really starting to drag on. It's already been 7 or 8 years since Tripitaka first left for the west, and all this waiting is...
Get on my level, fam!
The old dudes try to cheer him up by serving him tea in their beautiful snowy garden, and Monkey calls Pigsy an absolute cretin for not recognizing the beautiful tranquility of a fresh snowfall. I guess you could call him an uncultured swine. Yeah. As they spend a beautiful afternoon drinking in the wonders of nature and also a bunch of tea, someone passing by outside loudly mentions that the cold snap has frozen the river solid, and the people are starting to actually walk across it to start their seasonal trade with the Western Kingdom of Women, an empire of only women that lives on the other side. Well,
Not
if
a real
the river's
thing.
actually frozen all the way through, then they can just walk.
That'd be
it.
cool,
There's no need for
but
a boat or a demon.
it's not a real
So
thing.
after first weatherproofing the horse and a few lessons from Pigsy in safe ice traversal, our heroes set out along the frozen river to continue their journey westward. Or at least
Well,
that's
there's no
the plan.
documented
The demon smashes through the ice. and everyone but
matriarchy,
Monkey falls into
as
the
far
water.
as I'm
Pigsy
aware.
and Sandy manage to retrieve the horse in their
I
luggage,
can't say it's
but
not a real
Tripitaka's
thing,
nowhere
but there's
to
no
be found.
documented
The
matriarchy.
better idea is the gang trudges back to town to regroup and think of a plan. Monkey is certain that Tripitaka is still alive, so he tells the old men to take care of their horse and dry out their things while he, Sandy, and Pigsy figure out how
Horse,
to
you're a dragon.
Unfortunately, Monkey is still
What do
under
dragons
water,
do?
So Pigsy carries him as they swim down to investigate. They find a massive underwater palace, and Monkey turns into a shrimp and sneaks in, finding Tripitaka alive and well,
Dude,
but
these
stuck in a
colors.
box, very unhappy to be stuck in a box, and lamenting his has frankly terrible luck with rivers. Monkey scoots back out and suggests Sandy and Pigsy try to provoke the demon and lure him out of the water so Monkey can finish him off. You know, that strategy they've tried twice that has literally never worked. But you never know, maybe the third time's the charm. So Monkey pops back to the surface while Sandy and Pigsy see about luring the demon out to play. But this time, the demon is actually prepared for a fight and brings out a very impressive looking mace. He and Pigsy brag about their respective weapons for a while until Sandy gets bored and attacks. They have a pretty sweet fight, and after a few rounds, Pigsy
I want Sandy to get a dub so bad.
When the demon follows,
Oh,
Monkey
yeah.
ambushes him just as planned. But the demon freaks out and does what he does best, aka run away, and he's not about to take that bait a second time, so they can't lure him out for another go. So, officially running out of ideas, Monkey decides to
Why
pay
doesn't
Kuan Yin
that
a
work?
visit to see if she has
Monkey
any
just get the
insight.
death
But when
blow.
he arrives at the Southern Sea, Kuan
Yeah,
Yin's
literally.
entourage nervously tells him that this maybe isn't a good time, since she hasn't left her room all day and specifically left orders not to be disturbed, especially by Monkey. Showing commendable restraint, Monkey waits a whole several minutes before bolting for Kuan Yin's private bamboo grove. That's where he finds Kuan Yin, still in her pajamas, with zero makeup, zero hairstyling, glumly weaving a basket out of bamboo. Ugh. That's a mood. Monkey has no idea what's going on, but he knows a bad day when he sees one, so he immediately backpedals and humbly begs Kuan Yin for help in rescuing Tripitaka. Kuan Yin tells him to wait outside, and this time Monkey actually listens. Nobody in her entourage is entirely sure what's going on with her, but they can all tell that she seems really down and won't talk to anyone. Soon enough, Kuan Yin emerges with a completed basket, tells Monkey to follow her, and blasts
We're
off without even
leaving.
getting dressed. They arrive at the
Okay,
river, and
bye.
Monkey tries to explain what's happening to the others, except since he doesn't actually know what's happening, he doesn't have much luck. Kuan Yin floats out over the river, drops her basket in the water, recites a spell, and then retrieves the basket, which now contains exactly one very confused goldfish. Then she tells Monkey to go save Tripitaka. But what about the demon? Everyone say hello. So yeah, it turns out the demon was actually Kuan Yin's beloved pet goldfish, which got powered up by listening to her lectures and decided to turn into a demon and start eating kids. She was very
Goldfish
surprised
learned
he was
crime.
missing and dove straight into finding a way to get him back, which is why she was so unput together today. Because of a goldfish. Pigsy got beat up by a goldfish. With the boss team out of the way, they easily rescue Tripitaka, and meanwhile, the townsfolk are so awed by Quan, I woke up like this yin, that they all troop out to worship her and make a bunch of art about it. With Tripitaka unkidnapped and everything basically resolved,
And
they
make a
still have to
bunch of
figure out a
art
way
about it.
across the river, which is when a huge white turtle shows up. Apparently, he's the guy who actually owns this river, and with the goldfish gone, he's back in charge. As thanks for restoring his position, he carries the gang across the
Meow.
water himself, asking only that they give him some tips
The
from Buddha to
goldfish
help him
got
finally
wise
solve
from
his social
listening
and
to
gain a
her
human form.
lectures,
So with that, fish
so he
fingers
turned
sorted out,
into
our
a
heroes can
demon
continue
and
on
did
their
crime.
journey to the west. And they do
Yeah.
for a while. But the weather gets colder and the going gets harder, and eventually they run into a, let me spin this wheel here, huge mountain barring their way. It's not totally
Let me spin
impassable, but
this
it's
wheel
very
here.
narrow and treacherous and probably full of scary wild animals, so everyone's a bit on edge. As they make their way through the mountain, they eventually spot some signs of life, a mansion and a cluster of houses nestled in one of the valleys. Tripitaka suggests they stop there to get some food and rest up. But unfortunately, but
I love how
perhaps
Monkey is
unsurprisingly,
always
Monkey
right.
can see ominous dark clouds around the town
JoJo
and
reference.
figures it's not worth the inevitable demon attack.
Oh,
He's
man.
learning. He convinces Tripitaka to stay
There was a
put
scene
and let
earlier
him
where
go
it
off
had
and get them
the
some food.
menacing,
Then he stops,
uh,
comes back, draws
lettering
a circle
over a
around
mountain.
Tripitaka with his staff,
Oh, that
and
I
tells
must
him
have
not
missed
to
it.
step outside.
Yeah.
The circle will act as a ward and keep him safe from everything in the area as long as he doesn't leave it. Tripitaka promises not to, and Monkey blasts off to find some food. But
And
while
he
Monkey's
immediately
pursuit
does
of
that.
Munchies inevitably gets him into his normal level of shenaniganery, Pigsy, who else, gets cold and bored and starts trying to convince Tripitaka to leave. After all, how can a circle drawn on the ground protect them from anything? That's just silly. Plus, Monkey's really fast, so it shouldn't be a problem for him to catch up to them, and moving around will help them keep warm. Tripitaka's convinced, and they leave the circle and make a beeline for
Tripitaka,
the
stop
Snoop
listening to
Mountains mansion.
Pigsy when
Pigsy
he's
heads
ever
inside
in
to
the
look
right.
around and
Never.
finds the whole space deserted except for a very large skeleton in an upper room and 3 very shiny warm vests. Pigsy grabs the vests and reports back, and Tripitaka is mortified that he desecrated a grave, but Pigsy reasons the dead guy's not about to complain, and he and Sandy put him on, which turns out to be a bad idea as the vests are enchanted and immediately tie them up. What? A trap?
Nice.
I can't believe it. So, unsurprisingly,
I can't
this region
believe
is
it.
ruled by a demon, specifically the old and powerful single-horned rhinoceros king. And this whole place is a trap he set up. He has his minions cart the
Uncertain
gang over to his cave and
bovine-like
demands an
animal.
explanation from Tripitaka, who apologizes for his disciples' rudeness and asks that they please be allowed to continue along their journey. But the demon's not exactly in the negotiating mood, since he knows if he eats Tripitaka, he'll regain his youth. But Pigsy brags that Tripitaka's absent disciple is none other than the Monkey King, which does make the demon hesitate, so he puts them in cold storage while he figures out what to do about Monkey. Speaking of whom, Monkey finds the circle empty, the suspicious tiny town gone, and the gang nowhere to be found. Horse hoof prints for several miles without finding anybody, and is starting to get seriously disheartened when a couple of travelers tell him that they saw his companions getting kidnapped by a very powerful local demon. Monkey's about to run off to find him when the travelers reveal that they're actually the local mountain gods and ask him to leave the bowl of rice with them for safekeeping. Monkey is pretty pissed they disguised themselves, but they point out that he is pretty dangerous to deal with on a bad day, which he acknowledges is fair. He's becoming self-aware. So Monkey starts searching for the inevitable demon.
Would you
want
want to give you bad news?
Double doors on the mountainside guarded by a bunch of imps. He lands, knocks on the door, and orders the demon to come out and face him. Now, the demon is actually stoked about this because he's been craving a worthy opponent ever since he first descended to Earth. His imps bring him his lance, and he goes to confront Monkey. They banter for a bit. The demon accuses Tripitaka of stealing from him. Monkey insists that Tripitaka is way too much of a weenie to do something like that, and they fight. It's an epic battle, and they're just about evenly matched, and the demon compliments Monkey's strength from his infamous rampage through heaven. But clearly, the demon is not actually that interested in fighting fair, since he sends his army of imps to attack Monkey, who responds by tossing his staff in the air and magically multiplying it to bombard them all at once. But it turns out this is what the demon was waiting for. He pulls out a white jade ring and throws it into the air. The copies all shoot back into one staff, which then gets sucked into the ring and disappears. Now completely disarmed, Monkey's at a serious...
How did you know that he was going to do that? Monkey probably didn't even know he was going to do that.
And Monkey, in a bit of a daze, tries to figure out what to do next. But Monkey snaps out of the funk when he remembers the demon mentioned witnessing his rampage through heaven, meaning he was there. So he must have originally been a celestial spirit. Since it's always good to know your enemy, Monkey jets up to heaven to politely ask if anyone up there can help him figure out who the demon is. He is a lot nicer when he doesn't have his staff. The Jade Emperor sets up an internal investigation, but can't find anyone missing, so he offers to send some guys
could just
to help
go back
Monkey
and
fight
steal
the
another
demon.
pillar.
Monkey's like, oh man, I mean, sick offer, but like, I kind of kicked all your asses 500 years ago. I don't know if you forgot, but like, so if I couldn't do anything, I don't really know if any of you could. Oh, dude! Do you still have that really sassy 12-year-old? So Monkey grabs the eternal 12-year-old Prince Nada and his long-suffering father, Devaraja Lee, plus an army of more generic divine soldiers and a couple of thunder squires to throw lightning at the problem. So Nada insists on going first, and he and the demon fight for a while before Nada switches into his 3-headed, 6-armed war form and starts really kicking ass. However, when he tosses his weapons into the air to multiply them, the demon pulls out the ring again and all the weapons vanish. Nada runs for his life, and the thunder squires quietly thank their better judgment that they didn't try throwing their lightning too. They try and think of a weapon the ring couldn't suck up, and they think that maybe fire could work, so Monkey zips back up to heaven to conscript the help of the Star of Fiery Virtue, the god in charge of Mars, who turns out to be a mild-mannered bureaucrat who's significantly less powerful than the other warriors in play, but he's happy to help out if he can. This time, Devaraja Lee provokes the demon, and when he comes out to fight, the Star of Fiery Virtue unleashes an onslaught of flaming weapons and fire spirits, which are all sucked into the ring and disappear. Dang it, guess that's what we get for relying on Steve from Heaven accounting. But Monkey's not out of ideas just yet. This time he goes to the Dark Vastness Palace and conscripts the Star of Watery Virtue. Wielding a small white jade chalice containing half the waters of the Yellow River, the Star of Watery Virtue joins the fight. But when he unleashes the water into the cave, the demon uses the ring to reverse the water, sending the deluge down the mountain instead. Unfortunately, the Star of Watery Virtue can't put the water back, so they have to wait for it to drain away. And Monkey gets so dang frustrated, he storms up to the cave and demands the demon fight him hand to hand. The demon actually agrees, and they have a spectacular martial arts duel, which eventually escalates into a full-on brawl when the other gods and demons join in. Monkey also duplicates himself a bunch, but the demon uses the ring to vanish the copies, and the sides retreat to reevaluate their next move.
I fucking love it.
It's stupid. This is dumb.
Lee says he's pretty sure Monkey is the better fighter. Without the Jade Ring, the demon can't win, so they should probably find a way to steal it. One of the Thunder Squires points out that Monkey is probably the best qualified person in the universe to steal something like that, considering how much stuff he stole from Heaven back in the day. Guys, you're gonna make him blush. So Monkey turns into a fly and sneaks into the cave, past the demons, who are all having a big party, and finds a hall with everything the ring vanished in it. He can't find the ring itself, but that doesn't matter so much because he finds his staff, and is so stoked to have it back, he immediately smashes his way out of the cave in celebration. The demon and his army obviously chase him, and they battle for about 3 hours. But when the sun goes down, the demon calls for timeout, Monkey says no timeouts, and the demon bolts back into the cave. Everyone showers Monkey with compliments and praise, and he figures that now that the demon's all tuckered out, he can just sneak in and look for the ring on his own time. So Monkey turns into a cricket and sneaks into the cave, but when he spots the demon getting ready for bed, he notices a problem. The demon is wearing the jade ring on his arm. Monkey tries and fails to
It's a
dislodge
jade
it, and
ring.
eventually
Why is it
decides to do
white?
the next best thing. He goes back to the hall with all the weapons, reduplicates himself, steals all the weapons, frees all the fire spirits, and smashes his way out of the now burning cave, riding a fire dragon like the first-class badass he is. The demon is very unhappy.
Monkey!
Super on fire, while the divine army is very happy to have all their weapons back. But in spite of how super cool that play of the game was, the demon still has the ring, and it doesn't take very long for him to use it it to steal all their weapons back. Boo. So the heavenly host dissolves into arguing, blame placing, and infighting, and Monkey finds himself living out his worst nightmare of being the voice of reason. So he decides that when all else fails, he should probably check in with the Buddha and see if he has any ideas. So Monkey flies off to the Thunderclap Monastery and drops in on the man himself. Oh boy, nobody tell Tripitaka it's that easy. Buddha is kind of surprised to see him there, all alone without Tripitaka and the others, and Monkey fills him in on the situation. Now Buddha figures out who the demon is pretty much immediately, but refuses to tell Monkey because he knows Monkey doesn't know how to shut up, and would instantly brag about how he learned the demon's true identity, and he just really doesn't want to deal with that right now. So instead, he has his 18 Arhats gather 18 grains of cinnabar sand to magically paralyze the demon. Monkey jokes around with the Arhats, who seem like pretty cool dudes, and they fly back to the mountain. Monkey goes to lure the demon out, but then the demon taunts him about how he's super gonna kill his friends, so Monkey drops the goofs and attacks him for real. The Arhats make their move and dump the sand on the demon, and it grows into a huge pile that threatens to bury him completely, until he uses the ring to make it disappear. Man, this guy sucks. Get it? Look, if I'd thought of it earlier, I would have said it earlier. But two of the Arhats tell Monkey that Buddha secretly told them that if the sand didn't work, Monkey should go and ask Lao Tzu for help. Monkey's cranky they couldn't just tell him that in the first place, but you know how Buddha does, so he jets off to go bother Lao Tzu. But as he's filling him in on the situation, he noticed something's missing from Lao Tzu's lab. His green buffalo is conspicuously absent. Apparently, he had one of those. And apparently, the lad guarding it thought eating a random elixir pill he found on the ground was a super good idea, and it knocked him out for a week straight, during which time the green buffalo escaped and headed to Earth to fulfill his
green buffalo escaped.
Monks. Searching the lab, Lao Tzu realizes his diamond snare is also missing, the thing he used to finally capture Monkey during his rampage through heaven. Apparently, that's the true form of the jade ring the demon's been using to steal everyone's stuff. Lao Tzu grabs his fan and storms off for a little disciplinary training. When Monkey and Lao Tzu arrive on the scene, the demon freaks out and hucks the ring, which doesn't work out so hot when Lao Tzu catches it with one hand. Then he swings the fan, and the demon immediately reverts to his true form, no problem. Lao Tzu leads the formerly demon now disregarded already green buffalo back to his lab. Monkey retrieves the weapons,
says hi.
The others, no problem. And with that eventful trip down memory lane all sorted out, they are finally back on track to continue their journey to the west. Will Tripitaka's luck with mountains and rivers finally improve?
Not once.
Stop being the inciting incident in every episode.
Not
what was that thing
once.
about an empire of only women? Find out next time on Journey to the West. Last.
I did it. How'd you like it, Logan? How do you like Journey to the West?
Journey to the West is fucking weird, but I love it.
Magic powers are whatever you want them to be at that particular moment.
Yeah, it's fine. Doesn't matter.
We've also gained the insight of Return to Wukong.
Return to Wukong. Oh, God.
You good?
I got a hiccup as I was saying that, so I was like,
Yeah, so, Return to Wukong is now Return to Monkey, but it works and you always win.
shit, I gotta go hard, Monkey.
Yeah, it's what happens when I play Soul. Return to Wukong.
Me and Leo just fucking turn my brain off and go.
Go. Just
go.
Monkey and then win.
Monkey, go.
All right, we gotta get Logan's ass to bed, which is why we started earlier. We will be back tomorrow on. We will start Mass Effect, which is something I don't know shit about.
I know quite a bit about, so this is gonna be fun.
So we'll be back tomorrow with that. We'll talk to you guys later. See you tomorrow.
Deuces.